We're live. Oh, thank freaking God.
What episode is this?
227.
Episode 227, being brought to you tonight by Crunchyroll. That's crunchyroll.com/PKA. That's how you get there. But I gotta say, they really are the Netflix of anime. There's 3 new featured shows that they want everyone to know about this month. One Piece, Punchline, and JoJo's Bizarre Adventure. So regardless of what device you've got, it really is worth it to go here if you're a big anime fan. I think they work on everything from Apple TVs, Xboxes, PlayStations, really anything you've got. So you go to crunchyroll.com/PKA and sign up for premium to get the world's finest collection of anime free for 30 days with 0 ads.
Which of those 3 would you recommend for me, Kyle?
Oh, definitely JoJo's Bizarre Adventure. I think she's got a happy trail, and that's part of the Bizarre Adventure. I think they follow along the adventures of a pubic crab as it continues along the happy.
Whoa.
That's what JoJo's Bizarre Adventure is actually about.
I've got a question about Crunchyroll. I've never signed up for Crunchyroll, and I'll probably use your all's code. I'm going to do that after here. But my question is are there adult stuff on there too? Can you get
there's no like hencha crazy.
Oh, you better believe it.
I don't think there is.
Is there?
Oh, yes, there is.
Wait,
I mean, not necessarily like
Taylor,
X-rated
you
or
can't
whatever,
just
but
make
like,
it up.
No, I don't know. I don't know.
Of course not. Never.
No, I think that it's clean. That'd be a good. That's something we could maybe look into.
Do they have a good back catalog of like the older stuff? Because that's what I like. Like Oh My Goddess and like Tenchi Muyo, Rama 1/2. Like that's the stuff that's anime to me. So that's why.
Yeah, all of those are
catalog.
familiar to us.
Yeah.
But,
All right.
they will be there. They will.
Okay, that's awesome. All right.
They I think their claim to fame is the really current stuff too. Like I think within an hour. Like if it comes out and it's not even translated, like they'll have translators do the English subtitles and get it out in an hour. So
that's awesome. That's crazy.
They have like people working around the clock to get anime out on the spot.
Back when I was really into it, like I used to do the whole torrenting thing and all that business, and I hated having to do that because the fan subs were not always that great, and sometimes you'd wait 2, 3, 4, 5 weeks to be able to watch a current episode, and so I'm really glad they're doing that. That's crazy. That's actually really crazy.
Yep. If you like anime, Crunchyroll's the way to be.
Crunchyroll.com/PKA.
Yeah, I'll remember that. I'll remember that.
All right.
You remember it. Yeah, it's the only way to watch anime.
Free month of access.
So Boogie, how are you?
I'm doing all right, man. We moved into a new place. I don't know if you can recognize that it came from your advice. I think you just did the same thing.
Yeah.
There's a new paint swatch on the back.
What do you think of these? What do you think of these?
Yeah.
My wife got these.
I like
My mother-in-law got this one.
So is the middle one canvas and the 2 on the side are wood? Is that what I'm seeing?
No, they're all canvas. I normally have my green screen up, but I took it down for today. But I've been doing a lot of Twitch. I've been doing Twitch 5 nights a week. And man, I got to tell you, I love doing Twitch. Are you guys doing that at all?
I've done it a lot.
No, I don't do
lately,
anything.
I've been doing nothing but moving and building and stuff. But go on.
Yeah, but I've been loving it, man. But yeah, new place. We moved a couple towns over. Trying to keep our address secret. But it's way bigger than the place we were renting. You're one of the people that really convinced me that it was time to buy. Instead of throwing my money away at renting, we should look at purchasing, and we definitely moved in that direction. And it's so nice. I'm so glad we did.
That's awesome.
Did you have any problems with contractors? Maybe named Jamal. You had to boot out.
What's this?
Boogie probably doesn't know.
Sailing.
So when we bought this place, sorry about the echo, by the way. I'll do the audio treating done.
Yeah,
soon
it's
enough.
huge, Woody.
I really do my
You've
best to have
ruined
good
everything,
audio.
Woody.
Terrible. So anyway, we moved in and we had the place renovated. Like we had some new hardwood floors put in. We got everything painted and new light fixtures put in, stuff like that. The guy told us it would take 2 weeks. It was over 3 months. Crazy overtime, over budget as well. And it was a really rough, ugly experience. I hated it. Hated every second of it. And Jamal, who he was mentioning, was a subcontractor. He did terrible work, so the general contractor didn't want to pay him. And then now Jamal is suing the 2 of us. Like, I've got anything to do with this shit. And I'll be in small claims court on May 4th. So that's when everything ends. I have nothing to lose.
so
what,
stupid.
he's suing for $6,000. So what I did is I held $6,000 back from the general contractor. I put it in an escrow account, and then whenever he gets paid, so the court will say give all 6 to Jamal, or give 3 to Jamal, 3 to Ed, the GC, or whatever. I don't know what they'll say, but from my standpoint, I already put the $6,000 in escrow, and I could give a shit where it goes.
What does escrow mean?
Yeah, this is what I think of as like an old man superpower, right? Like I just know old man shit, right? That's the thing. So
Yeah,
escrow,
you're an old fuck.
Yeah, it's kind of like a special bank account that's dedicated to a purpose, and the money doesn't come out of it until like an arbitrator, like a central person, agrees to it. So like, let's say I'm going to buy your house. I'll put all that money in escrow, and then it will transfer to you upon, the exchange of the house. It's kind of like setting aside dedicated funds for a thing, and then when that thing happens properly, it goes over. If that thing doesn't happen properly, it comes back to you.
So it's just like a pending account, basically. So you're pending your payment until it's sufficiently provided.
You're
the
putting
service
payment in kind of, it's not a joint account. I mean, it's kind of yours, but there's some third person who decides that the action has happened that triggers the transfer.
Oh, okay.
Right.
Well, look at that. Learned something.
Yeah.
3 minutes in.
This action-packed PKA brought to you by Crunchyroll.
Join us next week when we go over tax law.
Let's talk about Ben Gay for a while. That really helps your joints.
Dude, I have a topic.
I have one too.
Oh, Lord. 2 topics?
Rock, paper,
going into
scissors?
a 4-hour show?
All right, wait a second. I have a topic. I want in on this.
Play too.
All right.
I
You
don't,
can play
so
too.
I'll
So
join.
the way I go is rock, paper, scissors, then shoot. And on shoot,
No,
a
no,
thing
get
happens.
Boogie in on it. Get Boogie.
Yeah, we want Boogie too.
Yeah,
Boogie,
we'll go all 3, right?
Hands up in
go
the rock, paper, scissors.
Paper, scissors, shoot. And that's going to be our thing.
All right, ready?
Yeah.
Rock, paper, scissors, shoot. 3
All right.
scissors. You
Looks
don't
like
see
you
it.
guys
I'm
all
off
did
camera,
scissors.
kind of, but yeah.
Okay,
All right,
again.
Ready? Rock, paper, scissors, shoot. 3 papers! Oh, what are the odds? All right,
An
ready?
anomaly.
Rock, paper, scissors, shoot. Ooh,
Oh,
Boogie's
man,
out.
man, man.
Kyle and I, ready?
I had to.
Woody.
Rock, paper, scissors, shoot.
Scissors.
Oh, Kyle
All
wins.
right.
So
All right.
Chiz linked me to this website, and I'm gonna get the link for you guys too. But basically, this you send these people some genetic material, some spit in a test tube, and they will do your genetic history, and they'll find out what your ancestry is, genetically speaking. Like if you have any African American ancestors, if you have, and not just like African American, they'll narrow it down to like the region of Africa that your descendants came from. So I was thinking we should totally do this. We should find out what our
23andMe is what they call it. What horrific marketing. 23andMe. This sounds like the next Taylor Swift album.
I think we should all do this, and then compare.
My family's done something like this.
Well, this isn't like where they look back through like your birth records and stuff like this. This is like DNA mapping, I guess.
Right.
No, I know. It's really cool. Figuring out where you're from genetically.
Yeah, I think that would be great, and we could take some bets as to which one of us totally has some African American.
Right, because here's the thing: your grandparents may have lied, because it would be shameful to have some Indian in you, or shameful to have some other mud race in you, or whatever.
I have that.
They were crazy back then when they were
I
writing
have
down the
that.
tree,
Did you
right?
know that? So apparently, on my mom's side, we have Mexican in us. And it's like a family secret that, like, I'm not even positive it's true because it's kind of buried. And so, yeah,
I
there's...
just noticed that your lawns looked very well kept. And they didn't deal with that.
Let's do this. Let's do this thing. I think this is a great use for Patreon
I'll do
funds.
it.
I think we should
Yeah,
order
that
up
sounds like
3 of
fun.
these motherfuckers and find out. Let's do it.
Do you know where you're from, Kyle? Like
No,
specifically where your family's from?
No clue.
'Cause my family didn't come here till the early 20th century.
You know, I wouldn't be surprised if I had some ancestor who owned slaves, was a slave, was a bootlegger, or like some sort of a thief, or a congressman, maybe even. It could be that low. I don't know.
I like the way you did that.
We just that's why I'm interested in this, and I'd love to show my dad. Be like, look, Dad, you're 1/32 black.
Oh, you think that would go over well with your dad?
Actually, I don't think he would care that much. He'd get a chuckle out of that, but it would just be funny to go over. My mom might.
My great grandmother,
black guy.
my great grandmother was full-blooded Cherokee, and so apparently I have enough American Indian in me to like qualify for like scholarships and shit. And so every time somebody's like, "Hey, check your white cis male privilege," I'm just like, I chuckle inside a little bit because I'm like, I'm not white, dude. I'm technically American Indian. You're full of shit. So whatever.
Yeah, I
love that stuff.
We read the results live on the air, and well, sort of. And
that was like a Jerry Springer episode.
That segues into my topic.
Let's hear it.
All right. I learned that there hasn't been a white sprinter in the Olympic 100-meter finals since 1980.
Has it been one to compete in them?
Right. Not a single white guy has been in the top, in the finals of the Olympic 100-meter sprint since
surprising.
1980. And I think that's horseshit. I think that that maybe we need like an affirmative action sprinter program to put like a white person in the finals. Because you don't know. Like maybe they'll do something great. I know there's other people who are faster and stuff, but we should take them out and put in a white male sprinter so that like maybe they'll win. You don't know. It could happen. Or
I think they only do that when they feel that the advantage was gained unfairly in a way.
I think maybe they should have like a special program to encourage more white male sprinters to take up sprinting. Maybe that's a thing.
If they do that, they need to make it full-blown ridiculous. Like they have 4 chiseled black guys sprinting, or 6, whatever that amount is, and then a white woman and a dwarf. Just to show that they give a fuck about diversity. Just to put them in there. Just to see that little dwarf, just chugging along, doing his best with his little dwarf arms. Yeah.
Well, what about the Fat Olympics? Like, why don't we have that? Why isn't it just like 5 or 6 like lumbering fat guys? Why don't we have special events for that? I mean, honestly, that is an official body type now, right?
I kind of feel like
I read Tumblr. I know what it's like.
Yeah.
I mean, no one ever really told me to get into sprinting.
Wouldn't be very good.
Right.
No one ever really encouraged me to take up sprinting. I think that perhaps, I'm at a disadvantage in sprinting, and that there should be special programs that help me come along.
Right. Well, that's the thing. If you put, it's all about incentive for me. Okay, I'm generally not going to be able to run very fast, but I'm going to outrun Carl Lewis if you put a lifetime supply of Mountain Dew at the end of that thing. Mm-hmm. I'm going to beat him there. That's all I'm saying. That's going to happen, man.
I don't know about that.
This is why you're my favorite shitlords. Just to be very clear, you are my favorite shitlords. A lot of people were like,
"But you don't want to go on that show. They're shitlords. They're praising fat people hate."
And I'm like, man, everybody's entitled to their opinion. Like, I don't fucking know their opinion already. You guys have told me to my face.
It's
like a big fucking
He did. It's me. And partially, it's this. One of the reasons I think that Fat People Hate gets such a bad name is because sometimes fat people will go in there and they'll say some outrageous shit that even the shitlords wouldn't be on board with, just to sort of be like, look at this thing they did. They said we should crucify fat people. Like, wait a minute, we didn't say anything about crucifixion. Like, first of all...
Well, I mean, crucifying me...
Just imagine the structure we need. I mean, it's not going to work.
I like you to deport people hate, right?
Table.
Like, to be fit, it takes perhaps a proper upbringing and diet and stuff like that. It takes a lifetime of discipline. It takes focus. It takes there's a lot of shit involved in being fit. You have to deny yourself things all the time. It's really the same process as going to college and getting a job and doing all the other things. Like it's a lifetime of devotion and discipline.
Well, I've been learning a lot of things over the last 3 years, and we've talked about it. I don't want to. I don't want my entire time to be here talking about this, but I'm 60 pounds lighter than my biggest ever, which is an accomplishment for me. I'm proud that I've done it. I'm still 500 fucking pounds, or 527ish right now, but I'm still fat as shit. But I'm less fat than I used to be, and it's been a hell of a stretch. The reason I don't like Fat People Hate is because hate is right in the title, and I really don't. I'm not a hateful person. I don't really
agree.
understand, I
wish
liked Fat People's Stories. Now, that was a good subreddit. I enjoyed that one. Fat People Hate, now at 111,000.
Here's what there's some I sort of pick and choose the posts I like there. Some of them just seem to be cruel for no other purpose than being cruel, and I don't like that, to be honest. Some of them pick away at sort of the Tumblr culture and some of the I guess what is it, healthy at any weight stuff that can be,
I enjoy that stuff. I love that stuff.
That stuff can be completely ridiculous when there are people who are obviously unhealthy and they're like, no, this is healthy, and these are, and I've seen people try to make fat rolls look like a six-pack and try to say that
yeah, I love that stuff too.
Like that stuff I like.
Have you seen Bruce Buffer's six-pack?
No.
I'm going to try and share this. Hold on.
Yeah, I'd love to see it.
While he's looking for this, just because a lot of people tweeted me about this, and I just want to, all the PKA fans out there, just let me go ahead and say this, okay? Health at any size is insanity. You can't be both morbidly obese and healthy. You can be for a short period of time, but eventually that'll end. Take it from me, okay? I'm someone who thought I could be healthy and fat. And you know what? I can tell you I wasn't able to. My doctor agreed to me that no one can. And the truth of the matter is, it is your personal responsibility to be as healthy as humanly possible so you can live as long as you want. And at the end of the day, when the good side to all of that stuff, Kyle, I know that this is your point because I know you as a person. We've talked many, many times. Your goal is to remind people to be healthy and to do the healthy thing and to try to maintain their health. That's it. And whatever reminder we need to do that, I still don't believe that negative reinforcement works. And this type of negative reinforcement certainly doesn't make it that much easier, you know, because I think it encourages people to be like shitty.
I think it helps a little. So I think there are people who when they see that and they're overweight, they feel shame, and perhaps they are indeed shamed into making a change in their life. I think that's a small percentage.
I think that shame is about 90% of what causes obesity.
It could be, but for me, it's what prevents my own obesity.
I was gonna say,
all it is.
You are sexy, man. I'm not gonna lie.
You should see him in person. Holy fuck! Yeah, Kyle's on point right now.
I would slime around on you. Hey, I will tell you though, and the other thing, the last time I was on here, my back injury was the worst it had ever been. Well, a combination of a new bed has been helping, my DDP exercises, which I'm still doing. A lot of people are like, man, you're shaming DDP, but not losing as much weight as you could. And I know that. I'm sorry that I'm letting Diamond Dallas page you down, brother. I know I need to do better, and I am doing better. But I'm in less pain than I've ever been in the last 3 years. It's still really miserable. I mean, I'm still crying every morning when I wake up and trying to get used to it. But I told you when this back injury was healed, I'm coming to fucking boot camp, Kyle. Don't doubt me for a goddamn second. I'd say give me another 6 months to a year. I think my back is going to be better. I'm hoping to lose another 30 or 40 to make it a little easier, and I'm fucking coming, man.
Check out this picture.
Oh, given another year, dude, if you continue with it, you will lose a lot more.
I hope so, but
30 or 40. You will lose a lot more, and you'll be happy with it.
I said that on the first PKA, and I got to tell you, man, it's been a slow fucking road. But at least there's been progress on that road, and I'm happy with it.
This is Bruce Buffer's six-pack.
Wow.
It's my understanding that what he did is he had liposuction such that they shaped his belly fat into a six-pack.
I would do that. If I could just get hammered every day and yell at fighters and then go home to a couple of hot babes like that, I would absolutely do that. Absolutely.
These two women are both prostitutes.
Yeah, he is off the hook. He shows up with whores and doesn't even pretend otherwise. He's like, no.
Good for him. You know what? Good for him.
Live the dream. More UFC news. Joe Lozon has a fight July 20. It's announced. It's all over the world. Twitter and ESPN and all that stuff. He told us maybe 15 minutes or half an hour before the rest of the world knew, I guess. But he's fighting a guy named Komi, Komarasu Komi or something. What's his first name? Or Yon? Am I completely
Suzuki?
It's like Takagami Gomi. Gomi is his last name.
Okay, well that's close enough. Yeah, I was totally close.
I'm embarrassed. I should be. All my people are gonna say I don't actually like MMA are gonna fuss at me, but yeah, like Takanomi Gomi, something like that.
Takanori.
Takanori, is that it?
Ori? I think it's an Ori at the end. I don't know.
There is no fucking way that it's Takagomi no Mi.
It's Takanori Gomi.
There we go.
Takanori Gomi.
Yeah. That's really good.
It's a freaking amazing card.
I'm not a big enough of a UFC guy to know that that's a good card, but I'll believe if you say it. I'm going to do my best to be there. I think I got a couple of events that month.
I specifically asked Joe if I should be there or not because we were planning on going to that event, and now he's fighting in it, and I'm like, am I going to mess this up? And he says, I don't believe in jinxes. Come on out. So that's a thing.
That's good. Yeah, so I think July 12th is the paintball event in Chicago. Then July 25th is Joe's fight on that big card. Between there, I'm at Pennsylvania doing some kind of promotional thing at a gun show. But
originally, the paintball thing was July 25th.
That was it was never July 25th. Okay. I don't know where we got that number, but we both believed it was, but it never, in fact, was. It isn't the Call of Duty World at War scenario game is on July 12th in Chicago. Paintball Explosion. Joe's fight is on the 25th, and somewhere in between, I'm in Pennsylvania. So I'm going to try to make a fun month out of July.
All right. Yeah, that should be awesome, dude. Joe's going to kill that guy. Like,
hope so.
Yeah.
That's going to be good.
Go, Joe.
If I was the commission, I'd be like, Gomi, are you sure you want to do this? He's gonna fucking kill you. You know, like,
who's he fighting? What's his name?
Takanormi Gomi. I just Gomi. I've always called him Gomi. Me and names. That's my thing. Cut me some slack.
Takanori Gomi.
Takanori Gomi. What did I say? Takanomi Gomi.
They keep joking about me being in shape, but Joe came out of the shower when we were in Chicago, and he was topless, and Joe is in incredible shape.
Dude, he's
and at first you're just like, wow, Joe's in incredible shape, and then like Woody always says, then you kind of remember, oh yeah, that's what he does for a living.
Yeah, dude. So one of the reasons I became a fan of Joe is that I thought he was like the super version of me, right? And if people don't know, Joe has a computer science degree. He went to college all 4 years, whatever. And rather than go the comp sci route, he went the exercise route and became a professional athlete. So I had in my head, like, if hypothetically or in some alternate universe, I had focused all my energy into athletics, all of it, right? Not just swimming or whatever, but like really, even after college and full time in this thing, that Joe is what the super version of me would be. And then I saw him in person, and it was like, oh, no, he's not a version of me at all. He's one of them. He's like, I thought he was one of us, like a gamer kind of comp sci guy.
His core, like, I don't know what these lateral muscles that kind of go right here.
Oh yeah, those ones that people draw in paintings, like David has them.
To try to give like a V in that area. They're like this thick. There's like that much meat just laid on top of his core that I don't have.
You can be fooled into thinking that Joe's not one of them, one of those like super jock crazy whatever, and that happens because his pecs aren't real thick. Right? You know, and you're almost like, oh, look, he's like a regular guy. He doesn't have that like massive guy chest thing.
Well, you know better than anyone.
But anyway, he doesn't want them. He says they're not that useful in fighting, and they weigh a lot. So like he's like, I don't even care. We go pecs, whatever. He wants the more useful muscles for what he does. You'd think pecs would be punching, but I don't know. That's what he says. So but yeah, if you see Joe in his underwear,
it's a sight to behold.
It's a sight to behold.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
Like if you're hitting someone, are pecs useless?
I would have thought they'd be core, right?
I mean, it's all the muscles are useful.
Yeah.
I don't know, like if you're like winding into a big hit.
I don't know. That's all sort of core back crazy. You think no? You think I'm wrong on the pecs being useful?
No. I imagine that. I have no experience to speak of in that regard.
Huh.
Right? I mean, pecs. I think a pec's job essentially is to pull your elbow towards the center of your chest, and it would seem like that'd be super related. But I don't know. I'm sort of out. This isn't really what I studied.
Yeah. Well, in any case, Joe's got a big fight coming up. We're all very excited about it, and a big card as well. I'm gonna do my best to be there at that fight.
Dude, he's got a great fight, great card. Joe's gonna smash him. It's gonna be cool.
So do you think you're gonna go?
I'd like to. Yeah. I don't see any reason why I shouldn't be able to go.
All right, cool. But hey, why don't you drive me? That'd be good. You should get your new truck, and you should drive us up there. That'd be great to do that twice.
Wait, where's the fight?
Chicago.
So Woody has to loop on down to Georgia and then take that simple drive to Chicago.
Yeah, I've made that drive to Chicago pulling a golf cart. It was so awful. Like a couple years ago, that last paintball thing, it was so god awful. We're driving along. I got Jeremy in the passenger seat. He shared the driving with me, but he was asleep at this point. And we're in the left lane of like a 6-lane superhighway. You know, there's concrete barriers boxing us in, lots of traffic, and I'm locked into that left lane, which is it's the multi-capacity lane or whatever, the HOV lane, and I got this trailer.
The carpool lane.
Yeah, the carpool lane. I'm hauling ass. I'm doing at least 80 miles an hour. There's one car in front of me, and Jeremy's asleep in the passenger side, and I'm going along. And I notice the car in front of me like does this weird evasive maneuver, but I can't really tell why. I'm like, the fuck's that guy's problem? And then I see it. An entire tire is in the road. It's just a whole like semi-truck tire that's it doesn't even look like a gator, which is what they call the peeled apart tires. It looks like the whole fucking thing. And I look in my mirror and there's a car right beside me, so I'm boxed in. So I just go, Jeremy, hang on! And we just hit it right in the fucking middle. And it's just like ba-boom, ba-boom at 80 miles an hour. And then the tire gets kicked up by my back tires and hits the fucking U-Haul trailer behind me and like bends the shit out of the fender. Jeremy was scared shitless. It was great. It was worth doing just to scare Jeremy that bad.
Yeah, it doesn't sound like it. Sounds like it was a huge ordeal caused by a tire in the freeway.
It's a 12-and-a-half-hour drive from Raleigh, or less than 2 hours to fly. It seems like flying is a better idea.
Flying's definitely better.
I'm not even sure it's cheaper to drive.
Hey,
Flying's
take a
always the better
train.
idea.
Live it up.
It can't be cheaper. Live like an 18th century millionaire.
Yeah. Live like a 1910 oil baron.
Yes.
And just go across the U.S.
They were
in a
called
train.
10,000aires at the time.
Yes.
He said he got questioned by a detective at some point because on the train or before he got on the train, something about buying his ticket so close to the departure date was a suspicious thing, and he got profiled because of that. So I've never traveled by train. Yeah, I've never traveled by train, and I don't think I ever will.
I used to commute by train, so I've spent a lot of time on a train, but just like an hour each way.
Yeah, that's a
A
different
tram or a train?
Definitely train.
The commuter
real
train
train,
is
okay.
different. Like that train we took that night in Boston to go to Joe's gym.
The subway.
Okay, yeah, that's close to it.
I have
Commonly
never.
called the
I don't
subway.
remember. That's
Was it? I think it was a subway. Didn't we go down into it?
I've
I don't
never
know.
been
It seems
on a
like there's a
train in my
thin
entire
line there
life.
to me. What were you saying?
I've never been on a train in my entire life. I can't believe that. I was already thinking, have I even ridden the subway? I've never ridden the subway. The closest I've ever come is there's like this tourist thing up in Eureka Springs here in Arkansas, and like you can do like a dining car or whatever, and then you can
Was
like
it a really
see.
small train where you sit on the top and out the roof?
No, that was. This is a full size passenger train for.
Were
like
you
the
in a mall?
40s or whatever.
Was the Easter
it
Bunny
kind of-
present for this
Did
train?
Santa give you a ticket?
Is it the kind of train that you can spin a dial in front of you to spin your own cart?
Was there a monorail? Were you on tires?
No, but
I would like it if there were more trains. That's an interesting. I saw that Japanese train. Like I guess it broke that speed record. I'm guessing like 500 kilometers per hour. I think it was like 366 miles per hour, something like that. Which that's really
That sounds
fucking
really fast.
Yeah, it's some sort of new experimental maglev or something. But that's fast. That's fast enough to.
I think we can all agree that like the U.S. infrastructure desperately needs rebuilding, and if we ever do rebuild it, I would love to see us get some of these monorails, man, or like any of these.
Connect
How
some of
awesome
these
would that be?
cities.
I live in Arkansas, so it's never going to affect me one or the other. But like one running down the West Coast would be brilliant if you think about it.
It
The only
seems
reason
like
I-
our country is well suited for that kind of thing. It seems like if you had like Chicago's a great city to put them in. So it's such a nice central city, and it's
Yep.
you can bounce to New York, you can bounce down to Atlanta, and all the cities that are right there near it.
Lots
That
of
would be
fresh
cool.
water.
Yeah.
The only thing I like about trains, I haven't been on one like the high speed ones or anything, is the lack of security. Like if planes weren't so fucked up, if it didn't take an hour and a half on either side of a plane ride to like board and check your luggage and go through security and all that, then I wouldn't want a train at all. The real reason I want a train is I want the private plane experience.
Yeah.
So let's talk about flying and being fat, because that's real amusing. Okay, as since I obviously have had to fly a few times to do appearances at like VidCon, the PlayStation Experience, the Video Game Awards, last year, stuff like that. We're flying more than ever, and I hate it. Obviously, I mean it's unbearable. Airports are too big for me. Obviously, the seats are too small. I have to purchase 2 seats, obviously, so that I'm not making anybody else uncomfortable. It's a pain in the ass, but every time I go through security, I make a TSA agent's life a living hell, because the scanner that they use, they can't see through certain areas of my body, specifically the stomach portion.
Good.
There's a guy in the back in the TSA. She can't take it, Captain. We're giving her all she's got. It's like more.
So every time I step out of that X-ray machine, some poor guy has to go digging to look for. I don't know what he's expecting to find. And they always, every time, 99 times
Please
out
tell
of
me
100,
something involving your butthole happens.
it involves my penis every time. They're surprised when they find it. Like they're not expecting one. And then like there's my balls in their hands. And then they, like a couple of guys didn't know what that was. So they really got in there. And then I'm like, do I need to turn my head and cough, dude? Like what?
You have a small.
What kind of? Is this a penis? Yes, it's a penis, man. Is this testicles? Yes. Are you sure it's not a gun, sir? No, I'm pretty sure. I mean, it's fired off a couple times, and then and then you're in the special room.
This bag seems to be holding more than 3 ounces of fluid.
But every time, man, I come out of that machine and I just directly apologize to the guy on the other side of the machine. I'm like, I'm real sorry for this, dude. And he's like, oh, don't be. It's not a big deal. You know that guy goes home and just calls his therapist and says, I had to check in another fatty today.
So you need 2 tickets.
Right, I need 2 tickets.
Now, would 1 first class ticket do the trick?
We got bumped up to first class, and it depends on the size of the plane. The one time we got bumped up to first class, it was awesome. It was perfectly comfortable. I'm in one seat, my wife's in the other. It's just wonderful. It's beautiful. The other time, the first time I looked at a first class seat, if the plane is pretty small, then it's going to be too narrow, and part of me is going to be in the aisle, and that's going to make it difficult for the stewardess, and I don't want to do that for her. It's bad enough that I'm even on the plane for some people, so I don't want any part of me sticking out in the aisle. I'd rather eat the cost, every time.
So Wings went to the Billionaire Bash, the Billionaire Challenge. I forget what it was called. A couple of years ago, we did this thing, and they flew Wings out, and he had a terrible flight experience. He hated it. So the plane was full.
Ticket. Oh,
he
got 1 ticket. He needed 2.
Right.
But he had never flown before, so he didn't know about the whole 2 ticket thing. And the guy next to him gave him a hard time. Now, it wasn't completely unjustified, I guess.
Right.
But whatever he did or said really hurt Wings' feelings. And I remember it. So I was out there with him and stuff, and he wanted to drive home. And he felt super uncomfortable. I think part of it was never having left home before. But he was like, he's like, it's weighing over me. 24/7, I know I have to fly home somehow. I have to get home. This is horrible. Like, it was this miserable thing. And, the flight really took it out of him. He hated it. He full on hated it as much as you can hate something.
He must have if he's considering getting a rental going from L.A. to South Carolina.
He might not have known the scope of what he was talking about. Right?
Maybe not the financial scope, but surely he knows how wide the fucking United States is.
Surely.
I mean, they do have maps.
No, but I mean, in all seriousness,
not in South Carolina.
If you told me that, he didn't really have a grasp on how many hours a drive that was, I'd be like, yeah, that sounds reasonable. I don't think he'd ever left his, town, county, whatever. Like he had never traveled anywhere. He might not really get how far away California is.
It's an undertaking for those of you who are uninitiated. It takes a couple of days, and it's awful. It's awful. I've driven. The farthest I've driven is to. I know I've driven to Phoenix, Arizona.
How far is that from you? Is that like 24 hours of driving?
It was broken up across like 3 days because it was kind of a multi-leg trip. We were going to different places and doing different things, but it was like 5 days of total driving, I think. I flew for half of it. Like I flew from Atlanta into Albuquerque, but I drove on the way back. and that was not pleasant.
Furthest I've driven is Michigan. I forget the town exactly. Prince or something. It was right near Kalamazoo. I knew that.
Oh, so you're up in the UP? That's where my wife is from. I love that area.
Is Kalamazoo's not UP?
Is that not? Okay, never mind.
No, it's between.
I don't know the UP that well. I know Escanaba. I know like Gladstone. I know Marquette, but I don't really know.
It's right
I don't
between
know
Chicago
Central.
and Toledo.
Yeah, I gotcha.
Hey, did you want your topic?
Oh, yeah. We didn't do boogies.
Hey, I wanted to talk about the Steam's new plan. Holy shit!
okay.
Have you heard about this?
No.
Wait, what is it
Okay,
again?
so now you guys have been playing a lot of PC games when you game lately, right?
Mm-hmm.
So modding is probably the best part of PC gaming, right? Because Skyrim is a completely different game on PC than it is on Xbox or PlayStation. So the guys over at Steam have finally determined that they are going to help people monetize modifying. And so basically, you'll be able to charge for any mods you create for a game if that game chooses to participate in charging mods, Skyrim being the first one. And the pack that they have up, and I may be misquoting this here, is a $30 pack, which is more expensive than Skyrim is, I think. A $30 pack, and that's discounted. That's the discounted price, and it contains basically just 17 weapons. So
Oh, no.
they have now added
not gonna work.
microtransactions to Skyrim.
Nah,
And
there's no way that won't fly.
Well, obviously, like within 10 minutes, they had to remove comments from the page because people were just shitting all over the place. And I will tell you right here, as somebody who creates content for the internet, I believe a modder should be able to have a way to get paid.
Yeah,
I think donation
Better
buttons are a
mods.
great way to do it. Donations through YouTube. This is not the way to do it, specifically because Steam plus the publisher keeps 75%, giving only 25% to the modder. So that's going to encourage very expensive prices because at $10, the modder is only going to get $2.50. I mean, that's ludicrous.
bullshit.
That's just ludicrous.
I would like it if the modders could get some kind of compensation. I
course,
think it would
yeah, we
produce
all agree
much
with that.
better mods, and there'd be a lot more standardization in the mods because sometimes I'm reading on forums trying to figure out which one of the grass effect mods I want. Like, oh, well, this one will give me more frames actually because but this one is a better texture pack. I don't know. It goes. If there was money involved, you'd have better mods. Like for Civilization 5, there's a Game of Thrones mod that I'm really interested in. I really want to play this.
Yep.
But there's 3 or 4 different versions of it. 3 of them just don't fucking work, and one of them only kind of works. And I just feel like if that guy were getting 50 cents a piece, he'd have thousands and thousands of dollars pushing him towards making this mod work.
Well, in order
third.
him to clear 50 cents a piece before taxes, because he's going to have to file on a Schedule C. I told you we'd talk about taxes.
Yeah.
He's going to have to file that on a Schedule C. He'd have to charge about $2.50 to $3 in that neighborhood for him to clear 50 cents.
Yeah, that's a bullshit system. That'll never.
It'll never fly.
And
So
I
it's
would
not
never
that I'm against the idea. I'm against the implementation.
Yeah, and I wouldn't pay for that either because, like you mentioned, like $30 for a bunch of like swords or something.
Right.
When I mod Skyrim, I would sit there for hours at a time, like installing and removing, like just seeing if I liked it or not. And there would be, if by that at that rate, would have had to spend hundreds and hundreds.
They
of dollars.
are giving us 24 hours to refund a mod purchase, so that's a step in the right direction.
Yeah, although it also depends on like what kind of bundle the mods come in. If we're talking, because sometimes a mod is literally just one weapon, and sometimes it's a huge pack of weapons.
Right, exactly. And of course, I mean, there's still Skyrim Nexus, which is giving away many of the mods they're charging for, obviously for free still. There's always going to be competition, but we have now entered the day and age in which we are now going to see people pirating mods,
Yeah.
which is mind-boggling to me. And it all really comes down to, I think the backlash isn't about Skyrim itself, and it's not about this system itself. I think it's that people are just really tired of getting nickeled and dimed. And I don't know what games you guys are playing right now, but I'll bet dollars to donuts, and you know I like donuts. I'll bet dollars to donuts that whatever game you're playing right now has some built-in microtransactions of some fucking sort. If it doesn't, it's got a DLC pack that's been announced that's on its way or you've already purchased. If not, it's got some sort of skin. What are you playing right now?
I'm playing Civ. I'm playing the Civilization 5. It doesn't apply here.
NHL 15.
Well, then we
Nothing
know.
there.
Wait, then there's nothing in NHL 15? What?
There's nothing to download to make my
Civ has
character better.
DLC.
I had to
Is
play
it-
a whole fucking season with a shit tier character just get him up to decent.
So NHL 15 is not one of the games that does like the booster packs of cards to build your team and all that crap. It doesn't do that.
No, they don't do that.
Okay, good.
I would have
Good.
paid for something if they had to make it quicker.
Kyle,
Well, see, that's the rub. That's the
Civ
rub.
is old. So Kyle acted like Civ didn't have DLC. It's old.
Yeah.
So we bought everything at one time. Like I forget what I actually messed up. I'm gonna make up the numbers, but I bought like a $10 DLC pack. And then I realized I needed to buy like the $30 DLC pack. So, like a genius, I bought both. But now I never need anything else.
Yeah, and if anyone wants to come play some Civilization with me, I think it's like $30 for everything now, like all the DLC and the game for Civilization 5. Don't get beyond New Earth; it sucks.
No, get Civ 5. It's real good.
You could come play with me and get your ass handed to you, because that's what's been happening all fucking week. On a real undefeated streak right now.
Can
Are
Chiz
you on
hang
the
with you
top
at this
now,
point?
Kyle?
What's that?
Can Chiz hang with you at this point?
All right, so let me tell you what happened in our last game, because the answer is yes. But it really depends on the scenario we play in. In some scenarios, I feel like I can wipe the floor with him, and some I feel like it's me pulling my hair out because of the way he plays the game. But last time we played, it was me, him, and maybe 3 fans. And I tweeted out to try to get people to join our game or whatever. And there was this guy named Lord Commander Jon Snow. And I was like, yeah, let's get him in there. He'll be Jon. And even his avatar, it was Jon Snow. And I was like, this is the cool guy. And I guess we were at turn like 75 turns into the game, which is probably an hour and a half, maybe 2 hours. And I am just killing it. Like everybody's sending their scouts to my city to even look at it. They're like, Jesus, Kyle, you're booming. And I'm like, yeah, I am doing great. And I don't really have much of an army. I've got 2 warriors that are set there on defense. And fucking Lord Commander Jon Snow attacks me. And in the chat, he goes, Kyle was woefully undefended. And in fact, so I took all of his cities and crushed him and kicked him out of the game and called him a dumbass. But what made me mad is that he didn't know what the fuck he was doing. If he had come at me with like 4 trebuchets and 4 swordsmen and crushed me, I'd have been like, outplayed. He really just came at me and crushed me. That's not what he did, though. He would just send like 2 compound archers at a time to just kind of fuck with me. Just fuck. And because he's putting all his production in these compound archers and his people are all unhappy and shit, it's just driving him into the ground. He has the lowest score. He's got like 250 points. And meanwhile, Chiz is up in the north, just living large. Nobody's fucking with Chiz. And I said it in the chat. Like somebody was like, "What's going on over there?" I'm like, well, there's no point in even bothering. I was like, Chiz has already won the game. No one can catch him, not even me. Lord Commander Snow here slowed me down enough for Chiz to take the lead. And that's exactly what happened. I was killing Chiz by like 200 points. And by the end, we just all forfeited to Chiz.
I had a similar... Last time we all played together, we were same team. But I was off in the east, there's living large. Like Chiz was to my north, Kyle was to my... I don't know, west or something, and I just northwest, and I just felt so protected. There was no one to my southwest, and I was like, oh, I'm fucking living large. I'm all set. So I was able to I hardly built anything that could fight for the first 1,000 years on this thing. It wasn't until they're like mobile infantry or something that I started building.
Yeah, you need to come play with us
I
again.
like that. No,
I
don't need to do that at all.
No. Chiz and I were in a Skype call, and Woody kind of like joined. We've got like a 3-person Skype conversation thing. So when there's an active call, the third person can just hop in at any moment. And he's like, "Hey, what are you guys doing?" We're like, "We're playing, about to play some Civ. You want to come play?" And he just goes, and it's just like Woody has hung up. He's gone. He's gone. Like,
last time we played, it was like 7:30 p.m. and they're like, "Hey, you want to play?" And I'm like, why not? That'll be cool. We wrapped up at like 4 a.m. and it was so long. The last like 3 hours were just queued up, like about to fight. We're about to take out this demigod. And it was too slow for me.
We were playing the game on the hardest difficulty, 3 versus 1. And if we had attacked even 10 turns earlier than we did, we would have lost. I'm telling you.
It would have been a bloodbath. I had so many troops that it was a pain in the ass just to tell them to wait.
How long does 1 turn take in this game?
It depends. It
No,
depends
no,
how
no,
many
just-
units you have.
Just give me an average. Normal amount of time one turn takes.
Okay, throughout most of the game, a turn takes me like 15 seconds. But when it's in war and I have lots of things I'm going to control individually, a turn can take 5-7 minutes.
So 10 turns can take
an hour
or more.
Yes.
That's not until late in the game. The game progresses at pretty much the same speed, and it slowly gets slower as your empire grows larger. It makes sense if you think about it. You just have more to do, more to control, and if you can auto-select a turn timer to encourage slow-playing players, and generally it'll be to like 2 or 3 minutes late game per turn. But when you go into war with other human players, suddenly you have to play in sequential turns rather than simultaneous a lot of the times, unless you've changed your settings, and that takes a long time because you have to wait for me to do all of my shit, and you have to like react to it, and it's just that takes forever. It turns into like a turn-based strategy or a it's what it is. But I prefer to have everything simultaneous, so everybody's just clicking really fast. Get some uber micro skills involved. You should play, Taylor. I think I've got
Taylor. You should play.
Yeah, get involved.
You should play. You should get totally. You will like it. You know, you know how Painkiller already sometimes runs until like midnight or even 1 a.m.? If you like that, you'll love Civ.
I would love Civ. I'd love to spend 10 hours a day playing a game that you guys only complain about.
10 hours a day? Oh, you're adorable. Civ. Try 10 hours all night or 14 hours all night. You're ruined.
If you want to, Civ can take. You can play short games of Civ that last a couple of hours, or you can play really long, drawn-out games. The things I'm just gonna be honest here. I'm gonna tell the truth. The reason our game in particular took quite so long is because you don't have a lot of experience with the game, and your unit management is not on par with where it should be. So sometimes, especially in war, when you're trying to like move that vast army you've built, it takes 7 or 8 minutes, and Chiz and I are long done. And I went upstairs and made a bowl of soup.
Okay, I need to defend myself. 1, I had 3 times as many like warriors ready to fight. 2,
lies. I'll get Chiz. Let's get Chiz in here right now.
True.
Let's get Chiz.
I would, but it would ruin the fucking screen layout. 1, I had a lot more troops to control than Kyle. 2. What I had to do is take this gigantic army and put it through a passageway that was like 2 tiles wide, and Kyle was standing on them. It's true.
Bastard.
None of these things are true. Woody gets very frustrated with the game sometimes.
But it's true. It's completely true. It's completely Kyle. You know it's true.
I think what you're referring to is that there's only so many spaces that directly rub against like an enemy's capital city or any city for that matter. You know, there are hexes that are adjacent to it, and then there are those beyond that. And I think that the 2 on the left of his city, you felt should have been yours because you were bringing your army of artillery. But the reason I didn't want to give you those squares, I'll tell you, it's a little boring, but I wanted to keep those adjacent hexes occupied so the enemy couldn't spawn a unit unless he spawned it directly into the water, which is a really weak place to put a unit. B, that was a melee unit I had. It was an infantry unit, and that's what you want there next to their city. And C, all of your units were artillery units, so they've got two hexes of range. I was there to protect your units. That's all that unit was going to do because if you
my God, who cares?
Take the board off this and stretch it out for 14 hours.
Woody was so frustrated.
No. This is a whole new fucking level of boring. I don't get too
Woody was so frustrated with my being there that I jumped in the ocean.
Awful.
This ridiculous realm. This is so.
You talked about magic for 20 minutes before this thing started. You guys were talking about. You guys were talking about finding cards and decks and being excited about them and stuff.
Yeah,
I'm talking about a strategy game. Magic the Gathering isn't strategy. Did you notice one decisive thing about me and Boogie's Magic discussion? It happened before the fucking show.
Right, exactly.
We didn't talk about it here.
Shit.
We didn't bring our boring...
He didn't want to talk about it, but I feel like Woody is being misleading. I feel like he's just...
No! I'm not a liar. It's exactly like I said it happened. It was only 2 tiles wide. He was standing on one of the tiles. He did also do the other thing where he blocked the city, and I wanted to attack the city. He needed help. I didn't give a fuck about this, but he's like, if you don't come from the bottom, this guy's going to kill me from the top. And
So Dragons of
this
Dark
is
Here's
one thing-
pretty good set, huh?
I promised you,
Yeah,
if we got Chiz in here, he would side with me on this one.
You want to play a true strategy game? Play Magic the Gathering. That game is fucking awesome.
Yeah,
you
can
want to
download Magic
bitch about
2015 or 2014 right now for free on your iPad or any other device, and it's super good.
How do you play Magic
Yes.
the Gathering?
Yeah, right?
How
I
long
don't
does
know.
it take
It's
to learn?
so much fun, man. It is so much fun.
Yeah. Okay, let me just go ahead and say 20 years of addiction later, I'm biased, obviously, but it is without a doubt the purest strategy game I've ever played. It's also the most expensive. There is no top to the amount of money you can buy. You could buy 20,000 single card, one card, 20 grand on a Alpha
The
Black
Black
Lotus
Lotus?
collecting edition, right? If you really wanted to spend money on this game, there is no end to it. You can also play this game on a budget. And
But the
it's
Black
super
Lotus
fun.
is a very handy card because it allows you to do
Well,
shit with mana
banned
without
in most
burning a turn.
formats, right?
Am I getting close at all?
Woody,
That's close. I mean, that was the neighborhood. I've
I mean,
heard
20
people
grand,
say
it's easily
stupid
worth
shit.
that.
What if I counterfeited a Black Lotus card? How would you know?
Actually,
There's
you
a
have to
term
be
for it.
super careful right now if you're buying expensive cards because the Chinese counterfeits are getting incredible. Like,
if my budget for making a fake Magic the Gathering card is $100,000, I think I'm going to beat the collectors, right?
well, I mean, yeah, obviously,
But the good ones are 20 grand. So
they did a
Yeah,
lot.
make 5 of them.
They
No,
did a
they'll
lot of
beat you.
stuff to keep their cards from being counterfeited very easily, but the Chinese guys are really dedicated to doing it, and they really, really want that American money, I guess. I don't know. But so the counterfeiting, each cycle is getting better and better.
But
And
there's
this
a-
latest
there's a-
cycle, so if you were holding one of the counterfeits and the official card in your hand, and the chances of you picking it out that way is almost 0%.
There's a
If you
term
don't
for
know
a
the
counterfeit
tests-
card. There are people who like gild them, or maybe they'll use a cheap card and turn it into a better one, and it's even like semi-accepted in certain circles, right?
These
Like,
guys are just printing them.
I'm not
And
talking
they're
about those
selling-
guys. I'm talking about the people who do it at home and like rub the gilding onto the
Right,
next
the
card.
proxying.
Proxy. That's what I'm going for.
Now
Yeah,
that is without a doubt still copyright infringement. Like you're running a risk for personal use. Wizards does not frown upon it because there's some cards that are impossible to get. If you sell that shit on Etsy and stuff, they will shut you down.
Oh
So
yeah,
you have
yeah.
to
Well, I was
be
going to
like
say
that.
some people are like, yeah, this is a proxy match. So people have
Is that
Black
where you go?
Lotuses and stuff.
Is that where you go for those bootleg Black Lotuses over to Etsy?
Well,
that's
no,
where you go.
those you have to find the Chinese website, and I'm obviously not going to tell you to go there, and because chances are you're going to find a virus trying to find the actual
I'm gonna
site.
go buy
You know.
a $4 million Magic the Gathering deck for like $85.
But a real collector knows the bend test, knows the microwave test, knows the flashlight test, knows the black light test. If you're never going to sell it to me,
Let me ask
know.
you, how long
I
does
don't
it
know what
take
the
to learn to play
microwave test
Magic?
is.
do I?
How long does it take to learn to play Magic?
If you download like the 2014 software, which is free by the way, you can have the basics understood within 30 minutes. If you want to
30
master the
minutes.
game, spend the rest of your life mastering that game.
So we
because
couldn't
certainly
just
did.
all hit like the Magic website and play each other right now.
No, yeah, it did take a little while to get through the basics, I think, yeah.
It would take a while to explain to you what it is, but like you can figure out the basics of it
I'm
in
willing-
half an hour. It's just there are so many keywords that you won't know what the fuck they mean when
Right.
someone brings an older card into play
Right,
that it'll
yeah.
take another 5 minutes.
Or
per
I mean,
keyword
even
to
trying to
explain.
get certain concepts like the mana pool into people's mind. Like you tap a land, what does that do? Well, it gives me the mana to cast my spell. No, it adds the mana to the mana pool, then I drain the pool to put the mana into the spell. Like simple concepts like that they're not that intuitive, so you have to take a bit of a leap to really get into the depth of it. And then when it comes to like the full on rules, like my friend Jason is like a level 2 judge. He could spend 2 hours talking to you about layering and how it would officially work, like the actual, because there's, 20,000, 30,000 cards. I don't even know how many cards.
Oh yeah, explaining the stack to people.
So I have a
takes
question.
A minute.
So how do you play online? If I wanted to play against you right now, how do you
Again,
play? And also, forgive
there's
me.
two different ways. The easiest way is Duels of the Planeswalker 2014. You can buy it for $9.99 on Steam. You can buy like the gold set for like $20. You can download on iPad for free, on Nexus for free. I highly recommend you try that. It'll teach you the rules and everything else. There's also Magic the Gathering Online, which kind of sucks. Like the software is like super shitty and all the cards cost as much as real cards. But if you're a purist like me, you're going to play Magic Online sometimes. But
Is
Duels
it a
of the
heads-up
Planeswalker is where to
game?
go.
I don't know anything about it. Is it a heads-up game, or could like 4 of us play in like a free-for-all?
Multiplayer. You can play multiplayer if you play like Commander or something like that. It's more fun, but you can also play
right.
multiplayer with 60 card decks.
There's
I'll
no
tell you what, I
limit to
will-
the ways you can play this.
I would be happy to play Magic the Gathering online. With what are you, are you shaking your head at the light or at the idea of playing Magic the Gathering?
I'm trying to do some lighting here. I'm just getting worse. I could be like spooky.
That's awful, man.
If you guys ever want to do a PKA plays, I think it would be very fun. I think it would be cool to learn a game that
there's an Xbox version. Did they tell you that while I was gone?
Yeah, they did, but the Steam client seems like the way to go, right?
It is.
For
It's
just
really
for
good.
connectivity
That's a
and
good
getting
way
the
to
thing
go,
done.
but I'd like to do the Xbox version because otherwise on the Steam version I'll have to spend $200 to rebuild a deck that's cheap.
Well,
It's not fair for you to start out with your badass deck.
Duels of the Planeswalker 2014, what they allow you to do is they'll give you 5 decks when you buy the base game or whatever. Then you're going to unlock decks by progressing through the game. And then you can unlock cards for those decks. It gives you, and it's a $20 purchase, so you don't ever have to spend any money to get the Magic experience in the digital realm.
I'm sure it's inexpensive. It'll be no trouble.
So if we were going to do this thing. So
and that will put everybody on even footing. That put everybody on even footing too, by the way, because they're going to be playing with these pre-made decks. You know what I'm saying? And they'll be able to tailor them a little bit as they play and unlock and grind a little bit. But I mean, I think that's the way to go if you guys decide to do it. Hell, I would watch that. Hell, I'd beat your asses all night if you want.
You think so? That's big talk,
I
mister.
think I could pull out a win or two. I think I could pull out a couple wins.
Well, that's the best part about Magic, and I'll tell you, a lot of people say I like games without random chance in them. But if you're a board gamer like me, you know that Puerto Rico has no luck involved whatsoever. But the problem with Puerto Rico is that it is a computation. It's not a game. There are defined strategies that always work, and if you determining the turn order determines the winner if everybody there knows the strategy. That's the problem with that. Luck is a very important part of gaming. It just has to be there. RNG is a thing. It's got to be there. And so Magic has just enough RNG to where when you win, you felt like you won, but when you lost, you can blame the cards. And that's the beauty of that game. To this day, 20 years later, I'm still like, man, if I drew the right fucking thing, I'd have been fine here. You know?
That's what makes it so good is you can outsource all responsibility for a loss onto your draw and be like, if I had drawn better, I would have done better. Well, no shit. That's how every game works.
Well, I think you should play.
Yes, you should.
But there definitely should be rules. Like if I were going to compete against anyone in some sort of a Let's Play, for example, I think that it should be something where like everybody gets 3 decks or everybody gets 5 decks. Like I shouldn't be over here spending $100 on to get like 15 decks or something.
That's what I'm saying. The 2014 software, there's I think if you buy the gold pack, you get access to I think like 15 different decks or whatever, and they're all pre-made, and then you can spend a little more to unlock the cards. You can play the game to unlock the cards, which is the better way to do it. I don't recommend 2015 because you're building your own decks there, and it's not good for new players as much. It's more for an advanced player. But get the 2014 software. Everybody's on even footing. You'll be set. Trust me, that's the way to go. I promise you, promise you.
That'd be cool to do. We just did a PK plays on Woody's Minecraft server. We played Halo, which was...
Oh, that's awesome.
Dude, you know what my high point for the Halo game was? So Kyle was... like I'm looking for a better term than contractually
5 and
obligated.
13.
No, that's not what I was going for. Kyle played Halo with us because someone on Patreon donated money, and you know, this is his job. And then afterwards, we were live streaming it. I forget. I had some Woodycraft event. Oh, play with staff, right? Well, all the staff gets together and we play with other people, etc. And I was like, "All right, Kyle, you can go now." And he's like, "I don't really want to. You know, I want to keep playing. Is that okay?" And it's like, yeah. And that was the coolest part. That made me feel really good. Like, Kyle's hooked. So
it's fun. It really is fun. I think I learned more about how to play that thing by just watching your videos, because like I wasn't jumping around, I wasn't sprinting, I wasn't thinking of it like Halo, but you really have to think of it as Halo, not Minecraft, and that's bizarre. So anyone who's a Halo fan and a Minecraft fan, you'll absolutely love it. It's great.
Yeah, Boogie doesn't know, but I have this Minecraft server, Woodycraft.net. You may
Woodycraft.net.
Yeah, thanks.
I actually heard that mentioned in the wild the other night. Actually, I was playing Grand Theft Auto, streaming, and somebody's like, "Hey, you guys!" I was joking around. I got this joke I do on my stream when I screw with other people in video games, and I'm like, "Hey, add my Steam. It's at www, and I'll just keep doing that. And somebody's like, "Yeah, man, that'd be cool, man. We could play Minecraft together. You want to get on Woodycraft.net?" And I'm like, "Hey, I know that guy. I know this. I felt like I met a celebrity." Yeah.
My son finds it. So Colin pimps Woodycraft like cold calls, like he's doing parkour
at the grocery store.
Yeah. Like Colin takes parkour classes, which is kind of like a gymnastics type thing or whatever. We does like it because it socializes him. And kids are talking about Minecraft. Maybe he'll have like a Minecraft T-shirt on, and he's like, "You should play Woodycraft. You know, Halo. There's a new game type, or you should be on Factions Fire, this and that." And Jackie comes home and tells me the stories of it. With Kyle's like, Colin's recruiting new players.
He's going to be a hell of a pharmaceutical rep one day.
That's right. He'll be a pharma hottie. But yeah, we came out with a new game mode, Halo, and it's modeled after Halo, obviously. And we did the new resource pack. So in Minecraft, there's no guns, but on Woodycraft there is, because we would like take like a wooden hoe and make our own images of it, so you're holding a gun, and it turned out really, really well. Like I'm super happy with it. So,
and I think like any game, like at first I went in there and like I said, I just wasn't thinking of it like Halo, so like I didn't think about where the power weapons are, but a few of those maps I knew, from Halo, and I was like, wait a minute, I know where the fucking rocket launcher is. Let's go. And when I got the rocket launcher and even the sniper rifle, I'm a better sniper in that than I am in Halo. It seems pretty easy to lock on with a mouse and keyboard. So
sounds like you're better.
That was fun. I had a good time.
I don't hit shit with the sniper rifle.
I saw you sniped a guy out in your video.
You see, if I no scoped a guy, I was a little lucky, right? Because I no scope miss as well. I like the rocket launcher. That's my favorite.
That was nice.
It's fun in the real game too. But we redid the audio and we redid the texture pack and stuff. So it's all this like Minecraft cartoon battling, and all of a sudden the rocket launcher comes and just like kicks ass. It's almost out of place, and that's what's so fun about it. That's my favorite. Yeah. But then I die too quickly, or I kill myself, and I'm not really good at it, but I have a good time with it.
You're better than I am, and I had a good time. That's impressive.
I haven't played Minecraft in a while, but I did this cross promotion on my channel for Lego Dimensions, because I don't know, I'm real into the toys to life genre. Like I've been collecting Amiibo, and then I started collecting Skylanders, and I started collecting Disney Infinity, and now I'm broke.
Lego Dimensions, what is that?
It's basically their whole answer to Skylanders. You're gonna get Lego figures. You're gonna put them on the thing, and then you'll play inside the game. And there's just like Back to the Future stuff. Man, they should be paying me for this.
Dude, my wife plays the Lego games. Like,
yeah, well,
half of my gamer score is her beating like Lego Indiana Jones, Lego Harry Potter, etc.
Well, this is the base Lego game is like $99. It comes with a stand and a bunch of figures, and then they'll release expansion packs for like $30 with more figures you can put on the pedestal, which relate to characters you play in the game. And then like they said, they'll never change the engine for many years, so your collection will stay useful forever. You don't have to buy a new game every year. You just buy like expansions and stuff like that. But because I realized I had not owned a Lego set ever in my life. Like when I was a kid, we were kind of broken. Like Lego sets were a thing, but the Legos I would get were like thrift store finds or whatever, and like Mega Blocks or whatever.
So
like
you were getting like shitty Mega Blocks introduced to your Legos, and you were getting like half completed Millennium Falcons.
Exactly.
Awful. Yeah.
So I went to the Lego aisle after doing that promotion, and I'm like, I just buy some Lego just to support the company that supported my channel, and. I found the Minecraft ones, and they're so cool. Oh my God, they're cool. I can't tell you how much fun I'm having with Lego, and it's so sad because I used to make fun of people for like being into Lego, but being like a 50-year-old man or whatever. I'm like, why are you into Lego? Now I get it. The Minecraft shit is so cool. Dude, it's so proud of my first build.
I don't even know how many Minecraft Lego sets I've bought. They're for Colin, and something like 15. I don't even know. Like it's an ordeal moving it. We haven't done the Lego transportation yet because it's all kind of, it's not fragile, but you don't want it to like come apart and stuff.
Right.
So, but yeah, Colin, we have to buy new shelving for this stuff. Like we don't really have proper display for all Colin's Lego stuff. He likes it too.
That's what I'm loving about having a new place is that we had really outgrown our old space because, you got to have studio space and you got to have gaming space and you got to have space for my wife. She likes the kitchen. She wants to decorate the living room. Then we had one spare bedroom, but we need more than that. We needed more room for our weekly gatherings. We got 10 or 15 people that come to those regularly now. We've got to have space to fit them. And
that's a lot of people.
Yeah, well, I've got a lot of friends, man. It's nice. These are people that were these are people that were supporting me when I was like broke, like starting YouTube. And it's all people from the Magic community. That's the other thing. The reason I'm such a proselytize for Magic is every person in my life, with the exception of my wife, who I met through YouTube, every really good person that's a close friend of mine, I met over a game of Magic, including the guy who gave me a place to live when I was homeless. I mean, Magic has been so important in my life, and you got me on that topic. But yeah, we have like 10 or 15 people come over on once a week, and we do a little party. We play board games, we play Mario Kart, we play Mortal Kombat, we play whatever.
So where do they congregate in your house?
In the old place, there used to just be one place. I mean, it was little room there was in the living space. But now we have a formal dining room. We have a dining room off the kitchen. We've got the kitchen space with a countertop, with a bar, stools, and then we got the nice big living room. Then we got the patio space. I mean, this house is twice as big as the one we were renting,
Right.
And so now it's funny. You can actually come to one of our parties and not see someone that's been there all night, because they're out in the other part of the house, It's amazing.
How big is this house?
It's 2,700 square feet. It's not massive or anything,
Right.
But I mean, it's massive. It's literally the house that we lived in when I graduated was 3 rooms: kitchen, bedroom, living room, and then a shitter. Like that was our house. And so it's literally like 6 times the size of the house I grew up in.
Yeah, this.
That's awesome, man. Good for you.
Yeah, that's super cool.
It's something. Well, I got to tell you, man. You're the one who nailed it last time I was on the show. You're like, Boogie, you got to spend some of that money some point. And you got to do something, and
not just that. I mean, like, if you have a house, especially if it's paid off. You haven't mentioned if it's paid off, but it's super cool to like have that sort of problem solved, right? And even if the YouTube thing wanes at some point, then you've got your living worked out, your shelter.
I put a majority of it down, but I'm afraid to go broke, because let's just be honest, as old as I am and as heavy as I am, that heart attack or that stroke that either takes me out of this world or takes me out of my ability to work is always looming, And so having enough money in the bank to where they can never deny me, my insurance company could never deny me the medical care that I need. We have the money, let me pay for it, do the thing. And that's why I maintain so much liquid cash, because so it's funny.
How old are you, Boogie?
I'm 40, man. I'm turning 41 pretty soon. And that's something.
Such a baby. You're a baby, Boogie.
How old are you, Woody? I never know.
I'm 42.
Which is 48. Yeah. Doesn't look a day older.
I'm actually 42. And with this lighting, 48.
I'm 48. Yeah. remember, diffuse, man. I've got a lamp behind my monitor hitting the wall here, and it looks so good. This helps a lot.
Diffuse. It's fine. I mean, Kyle's 37, so he's catching up.
Yeah, being old, it's surprising how old YouTubers actually are. Like, a lot of us still look really young. I think I look younger than I am, certainly, but I don't think I look young by any stretch of the imagination. But it's funny, some of the YouTubers I've met, it's really surprising when they actually tell me their age. I'll be like, well, I'm 40. And they'll be like, no, I'm 41. Bullshit, you're 40.
I think a lot of us look better on camera than we do in real life. I'm not going to say any names, but I've met a lot of YouTubers, and when I meet them in real life, I often find that the guys who I think of as slim and fit sometimes are just slim and fit when they stand like this.
That's the thing about YouTube, and I know, but not just YouTube. That's the thing about being on camera. Your angle, right? Like, Kyle, what's your most handsome angle? I even know it, but go on.
Right.
Yeah, right? That's the thing. That picture of Kyle that everyone shows? Let me see if I can find the picture of Kyle.
It's like looking down at him when he's at about like waist level.
And like, here it is. This is the image I was looking for.
I like being me because I don't have a good side. I'm always ugly. I'm real comfortable with that.
My best side is from behind. Try to stay back there.
It's here. Oh shucks, I got like
If I
the
had
gigantic
enough
version.
Technical expertise, I could probably find a good side.
This is a good Kyle picture.
Sure,
I'll share it with the world.
My vanity knows no bounds.
Right.
I'm going to go ahead and click.
Oh.
I hate that one.
Dude, that picture looks good. You don't hate it. It's been in your like promotional material.
No, it hasn't.
Are you sure?
I'm 100% sure.
I swear.
I've told
I fucking love this picture.
On
It's
this
like-
show, I had a
like your
conversation
high
about how much I hate that picture. That one in particular, that was taken by this scumbag Russian photographer at a machine gun shoot. It's not like
No.
what do they call them? Like
No,
when,
it wasn't. That was your
No.
high school.
No,
Your picture.
no,
at the end
I
of
did
high
not.
School.
I didn't have any
Guaranteed.
facial hair like that in high school. I don't think. Listen,
Oh, you
no.
mean like that? That grizzled beard
Oh, just-
you're
just-
rocking? You couldn't
Yeah,
have had that in
I-
high school.
Listen, I'm like 26 in that picture. It's 25, I think. But no, that I was at a machine gun shoot. I was sitting on a bench. I was tired of shooting because it was this thing where they had paid me to. I don't know that they paid me to come there, but it was one of those things where it was like all the ammo you want, just shoot and have fun. And they literally had a truck full of ammo, and I'd been shooting all day, and I was really tired, and I was just sitting there, and I'm sitting like this, and I look up, and
No,
there,
you look up. No. Look up differently. You look up coyly, like you know something everyone else doesn't know.
no, I'm looking up like, why the fuck do you have that enormous lens? Like I'm just like like fucking with his lens and adjusting the ISO or something over there. Like he's going to town. Like it's a
You don't
professional.
adjust the ISO in the lens. Anything else you could have gone with, but that's an in-body adjustment.
Haha! Woody called you on your shit.
Yeah, I'm just camera things. Just saying camera things. That's all.
That's definitely a thing. You can't tell how old people are just from their photos or their images through webcam. I'm actually 51. That's the shock.
But when you're on camera a lot, you start to know your angle. Me, for example, I have a big nose, right? So I should be straight into the camera. If I look straight into the camera and keep my chin up, that is my best look. And I feel like everyone kind of figures that out. It doesn't take long before you realize yeah, this is how I should be.
That's your best angle, Boogie.
I think Boogie's.
Yeah,
that's your best angle.
That is my favorite promotional pic we've ever filmed. Well, when I promised everybody that if I hit a certain subscriber milestone, I think it might have been a charity drive. I promised I'd post nudes if it happened, and so that's the nude I posted for everybody.
What is in your
with that sheet over you? You look so cherubic and angelic, just ready to save people. I like it.
I could totally
What's in your
titty fuck Boogie.
Oh, you could. I mean, I wouldn't let you.
I'd push him together.
Because I want you inside me. Honestly.
Yeah. All right, well, thank you.
It'd be an honor, Woody.
Like, I titty fuck. This was not a consensual titty fuck I was proposing. Hey, sir, was that if I wanted to, I could titty rape you.
A little Rohypnol and some wet platinum, and we'll go to town.
I met, speaking of YouTubers, this is going to totally embarrass her if she ever hears this, but chances of her watching the show is very much 0 to none. I met a lot of YouTubers and a lot of industry folks at when I went to Vegas this last year for the Video Game Awards or whatever, and it was super awesome. I met Reggie from Nintendo. I met I met Peter Moore, which is a hell of a good story, by the way. But it was really weird because some of them knew me. But I met iJustine. Do you guys know her?
Yeah.
I know
She
of her.
Was the nicest human being I have ever fucking met.
She's super cool.
I could not believe how incredible she was.
We talked about how some people look better on camera than they do in real life.
She looks better in real life.
She looks fantastic in real life.
I couldn't believe it. My wife is like, she is just so beautiful. It's hard to look at her.
She's tiny.
I'm old now, and that part of me is almost dead. Honestly, I have testosterone supplements to try to keep that part of me alive, But I'm like, oh yeah, she's kind of, pretty. I guess.
I danced with her at PAX East once. I danced with everyone that night. It was non-consensual dancing, really. Go on.
But she was. I've never in my life, because I'd heard stories about her or whatever, and one of the biggest stories you hear about is she's not a real gamer. She's not a real gamer, and I've even perpetuated that once a long time ago. I made that joke in a public place. I forget where it was, maybe my subreddit or something like that. I'm like, so she's like, I hate that comment. And I'm like, well, what are you playing right now? She's like, Smash. And I'm like, well, who's your main right now? And she's like, I really like Pac-Man. I don't know what to do with his down B though. His fire hydrant attack is real. And I'm like, oh shit. So you are a real gamer, right? He's like, Pac-Man's the best in Smash right now. He's super imba. He's super good if you know how to play him. His down B is really weird. And I'm like, oh, okay, well, so you are a real gamer. And then we talked about League. We talked about all the other games she played. It was just amazing. It was weird. But that's what reminded me of her, was she was actually prettier in real life than she is on the internet.
She is.
Really weird.
Jenna Marbles
Kyle
is
is
prettier in real
also
life, too.
prettier. in real life.
Kyle is prettier in real life than on the internet too. Merker, I don't
Exactly.
know if you're joking, but I saw Kyle at the paintball
I wasn't
event.
joking.
Kyle is at his peak hotness right now.
I'm peeking.
You really are. You are adorable. Like you really are.
Kyle's a hot fellow.
We
You
should
should see
be
me in a
clear.
jockstrap.
We should be
Oh,
clear.
you
I rate
guys
about a
should.
1 on the
And I
Kinsey scale.
enjoy it.
I rate about a 1 on the Kinsey scale, just enough to be able to be slightly aware of how hot a dude is. And Kyle, you could get me up to a 2, buddy.
Well,
I'm
thank
telling
you.
I'm not gay, but for Kyle,
For Kyle, right?
That means a
Yeah,
lot
I
to me.
don't-
Thank you very much. I've noticed, you know, over the last maybe 6 months, like a lot of dudes just been letting me know that I'm looking good. They're like, "Oh, Kyle, you've been working out. You look great." Not one girl. It's like, "Oh, you are looking great." It's like 15 dudes who are just like, "Kyle's looking nice. I'd like to look like Kyle."
When I was in my 20s, actually, it was really kind of weird because I've never had that much trouble with girls, and I don't think it's any of this alpha beta shit. I've just always been confident in who I am. But every girl I've ever dated approached me. I've never approached a woman. Wouldn't even know where to begin. If I talk to a woman, it's never like game or anything like that. I just talk to a woman. And I treat her the way I would treat anybody else in this room or any other human being I'd ever treat. I talk.
Yeah.
I'd ask them what their interests were. I find a common interest. I talk to them about it. If it leads somewhere, that's great. If it doesn't, who gives a shit? But now that I'm married, I mean, all that's behind me. Obviously,
Well,
I don't
it's
really
not about
talk to them,
game
but-
and that shit. It's making them laugh.
right.
It's about
But-
making them laugh. That's a huge thing.
But I've only been in about
you
7
have to
relationships.
so that they
and-
don't notice when you drop the Rohypnol in. They start laughing.
Exactly.
And you're just like,
What?
yeah.
They'll notice the subtle movements of your hand over their drink, and then they won't drink it, and the whole night's lost. Because then you have to leave that bar.
And then you're down $50 worth of Rohypnol again.
Exactly. And then it's just a waste, and you bring that drink to another bar and set it in front of someone else. It's
You need better
not that
connections.
complicated.
I get my roofies way cheaper.
Really?
50 months is a month's supply for me.
I need
Anyway,
to-
Look at this guy.
I don't have
But,
a drug guy at all.
but in-
Of course not. You
in
old
my middle
fuck.
20s, I had a period of time. In my middle 20s, I had a period of time where I was way more attractive to dudes than I was girls. And so, like, I was not meeting any girls. I wasn't talking to any girls. But I would, like, be at a gas station playing, like, their fucking arcade game or whatever. And, like, a guy would come up to me and put his hands on me and be like, "Oh, I don't really like the way you play that game." And I'm like, What is happening? Why am I like
That happened.
That's reality. That exact story happened. That's the easy part on Garland in Fayetteville, Arkansas. They had the Marvel versus Capcom machine. I'm playing that thing. I think it was Marvel versus. It was one of the Marvel fights.
One moment. Did he happen to have like a cup full of quarters?
No.
No,
Oh.
you said he put your hand. Did he put his hands on
He
both
put
shoulders?
one hand on my back.
Uh-huh.
He stood to my right because I'm on the left-hand stick. He puts his hand on my back and then puts his right hand on my arm and says, "I really like the way you're playing that game." And I'm like, "Oh," and he goes,
Like-
"You've got really nice hands." And I'm like, "Well, thanks, dude." And I'm like, I just left because I didn't know what to do with that because I wasn't interested. But I don't want to insult the guy because I'm glad that he's interested. I'm glad that he's found something he likes, but I don't reciprocate it, so I just want to
Wait,
go.
so
Let me ask you
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 this.
were
'cause
in an
I-
arcade. You were in an arcade.
No, this
and
is
then
in the
he
back
did
of a
that.
gas station.
Do
so-
you have awesome calves? I need to know because you might.
awesome calves?
Yeah.
But he does
No.
have awesome
I have like
calves. Let's didn't have
lymphedema down
much
there. It's
weight.
like really scary.
Oh,
that
I thought
sucks.
that was a chance too. Because there's this thing about me and my calves, this legend, whatever. And Wings of Redemption was like, I'd like to see these calves. And his weren't that defined, but holy fuck. Like, we both held an Xbox controller next to them for scale. Wings of Redemption's calves are powerful. They are huge, and they dwarf an Xbox controller. He's a legit competitor.
I have big thighs, and there is a little bit of fat on them, obviously. But I have real powerful thighs, and I would imagine my calves are probably real powerful. Just who would know because of all that lymphedema down there? I mean, it's like a
Will
fucking
that go
nightmare.
away if you cut the weight?
Nope. That's I
is,
stage one or
lymphedema?
stage. Okay, lymphedema. All right, if you're a big guy and you have swelling in your legs, it could be for one of two reasons. Number one is congestive heart failure, and if you're suffering from congestive heart failure, go to the doctor immediately before you fucking die. Okay, if you have swelling in your legs, go to a doctor immediately. Okay. Second reason is because of lymphedema or some sort of venous stasis disease, and basically you have an insufficiency in your either lymph system or blood system
Now, you
that keeps
say if
everything
you're
from
swelling
getting
in
up
your
where it
legs,
needs
go
to
to the doctor. What if your
Yes.
legs are just swole?
Shut up, Woody.
Woody, goddamn it, you're ruining his story. Jesus, Woody.
Woody,
Continue, Jess.
Woody, is that
Continue,
room?
Steve.
I have a question. Is that room you're in just incredibly enormous, or is that a tiny door at the end of
It's
it?
a tiny door. It's a tiny door.
Okay, just checking, making sure that wall wasn't 150 feet away. All right, good to know.
Dude, when I got water, remember before the show I had to go get water? I'm sorry I'm ruining your story, Boogie.
No.
The water was in the guest house. So I actually hopped in the golf cart, drove over to the guest house, got some water, and came back.
Why is the door so tiny?
It's to an attic.
You ever seen the movie The Borrowers? It looks like a couple of borrowers are going to cruise.
I wish I
crawl
could
through
show
there.
you better.
Yeah,
You wanna
nobody-
see?
Nobody seen The Borrowers? That's a terrible movie.
Oh, does it have like little animals and stuff?
That's a real good place to keep the corpses, just to be honest with you.
It is.
Yeah,
You
because
don't
it's
be
dry
hot
up there.
up there.
You know,
Look at that.
you mummify them, they're not going to rot.
But at the same time, you can't go into a room in someone's home and see something like that and think they aren't a maniac. Because
Yeah.
no one who's not a maniac has use for that.
So what you do is
When we made that-
you put a sign on that door that says "No corpses allowed."
Ah,
Right,
yeah.
then the people won't
You
check.
diffuse the suspicions.
exactly.
Yes.
What did you? Wait, what, no, what allowed? I missed it.
Oh, we were talking about how someone who has that door in their home looks like a homicidal maniac. But that you're definitely not.
That's the one we made that like packing for paintball video in. It's a big
Oh.
attic. It's like, well, no,
Oh, that's so cool.
it's not big.
Wait,
big for an
where
attic.
are you in your home right now? You're not in the basement anymore.
No, this is I guess it's a bedroom, but I'm using
We
it
was
as
never
an
in the
office. It's above the kitchen, on the northern part of the house.
Wow. You mean to say you're using 8% of your bedrooms as a broadcasting center? That's pretty impressive. It's good for you.
That's
Good to have one.
That's going to get you in a lot of trouble when you file for that home office tax exemption. Because now we know exactly how much space.
Yeah, and how many bodies?
But to answer your question, lymphedema is an insufficiency in either the blood or the lymph system that causes swelling. And after a period of time, that swelling will turn into a sponge-like material. And that sponge-like, because the body's got to find a way to store that extra fluid some way. And that sponge-like material will never go away aside from surgery.
Wait,
And
so
so-
it becomes a sponge like. So the fluid accumulates around the ankles or whatever, and
Right.
then eventually the flesh around there just becomes like spongiform and it just absorbs that back in?
Right. I can compress it and get the liquid out of there, which I do several days a week. And there's also, I mean, it's excruciating to compress them, like actual hell. Like it's literally just white hot fire nightmare hell.
Do you have to do it with both ankles or just one ankle?
Yeah, I have to wear these compression socks on them, and I have to. Then on top of that, I'm also adding ace bandages on the outside now, and I try to tighten it up even more. And I get that fluid out of there. And if I don't do that, it'll continue to grow and get bigger and bigger and bigger. And so it's like,
Christ.
and it makes walking
Oh my
unbearably uncomfortable. Like everybody's like, well, Boogie, all
Oh
you
my
gotta
God,
do is
Boogie.
walk like several miles a day. Well, walking is just unbearably painful. Like I just can't describe the amount of pain because of that lymphedema.
So
And I
this
can't
is
wear
a
like normal
constant
shoes and shit.
upkeep thing.
Yeah,
Like
you
you
know-
have to constantly upkeep this.
Right. Yeah. This is.
Oh my
this
God.
is being healthy for you guys involves stuff like getting your exercise and eating right. Being healthy for me is like taking a cocktail of pills every day and maintaining my lymphedema and all that stuff. And I'm working on that every day. That's why it's a little more difficult to find in time to do some of the stuff that you guys do. But I'm also trying to find time to do that. And I need to because it's my life. I'm not making excuses. That's the primary purpose is to stay alive. Obviously, that's what we all do.
Well.
And so I'm trying to find the time every day to do that.
If
luck
you
with
lose
that.
enough weight, will this go away? Like
The
is there
lymphedema
any
will
way?
never go away. The symptoms will improve. Because obviously my heart will be able to keep up a little better. My lymph system will be able to keep up a little better. I take a diuretic, of course, too, to keep the water flowing, to keep it from getting on there. So I'm constantly dehydrated, which makes it easier to get out of breath. It triggers my asthma more often. It's a shitty situation, And that's what. I mean, I was always big. I was like 350 when I got lymphedema. I hit 550 because of the lymphedema. I was depressed. I didn't want to move. I couldn't walk. Hurt to stand. Hurt to lay down. Hurt to move. Food tasted good though, still. So I ate food because it made me happy. But nothing else
taste
did. Yeah. I will do something for PKA that I've never done on any YouTube channel if you want to see it.
I would love
I
to.
will show you these legs.
We do. Shut up, Kyle.
All right.
I will.
Let's see if I can
on?
get these. Let's see if I can get these on camera. This is what my leg looks like and this is the healthy one.
Flex your calf.
Oh, that looks.
Nice.
It
Watch
looks
this
like
now.
it
Let's see if I
hurts
can.
down
Let's see if I
towards
can do it. Let's see if I can get it to do it here. Now I'm pressing into the spongy material. Okay. And I'm gonna let. Oh God, this hurts. But then I'm gonna let go.
Don't do it if it hurts.
Look at this. Can you see the impression? Yeah, my leg is a
depressed.
fucking horror show.
My goodness.
Okay? And then this is the
Oh, no.
unhealthy one. This is
Now,
the unhealthy.
before you do you have anything else you can press into it, like a toy or like a face
Legos.
imprint? Legos.
Oh yeah, hold on. Let's see. I've got Illidan here. Let's
Maybe
see. I've got an Illidan pop vinyl laying nearby.
Oh, perfect.
This will be a particularly
Your
excruciating.
home looks beautiful, by the way.
Oh,
Thank you. It's
don't-
really nice, man. Thank you very much.
Don't do that if you feel like it's gonna pop.
Oh, the horns hurt so bad.
Yeah.
I was not prepared
You know-
for this.
No pain, no gain, baby. Bring the burn.
Here we go.
I don't like any of.
Nice.
Oh,
Ah!
how long does it stay like that?
That's its new look.
Forever. That's it.
And so that's the
Oh
point.
my
of pressing
God,
it every
dude.
day is to get that liquid.
I like the ceilings. That's pretty nice.
Yeah, right? I like the ceilings
It's a very
too.
nice home.
That's
That's
nice
a very
print
nice
work. Jamal
ceiling
can learn a
fan.
thing too.
Yeah, Jamal was not there.
Print work is hard.
When we moved into this place, it was move-in ready. Actually, it's a fairly newer home, and it only had one owner, and that owner took immaculate care of it. And we looked at several places, like brand new built, for the same price. And ultimately, what we liked about this one is we loved all the detailing, we loved everything. We had no wants or need to change it, and we really wanted to get out of the place we were living because our landlord was not a very good person. She was not a very kind landlord at all. Like. We 6 months ago, we reported a leak in the bathroom that was like leaking directly into the drywall. And she's like, all right, well, if you want to call a plumber to get it fixed, that's fine. But otherwise, I don't give a shit. And I'm like, whoa, we're moving.
That's what you
man."
want.
Right. And like the washing machine broke. And my friend who knows machines came over and he looked at it and he goes, yeah, it's just a $5 piece, but I'm not an electrician, so I really shouldn't replace it on her machine. And I called her and I'm like, it's a $5 piece. We know what the problem is. All you got to do is send a guy in to put it in. It'll probably run you 30, 40 bucks. And she's like, nope, you want a new washing machine? Buy one or you can go to laundromat. I'm like, okay, so I bought one. And of course, we took it with us.
Right.
I'm not going to buy her one. Anyway, when we moved out, we went back to get some stuff on our last day there, and the maintenance guy's there, and he's like, man, you really should have done something about this leak leaking into the drywall in the bathroom. And I'm like, hey, my place. I don't give a shit. Like, let it ruin the drywall. Let it ruin the neighboring duplex. Let it rot to the ground. I'm not going to spend my money to maintain your shit. That's ludicrous. You know?
It looks like you moved up though, man. Like there's some
it's
nice
a-
crown
yeah.
molding.
Yeah,
It
it's
looks
beautiful.
like some.
Show us the
molding
ceiling.
from
We want to
paint.
see the ceiling.
Yeah, the
It's
ceiling's
awesome.
so nice.
It's a
Look at
very
this.
pretty ceiling.
It's a
Nice.
little high, so I'm going to have to really work on sound diffusion quite a bit to make get rid of the echo in here. But other than that, man, I mean, like, I love this place. I'm so happy we bought this. I want to do a house tour, but I'm afraid that's going to help people figure out which town we moved to and all that stuff. And I don't want my address leaked again because that sucks super bad. But then again, who knows? You know,
they'll
I'll
find
probably
it.
do the tour.
They'll find
But
it.
I'll tell you this, man. We got a bathtub, a jacuzzi tub, and it's the first time I've had a bath in like years because I've been stuck with showers for a while, and now I'm finally like getting in and out of the tub. I'm so happy. It helps my back so much. It helps my legs so much. It's so relaxing. I'll get in there for like 2 hours and watch Netflix or maybe Crunchyroll after I sign up at crunchyroll.com/PKA later tonight, of course.
Look at this guy.
You're the greatest.
I know the deal, baby.
Look at
I know the deal. No, but I just having that tub alone was so worth it. Like that was worth every penny we spent. I'm so happy here. My wife loves it too, and happy wife, happy life, right? I mean, that's
Dude,
the.
that's a big deal. And if you figure that out, you're better for it.
But we saw pictures of this house. I'll tell you a story. This is as romantic as I get. Okay, when I saw my wife on MySpace, which is where we initially contacted each other back in 5 years ago now, 2010, I guess. I saw a picture of her, and I just knew. I saw that picture, and I'm like, I hadn't dated in about 2 years. I didn't care to date. The last girl I dated just ruined me. I was miserable. My mom had just passed. I wasn't even thinking about that. And I had determined I would never attempt to date again. Never going to get my heart broke again. Never going to put myself out there again. Besides, look at me. Who would want to date me, right? Like, I'm a pile of whatever, you know. And so I saw that picture of my wife, and I immediately knew. I went, that's the girl. If I could be with a girl like this, if I could be with this girl, my world would be completely different. This is everything I ever wanted was this woman. And I did everything I could to convince her that I was worth having, and it was a lot of work. At first, we both agreed that it would never happen, and that's fine. We were friends, but it eventually just became that way. Well,
Wait. Pause right there. I want to know how you both realized this will never happen.
Okay. She was engaged to a man she didn't love and was afraid to break it off. She tried to break it off and had failed. So she was never going to marry him, but she couldn't. She even tried moving away, and he insisted on moving with her. It was real screwed up. And because of that situation, neither of us wanted to make a move. Nobody wanted to hurt this guy, you know? And so I'm like, look, if you ever clear up your business, give me a call and we'll talk, okay? But we still talked as friends for a while. And eventually one day she just calls me up and she's just like, hey, look, I had a big fight and I think he's finally realized how it is, and I think we're going to make some changes. And I'm like, well, you call me in a couple of weeks when that happens. And she does. And then I'm like, well, why don't we wait a couple of months, and then maybe you can come see me and we'll see what happens. And she's like, all right. Well, then she bought a plane ticket that night, but for 2 months away, and then she came to visit. And I mean, it was just meant to be, man. I mean, it really was. We fought it that whole time. I thought it was
a long con. Holy smokes!
Yeah.
How long did it take for you to date her before, or since you met her?
About 7 months, give or take.
Okay.
Oh, you dirty dog!
Yeah, but I mean, I knew that I wanted to be with her, but we just knew it was not fair to the person she was with. It was not fair to her, so I just shut it down, and she shut it down every step of the way. Just every time we talk about it, we're like, nope, not a chance, not a chance, not a chance. But it just had to happen, you know?
I just think it's honorable that you gave a fuck about how other people in her life felt about it. That's never even crossed my mind as a thing to think about.
Well, he did not think of it that way, and I would imagine if I asked him today, he still would not see it that way. Because, I mean, he got really hurt in the end, and it did not matter how much we tried. But it wasn't for necessarily even for him that I was doing it. It was for me. I needed to be the good guy. I had been cheated on. Yeah. She had been cheated on. Neither of us wanted to do that to anybody else. We did it for us. I mean, at the end of the day, there is no such thing as a truly altruistic act. Well, anyway, we looked at, I would say, 24 houses, and each one had its pros and cons. Each one had, we got to work on this. We'll have to fix this. We'll have to rebuild that. We'll have to do this. This isn't right. I don't like this yard. I don't like this, whatever. Across 3 different towns. And then one night, I get an email from Trulia, or one of those. Right. And I look at that house, and I felt the exact same way about this house as I felt about the time I saw her. I said, that's the house I'm moving into. I brought my wife here 2 days later after it went on the market, and we walked into it, and she's like, oh my God, this is perfection. It's everything we wanted. It's perfect the way it is. And now we're in it. So that's 2 things I knew I wanted to get into.
That's awesome, man. I'm really happy for you. You got a new awesome place. Yeah. Now just do some more magic videos, please.
I will, man. I will.
Do strategy videos, too. I want to hear some strategy, not just
I'll tell you, I keep thinking Twitch has been my outlet for gaming for a while.
Can I say something?
Yeah, go ahead.
Hutch sometimes does chess videos, and I don't play chess, but I find them fascinating.
That's what people say about my unboxings all the time. They're like, they love how excited I get about pulling certain cards, or how disappointed I am about other cards. It's like, I don't know why that card's good or bad, but I just like to watch Boogie eat magic cards and get angry about them. And
yeah, it's funny and it's good. And Woody, to your point, Hutch is into magic too. 4 or 5 years ago, he and I thought Kyle was in on it. I guess not, but a few people used to play Magic.
Onslaught.
I guess 2011 or 2012. Maybe it was 3 or 4 years ago. But he would play too, and he was really into that strategy game. It's a fun game. You guys will like it. If you're listening to this, try it out. You'll like it. But you'll spend a lot of money.
I will also tell you, if you played it in high school or you played it as a teenager or whatever, the game has changed a considerable amount for the better. And right now, I would tell you that we're in a Magic the Gathering renaissance, that because I've seen some of the new product info coming up, it's going to extend well into the next 7 years. I'm telling you, now is one of the best times to have ever played Magic. Whether you're looking at modern masters refilling, whether it's the modern format existing, whether it's not the availability of legacy cards are at an all-time peak expense, but at the same time, nobody's playing Legacy because people are moving on to Modern, people are moving on to Standard, people are playing Tiny Masters and EDH, and there's casual decks, and there's Kitchen Table, and there's all kinds of different ways to play, and you could build your own cube, and you could do that, and the new sets are incredible, and the Standard that we're playing right now is being regaled by the pros who play this game as the best Standard in existence that since Standard existed. Like, this is the best time to have ever played Magic. When it comes to affordability, when it comes to accessibility, when it comes to variety of decks, my God, I love
Indeed.
It is. You guys got to try it. You'll like it. Kyle will like it more than anyone, I anticipate. I anticipate he'll get very competitive with it.
The bondage toys that Kyle brought over.
Toys. You see right where Woody's mind goes every time. So
that's what I was hoping
it
was.
Bitch, you're so fucking sexy. Carry on. Never mind.
So
get that shirt off and wrap that rope around you.
Yes, would you?
That's what we need.
Yeah.
One of our Patreon members who signed up to he comes and does the monthly hangout with us. I think it's like $50 to do that. He comes and hangs with us. But I gave him my PO box number the other day during the last hangout, and he said he was going to send me some junk. I don't know. He said something about a weapon. But I opened it recently and I found this among other things. So he called this a monkey.
Is a monkey. Oh, I was going to call it a monkey ball, but I think you're right. Yeah.
At the bottom is a 1-inch ball bearing, so it's very heavy, and it's all been wrapped in what's this cord called?
Paracord.
Ass cord.
So.
Wait, ass cord?
Oh, I thought that was like an anal bead he had on the end.
You've got a big old butt.
Oh, yeah, that's uncomfortable.
And just for me, he included he put a rape whistle on this end. So if I get in trouble,
don't ever do that again.
He also sent these nice. That's an old man whistle I've ever heard one. He also sent all these paracord bracelets, which I appreciate. I wish I had his letter he wrote me so I could plug his company. I'll do that some other time. But yeah, he sent me all these paracord bracelets. I already gave somebody else one of them.
Next survival trip.
Yeah, next survival trip, right? So if you guys would like to send me some weird stuff to my P.O. box, I promise, the only thing I promise is that I'll show it on the show.
Don't tempt me.
Yeah, so my P.O. box is... Let me, I think it might be easy just to show you here. Yeah, no, that's ridiculous. So P.O. Box 102 in Carnesville, Georgia. That's Carnesville, Carnesville. The zip code is 30521. So yeah, send me some fun stuff. The ladies at the post office know who I am, so if you freak them out, it'd be even funnier.
If you want to send something fun to Boogie, Boogie, what's your address?
Hey, what is my P.O. box?
Oh, you have a P.O. box?
Yeah, of course I have a P.O. box.
Fuck everything up for you.
You're trying.
Hold on. I want everyone who can find one to send a dead squirrel or chipmunk to Kyle. Please, just please. If just one gets there, if you can just package one dead squirrel to Kyle.
Someone sent a 12-inch massive dildo to our P.O. box. They're
12
like a
inches
comedy.
Massive to you?
Yeah. Well, this thing was like, it was this big around. I don't see how that could be inserted into any.
Sounds like a starter kit.
Wow. That's the weirdest thing we ever got. I can't. Someone also sent a box of human shit or animal shit to our P.O. box once.
It was animal shit.
Yeah, it was probably animal shit. I don't know for sure.
I guarantee it.
I looked like animal shit. It had grass in it. Otherwise, I don't know what the fuck they were eating. I didn't open it. I just got enough to realize it was shit, and I'm like, all right, we'll throw that away.
You didn't poke around to see?
There might have been like Heisenberg blue meth in the bottom of it. I don't know what they're trying to send, but
you ever get a cat's head in a box? Just dismembered.
Every other day.
Well, I sent one to Obama.
That's a mistake.
Are you an Obama hater?
Saying that or sending it?
You're
no,
from
I
Arkansas.
like Obama.
I think you have to.
No, I love
Everyone's
Obama.
an Obama hater.
We're still in Northwest Arkansas. It's very liberal here. It's not shitty at all. It's real great.
Yeah, Northwest Arkansas, the beacon of liberalism. South.
No,
it's a homosexual last year.
I'm pretty sure we did. Yeah, not in Northwest Arkansas though. I mean, Northwest Arkansas is very progressive. You got a couple of gay bars right on down Dixon Street in Fayetteville. We got Eureka Springs, to the east of me here. Do what?
The gay bar with the arcade machine in the back.
That was an easy mark. Which
nice,
is
yeah, Kyle. Well done.
Nice. Well done.
Kentucky does get a bad rap for most of that stuff.
Kentucky earned their bad
people
rap.
just assume Kentucky is Hicksville the whole way through.
Joke every time someone brings up Kentucky about how we were driving through Kentucky and all the power poles were leaning in toward the road from the tension of the wire. And my cousin was like, Jesus Christ, look at those power poles. And I was like, don't be too hard on them, Scott. They only got electricity a couple years ago. You can't. So, down up there. I had some AMA questions. Would you guys like to go through those?
We could do that. I'll be right back. I'm gonna get water.
Okay, perfect.
Maybe a lamp. We'll see.
Ooh.
My grandfather, apparently, on my dad's side, lived in Hazard, Kentucky.
Oh, that's cool. I've been there.
That's why my whole family was from that part of the country. And, when he was very young, they put the very first stoplight into Hazard, Kentucky. And he ran it because he didn't believe in stoplights, didn't like them. So he ran it, and he got a ticket. So after getting the ticket, he went back town and shot it several times with a shotgun. The city replaced it without ever ticketing him or punishing him or anything. Shot the light out, 3 times with the shotgun. I don't know when this would have been 1950 something.
All right.
So then they put it back in 2 weeks later. They put a new one in, and he went downtown and shot it 3 times. And then left, and they never put it back. And to this day, as far as I know, I mean, they probably have, but as far as I know, as the legend has it, to this day, they've never put a street light.
I stopped there.
Red light in Hazard.
I stopped there and ate some barbecue one time about 2 years ago. I can't speak as to the presence of any stoplights, but that's a good story. That's pretty funny.
That's the only thing I know about Kentucky. Except that's where you guys ever watch the show Justified?
Yeah.
Oh my God! The season finale for that was the series
I don't watch
finale.
that much.
Oh my God! Watch that entire run. But the last season was orgasmic. If you like that Southern culture, that Kentucky hillbilly shit, like I grew up in, which of course I obviously love because it feels like home. I've never seen a more authentic show. The houses they go to, the cities they show, the downtown areas, the way people talk, the way people act, the way the drug addicts look, the way the poverty-stricken people look. Like that show may as well just been a fucking documentary, as far as I can tell. It was incredible. I've never seen anything like it.
You don't really have an accent coming from Kentucky.
Well, no, I'm actually from Virginia. I grew up. My parents moved out of there to Virginia, and they thought they'd made it because they moved to the western part of Virginia, not West Virginia, but the southwestern part near Wise County, St. Paul, Virginia. That's where I grew up.
I've been to West Virginia, like up in the hills.
Oh,
West Virginia
scary.
is lunatic town.
Dude, all right. So I wanted to shoot this 20mm rifle, and I was the guy who builds them, the only guy who builds them in the world. His factory just had been burned down through this act of arson. It was kind of a ridiculous thing, and so he didn't even have one. And he's like, well, I could send you to one of my customers who has one. So this guy lived in fucking West Virginia up on a mountain, real crazy Bob Lee Swagger type guy. So we were in West Virginia, and we stopped at this little roadside steakhouse place, and then we went to the Walmart that was next door to it. We must have seen 60, 70 women in this town. Not one of them was better than a 3. They were all, every woman in this community, and the men too. Like my friends kept going on about the women, and I was just like, guys, look at the dudes here. I was like, look at the other guys here. They're all snaggle-toothed and like disproportionately shaped faces.
Where was this?
West Virginia.
Yeah.
This is. I mean, you act like it's a bad thing, but it seems like I could be a 10 there.
You would be a 10 there. You absolutely would be. But you're swimming in a sea of 3s. Like our waitress seemed to be the most attractive woman in that town, and she I don't know. As soon as she came over, she started talking about her kids, and she couldn't have been more than 19.
See, and that's one thing, because Kyle does an excellent job of establishing attractiveness based on the area you're in. Because if you're in Boston or a major city, and
you know what you call a hot chick in Boston?
A
tourist.
A tourist. Oh, you silly kid. But anyway, you in Boston, you were not going for anyone less than a 7.5. You weren't going for anyone less than that. When we were in Joliet the first time, and we were at Buffalo Wild Wings, and you saw that one waitress that was like a 6.7 at best. You globbed onto her and realized it and tried to figure it out, get her to come back to the hotel and everything, because you knew that was the best you can get in Joliet.
Yeah.
Kyle does have some sort of weird intrinsic ability for this, to establish the mean in a given city and then work off of that.
I will be honest with you. A Southwest Virginia 10 is a California 2, easily. I mean, they're not. The girls I grew up with, God love you. If you're watching this, I'm so sorry. And like, consider the source. I look like a bag of trash, okay? But, I mean, the girls there were not pretty. And it's so sad that, like, in high school, I was kind of like, well, that's the hot girl. I think I'll just stay a virgin until I went to like Upward Bound and then had the best to choose from, and then finally met a girl in Upward Bound that I was actually attracted to. And,
I'm remembering that night at Buffalo Wild Wings. Do you remember who was cock blocking me?
I do.
Was it Only Use Me Blade there?
Nope.
No.
Oh, it was White Boy.
Nope.
White Boy was-
Nope.
Who was it?
Aviator is cock blocking him.
Oh.
Like, Aviator's married, and he's just like flirting with this girl for like have fun, I guess, just messing around. And I'm just like,
I think
stop
he was
talking to the waitress, Aviator.
I think he wanted to be cool. Like, if you look back at all his actions, a lot of it was sort of based around impressing us and trying to be cool.
I really wanted to fuck that waitress.
You did, and it didn't work out, but you did invite her awkwardly back to our apartment. You didn't invite her awkwardly, but it was awkward because we hadn't gotten our food yet, and then I talked to you about being like, Kyle, if she takes that the wrong way, my fucking mango habanero boneless wings aren't going to come out the right way. So let's hold off your horniness till we get our food.
I just didn't think she would poison us all, right? It was a big group order, and I knew I had to work fast.
And then, like 3 seconds after that, you ate one of the spicy wings and then were completely incapacitated. Couldn't even talk to her the rest of the night.
Yeah, I didn't want to fuck anybody. I didn't want to eat any more chicken. There were like 12 or 15 of us around this table.
I still remember that.
And so instead of everyone being like, yeah, I'll get like 8 wings and an order of fries, we just kind of ordered for the table. So we ordered maybe 10 baskets of hot wings, like 8 or 10 in each basket, and a variety of flavors. And I was so hungry. I hadn't eaten all day, and I think we were playing paintball that day maybe. And the basket came to me, and it was the first one, and I just took my fork and stabbed a boneless hot wing, ate it, and then stabbed another one and started eating that. And it was only at the point I was like halfway done with the second one that I realized I'd grabbed like, I don't know, like the third hottest wing.
Mango habanero. You grabbed it because I gave it to you because you said you wanted to try it. No one just handed it to you. I said, do you want to try mango habanero? And you said yes.
That's not how I remember.
So I wasn't tricking you.
Are you calling him a liar too tonight? Huh? Sim?
I swear to God, you're not a liar. I wouldn't say that. However, your account of what happened during that game, I'm afraid, is going to differ quite a bit from my personal account and Chiz's account due to your own frustrations alone. I could tell that you were really unhappy while we were playing that game.
Let's get Chiz on this call.
Continue with your B-dub story.
Can you? If I rate Chiz, I'll lose all the screen grabs.
They were the hot. I don't do well with like top tier spicy stuff, like jalapenos and stuff like that. Yeah, dice them up and put them on my burger. Like that's cool. Like I don't know. I like the fire sauce at Taco Bell, but nothing extreme. Like in the real world hot stuff, like ghost pepper.
You're not eating a ghost pepper anytime soon?
Nah, fuck all that. No, that's silly. Like it hurts. It feels like it's dissolving the skin.
Yeah, when it gets too hot, it's not tasty anymore. It's not fun. It's just badness.
I can't even taste it. Like some super hot wings, like I can't even taste it. It's just like I feel like you just put some chemical in my mouth that's hurting me now.
My tastes have actually changed dramatically in the past couple of years. They changed really big at 30 and then again at 40, which is, I guess, I'm reading that that's a common thing. But I can finally stomach hot sauces now. And I can't taste peanut butter, which used to be my favorite flavor. But like I'll taste like the best peanut butter, and it still just tastes like the worst peanut butter I ever had.
Prefer sweets or salty things?
I like everything. Sweet, salty, fatty. I don't give a shit. Look at me, man. I'm fucking shoveling. But I was not able to handle spicy the longest time. And the other day, my roommate
look discerning to you, Kyle.
I I actually
Spicy
real-
is the only flavor that's worth a shit. Spicy is awesome. If you
Well,
don't like spicy, you're a piece
I'm
of shit.
on that road
Forget it,
finally.
spicy.
I found these like sriracha wings at Sam's
If
Club
you
or
don't like
whatever.
spicy, you're a piece
And-
of shit.
And on keto, I will eat a good amount of wings each week, you know? And my God, they're so good. But I remember trying sriracha like 10 years ago and going, oh my God, this is like hell to me. This is the worst. Now I could just squirt siracha into my mouth and just like,
I don't know
yo.
about that. That might be. You want to check that out. You want to be talking about that, doc, if you're just squirting sriracha in your mouth. I'll put like a teaspoon of it, maybe like in a big bowl of chili, and that's plenty. Like that stuff's pretty potent.
Well, it's good stuff. I mean, I'm really starting to get into the spice, man, finally. I'm turning
I
into
got
a
to,
real man.
Spicy food is the shit. It makes everything better. Don't you guys like that feeling where like your whole mouth is kind of burning a little bit and it's kind of painful, but it's also enjoyable? You don't like that?
I like
my
the
eyes will be
wasabi
watering.
burn.
I'll be,
Your
like,
eyes are
out of my
watering, your
mouth.
sinus is cleared.
What about
I
what about
I do
wasabi?
like that.
Are you guys into that at all?
I love
Wasabi?
wasabi. I slather that shit on my sushi.
Yeah,
on
me
my
too.
sashimi. I only get the raw fish, not that bullshit sticky rice they try and pawn off as edible. Get that
We
out
have,
of my
uh,
face.
we
What
have,
about nigiri? Well, you know, with the nigiri, they put the raw fish like on top of a little bed of rice. That's pretty cool.
Mm-hmm.
I like
Well,
that.
I don't like
DDP had us moving over to like a lot of organic stuff, and we still do that to this day. So we do shop a bit at Walmart to get the various things, but for the most part, a lot of our meals come from Fresh Market, I think is what it's called. It's one of the Whole Foods deviations or whatever. But they do sushi there, and they have some spicier blends, and my God, it's like whatever that hot pink sauce is they put on it, and the hot red, and then the wasabi on top of it. It's like an orgasm, and I can't have it because I'm doing low carb now. But I was having it like twice a week. It's like one of the
it.
healthiest
Just
foods
do
you
it
could
without
have.
the rice.
Right.
Just do it
But
without
then
the rice. Get
but
rid
then
of the
that's
rice,
like
just the
nothing.
meat. It's
But then I
way
can't
better.
get it
Seaweed.
pre-made. Yeah. But man, I gotta say, once we started eating organic, and once we started like, I know that's all bullshit, like the science behind it, and they tell me it's all bullshit. But once I started cutting out wheat and dairy, for the most part, and then I started focusing on eating organic meats, man, my body changed for the better in ways I can't express. Like DDP was absolutely right about that. I hate to admit it, but it's made a huge difference in feeling physical. And I'll tell you, Woody, another thing that I think you'll find amusing. When we moved to this house, going to the toilet in this house was a further walk than I was making most days.
Really?
When I was like when I first moved into that other place and before I started doing DDP. And now, I mean, obviously I'm a pre-diabetic. I'm actually in the diabetic range now. So I have to go to the bathroom like 8-10 times a day.
Have you tasted your pee?
No, I hear it's supposed to be delicious though. Do you want to taste it, Kyle?
You should taste it right now and let us know if it's sweet.
All right,
Yeah.
hold on. I got a jar around here somewhere. Fuck
No,
that.
don't
Are you kidding? Not a chance. No. But now I'm walking. I'm actually getting some walking, and it still hurts like hell. But I mean, pain. You get used to pain. You guys know that. If anybody knows that, you get used to hurting.
I don't. Like if anything on me is hurting, like I'm such a bitch about it. Like I demand some sort of medical attention right then and there. Like like the smallest of cut.
Are you kidding?
And
He
no.
is-
Kyle
yeah,
is
it's-
not one to just put a Band-Aid on a severe cut. If he goes to like a weekend knitting convention, he's going to come out with 5 Band-Aids on all of his fingers.
When
He throws a Band-Aid on there immediately.
When I was
What
30,
can I
I
say?
got an infection in my left leg, the lymphedema, and cellulitis. And I get one every about 5 years. I'm due for a big one now, but it killed all of the skin on the left leg. And so I didn't know that was what happened because I was asleep for 3 days.
Oh, your skin died?
And all my skin died while I was asleep for 3 days.
That's the
So
kind
I-
of shit that just doesn't happen to me, man. Holy shit. That's
No, this
awful.
is
Sleeping for 3
lymphedema
days doesn't
sucks.
happen.
Yeah,
Well,
well,
I
I
might
didn't.
speak
I
for-
didn't choose for it to happen. I just went unconscious and then almost died. And fortunately, my friends drugged me into the emergency room and they started pumping me full of antibiotics through a PICC line directly into my heart to keep me alive because I got septic. And about 24 hours later, I'm finally conscious again. And they're like, "All right, Steve, here's the thing. You're too heavy for us to do an actual surgery, but we still need to debris. I think that's what they call debris that leg. So, but this is very graphic, by the way. So, warning to your listeners, this
Got
is
anything
very
to
graphic.
accompany this?
Eh,
Have a bite,
Do it.
listeners.
And so I'm like, okay. So what do we do? And they're like, well, we're going to send our nurses in here, and they are going to remove the dead tissue, and you're just going to have to be conscious during it. And I'm like, okay, well, can we get some painkillers? And I'm like, well, you're on the maximum amount of painkillers we can really safely give you with your addiction issues and other things. I've never been in rehab or anything, but they know obviously I like food a lot, so they don't want to give me the good stuff, And I don't want them to give me the good stuff either, because the last thing I need is a fucking morphine addiction on top of fucking food addiction.
Dude,
okay?
trust me, you wanted that morphine.
Yeah.
Well,
Morphine addictions are glorious.
I'm with
Morphine
you so far,
is
but
top notch.
this is where our paths would have diverged. I don't know if you're in a morphine town.
I'm saving it. I'm saving it for the real stuff. That was my thought at the time. If I had known, if I had it to do over, I would have let them shoot it into my fucking eyeballs if they had to. Okay. So the nurses come in and they take off the wrap, and they're like looking at the leg, and they're like, well, this is much worse than the doctor considered. And I'm like, okay, well, what do we do? And they're like, well, I guess we do. Let's call the doctor. And they call the doctor, and they talk for a few minutes. I'm like, all right, well, we're going to go for it. Well, 90% of the skin from my knee to my ankle was gone. And all that was left was the porous material underneath. And they took gauze. This is amazing. They took gauze
awful.
and they scraped it across the skin like it was nacho cheese, and like they had a nacho in their hand. They're just scooping it off like bloop, 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 bloop. Like, no, luckily they didn't have to use like a Dremel or anything like that. They just scooped it all off, right? Well, they've used one of those on me before, for a different purpose altogether, but
I'll bet.
they just removed all the skin, and it was as the nerves that are embedded into that porous material saw naked air for the first time. It was the most glorious level of pain that I have ever experienced. And I screamed. I remember screaming at the top of my lungs. And then I remember crying while screaming. And then I remember cursing God for existing and allowing me to exist. I do think I passed out for a short period of time, but I was conscious through most of it. At some point, I had enough sense to get the digital camera that I had brought. I asked my friend to bring so that I could photograph this. I asked for that, and I got a couple of photos, which I've lost over the years.
No, I wanted to see that.
And there was this card someone had gotten me that when you open it up, it was one of those musical ones. When you open it up, it plays a song, and it was Celebrate Good Times. I don't know why that card was in the... and why that card was okay while I was sick, I don't know. I think it was like, cheer up, good times are ahead, and then you open it up, celebrate... The nurse, at one point, as I'm screaming at the top of my lungs, backs into the bathroom door where this card is taped, and the card opens up enough to make the song, and it's like, celebrate, and I'm just like crying, and there's like blood and lymph just pouring out of me, and I've never experienced pain like that in my life. Well, pain is relative. This is fascinating to learn. The most pain that you've ever been in is a 10 for you. And so now my new 10 is here. Like, I know what real pain is, right? And so now that I'm dealing with this back pain, which I think would debilitate most people, in the morning, I still get out of bed. Sometimes I need my wife's help. I get into the living room and I cry for 20, 30 minutes. Sometimes I break a few things. Sometimes I throw a few things. But I know that that's only about an 8. I know what my 10 is. And since this is at an 8, I'm okay. I'm going to be all right. Not a big deal. And so when it comes to the lymphedema, you're just like, this is like a 3 now. That used to be my 10. Now it's a 3. Pfft, whatever.
This sounds horrible.
Sounds horrific.
Well,
that whole experience seems terrible.
It was. We all have our shit. Every one of us is going to end up in a deathbed. Everyone's going to bury somebody we love. We're all going to have our fucking hearts broken. Life is pain. Pain is guaranteed when you're born into this world. Joy is created. Joy is found. I focus on the joy that I've created. I've focused on the joy that my audience brings me and how much fun I'm having with you guys tonight and stuff like that. So I don't focus on that stuff, but I do think I think it's interesting to talk about that stuff. I think it's important to talk about that stuff. So the people that are right now at home who aren't in any pain, who haven't had their heart broken recently, or haven't buried anybody they love, can go, I'm lucky right now, and I should enjoy the shit out of this. I think that's important.
Yeah, it's true. I think that's a valuable life
That
lesson,
does sound
but
like one of the
also
most painful experiences ever.
horrific.
It looked like nacho cheese. It was fascinating. It was so fascinating.
I don't
They
want to
just
hear that
scooped,
part.
They just scooped
They
your skin
scooped it
off
right
of-
off, right?
just-
Like if they had scooped it off and just put it in their mouth, it would have just looked like they were eating nacho cheese. It was
it was
yellow.
just sloughing off.
It was sloughing off. It was just completely dead, like off a corpse. It was fascinating.
Dude, morphine in the future. Trust
Yes,
me.
morphine. Right, yeah.
Oh yeah.
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 You wouldn't have even remembered that. Like I had like second and third degree burns on the back of my my hand.
Yeah.
Like from here down, pretty much the fingers, the knuckles. They're big black blisters. And they gave me a little morphine, maybe a lot. And they scrubbed all of that off, and then they put this like artificial skin glove on top of it.
Yeah.
And there's no scarring. It was pretty cool I thought, but I don't remember any of that shit. I remember like the sensation of rubbing, and I remember like some visuals of like the medical instruments and stuff. But that's it. Like,
Yeah, I should have done that. They here's another downside to being big. I had to get a colonoscopy at 35. I'm due another one, but I just don't want to do it. I'm supposed to get another one at 40, I guess.
How old
but
are you supposed to be when you do that?
You're supposed to get your first at 40. Most insurance companies will tell you 45, but it really should be 40. And if you have the option, like I had an optional reason to do it at 35, we went in and did 35, and I think it was better that we did it.
Okay, this is something I want to hear.
So wait.
Woody and Boogie, I want to hear your first colonoscopy story, starting with Boogie, because he was already on a roll there.
Okay, so I did not know like the entire concept that you had to clear your entire intestines out, and they give you a medicine that will help you do that. And they basically tell you to set aside a 2-hour block to drink the medicine and then sit on the toilet and change shit diarrhea, which is what happens. And eventually it just turns to pure water. Like it's one of the most nauseatingly awful experiences in
I
my
don't
life.
think it was pure water. Like I wouldn't call it potable.
my last couple of dukes, my last couple of squirts was just pure water, and I was just amazed. It was clear as a bell. I
Yeah,
couldn't
you were
believe that
squirting
came out.
Aquafina near the end.
Right. And so I get into the place the next day, and they're like, all right, Mr. Williams, we normally give people twilight drugs for this, and we are going to give you some. But again, you're very heavy, and because you're so heavy, the chances of you having a heart attack or choking on your own body is entirely possible. We know you have sleep apnea. That's in your medical chart. So we're not going to give you a fraction of what we would give a normal-sized person. I'm like, really? That's weird. Because there's a chance you're going to wake up during the procedure, but you'll probably be okay. Well, I woke up 3 minutes into it. And fortunately, by then, the camera's already up my ass. And so he's got me laying on my left side, and the television that it's all going to is on the left side. So I'm staring at the thing, right? And he says to the intern or the nurse he has, and he goes, this area looks normal. And I guess she's supposed to write that down. I start answering the guy. I'm like, good. And so I got to see my entire inside of my own anus, including the hemorrhoids that I had at the time on the inside of that. And I got to see all the way up to the, I guess where it chambers off to the next time, because apparently they don't go past that chamber, or at least in my colonoscopy. But the best part of that is when I woke up, I had a fart nurse there. And I did not know that there was such a thing as a fart nurse. But my nurse comes in, and I'm like, oh, hi, what can I do for you? And she's like, well, I'm here to make sure you fart. And I'm like, oh, she's like, yeah, you got to get that air out of you. And you're, if you don't, you could rupture, and we can't leave you here until you fart an adequate amount of times. And I'm like, okay, so what life choices led you to this? Because I'm still a little out of it, And I'm like, that's the worst thing I've ever fucking said to another human being. And she goes, oh, a lot of bad ones, I guess. And I'm like, because you're listening to a 500-pound man fart. That's your job. Like, that is a cool job. Don't get me wrong if you're into it, but I would imagine that's not your thing, isn't it? She goes, no, it is definitely not, sir. And I'm like, all right.
So you're basically like slowly talking to this person through morphine, like, how did you get to this point? You listening to me fart a bunch?
Well, again, they didn't get any of the good stuff. I didn't get any of the good stuff. So I'm like, I walked out of there, like 20 minutes later. I'm like, have I farted enough? She's like, good job. You farted plenty. Those are good farts.
I had basically the same experience. I think they give you the liquid the night before, and it's awful. it makes you poo, and I'm like, it gets cleared out, whatever, we'll try it. And it was just so bad. You're constantly pooping, and between poops they have you Vaseline your rectum to like deal with all of the wiping and pooping and stuff that's going on, and it's the yuckiest possible experience. And I don't want a colonoscopy, right? Boogie, on the other hand, is like, I found an excuse to get some extra colonoscopies in there. I was like, no fucking way, I don't want to do it. Jackie's like, you have to. Apparently my mom had polyps or something, which I don't even know what a polyp is, but apparently it puts me at risk for like fucking anal death or something. So I like it. So now like I have to get this colonoscopy because my wife is insisting, and it's fucking awful. So I take the liquid and I poo and I do all that until eventually my butt hurts. But like Boogie says, it gets to be like pure water and such. And I go in there the next day, they lay me on my side, and then what seems like 1 second later, I wake up in bed somewhat confused, and it's over.
Feeling somewhat violated and different.
Yeah, really. And there is a nurse there making sure that I fart. Now, I don't really fart in front of people. Like, I think it's kind of grew out of that and whatever. And now I like literally have to, like, I'm on stage like trying to fart enough to convince this woman that I can go home. And my wife, I don't even fart in front of my wife, and she's there like holding my hand as I come out of this, and it's like, oh fuck, it's a fart show. Because when they do it, they fill your, I guess, through your butt like up with air. That way the camera has like room to sort of see. Otherwise it'd just be, I guess, intestine against lens and you wouldn't catch it. So they inflate your intestines, and then you need to deflate in the recovery room. It sucks. But
so your wife was holding your hand while you were just fart viciously.
Marriage. So
that's true love.
But they sent me home with like a bunch of pictures, like of my like inner butthole, right? Like of my intestines and stuff. So I did a dual com with Jackie where every so often we'd show like we'd give people, Jackie's like, hit him with a picture, and then we'd show them like my intestine just as a way to, I don't know, be a smart ass toward my subs. So yeah, we made a video out of it.
Video.
You know the one, right?
Oh yeah.
It was kind of a funny video.
I think it was on Nuketown.
No, I think it was on what's the Black Ops? What Modern Warfare 3, the one that had like village and tents and stuff next to the center building. B-Dom was right on a street.
Oh yeah.
Shit.
How old were you when you got your colonoscopy, by the way?
Probably 40.
Yeah. The reason I got mine is because I was having violent diarrhea, and I was going to the bathroom like 4 or 5 times a day, and that led to really bad hemorrhoids. And I had had an anal fissure when I was 20, and I did not want to run the risk of getting another one of those because fuck that, super bad. So I went to the doctor, and he's like, well, it's time to do a colonoscopy. It's 5 years earlier than you need to do it. But honestly, I mean, this could be cancer. There's blood in your stool. So we get the colonoscopy done, and the guy's going through the checklist. He's like, you're perfectly healthy besides those hemorrhoids. And I don't know why you have this hemorrhoids. Even as a big guy, you shouldn't have hemorrhoids like that. It's very irritated back there. I'll give you some medicine or whatever. And he's like, but I don't know what's causing it. And he's looking through my medical chart, and he goes, wait a second, are you on metformin? And I'm like, yes. And he goes, do you know what the #1 side effect of metformin is? And I said, no. And he goes, violent diarrhea. And I'm like, oh. And he goes, why did your doctor not figure this out? And I'm like, because he's an idiot, I guess. And then I went to a different doctor from then on out because that doctor had prescribed metformin, and the most common side effect is to be allergic to it and then just shit yourself all the time. And that's what was happening to me.
Well, that sounds terrible. But is an anal fissure just basically your butthole ripping a little bit?
Yeah, it's a hole in the anus, and it's real unhappy. It's real unpleasant. Yeah.
Hey, didn't Wings have anal fissures?
He did.
He did. I remember several episodes where we went over that.
It'll happen to big guys. This is one of the many. This is why healthy at any size is crazy. Because if you're fat enough, you're ripping your asshole open. Guess what? It's time to stop eating.
I think the enormous poops have something to do with it too, because I know if I'm eating right, then my morning poop is pretty moderate. Like it's pretty much over and out. It's not a big deal. But if I've spent the entire night having one of my extravaganzas, if it's a Taco Bell extravaganza or a potato fiesta, or what
Or a
have you.
booze extravaganza. It all
If
comes
No.
out differently.
Yeah, it could be a real massacre in there.
I've actually read recently in the last year
that.
that with a lifetime of overeating, the digestive system will grow to adapt to it. So you'll have a longer, smaller intestine and a longer, larger intestine, meaning you will digest more of the food, getting more calories out of the same amount of food somebody else will because you digest it to a further degree. So 2,000 calories of food for a heavy person who's been historically doing that for 40 years might actually be closer to 22 or 2,100 calories for that person because their digestive system is more efficient. But because of that, my poops aren't that big, I think. I think that's
But
why
that
my poops aren't
changes
that big.
if you get one of those surgeries, right? Like if you get the bypass or you get the stomach stapling.
Well, the most common one they're doing now is the safest is the gastric sleeve. It's the least invasive. It's very common. It doesn't have as high of a success rate as bariatric surgery. So some people that get the sleeve will eventually need bariatric surgery, depending on what their mental issues are like and what's leading to their obesity and what's leading to them making those decisions, obviously. Then you've got, I forget exactly what it's called. I like to call it Rochambeau, but that's not it. But it's the bypass surgery where they remove a large portion of the stomach and then bypass that. And also some of the intestines go with that too. And then that will make up for that issue a little bit.
Okay, I have some AMA questions here. But first, I want to get a word out to all of our listeners about Crunchyroll. Crunchyroll is the most amazing anime service to ever grace the internet. When you go to Crunchyroll.com, you're opening up a world of anime like you just can't believe. It's 1080p quality, no ads, and for 30 days of free premium access, all you have to do is go to Crunchyroll.com/PKA. Takes about 2 minutes to sign up, and you're getting access to their huge library, including these three that they wanted us to mention: One Piece, Punchline, and JoJo's Bizarre Adventures. So, if you want access to all this, go to Crunchyroll.com/PKA, sign up for premium, and get access to that huge collection of anime free for 30 days with 0 ads.
Hey, that One Piece, man, I got to tell you something. I'm so surprised I got out on there. That's long. There's like, 500 episodes or something? Like, that's the one about the boat, right? Is that
I
the
have
one?
no fucking clue.
Oh, well, my roommate was obsessed with it.
Thanks,
And if they've
Kyle.
got that in...
Just roll with it.
Like, I'm not gonna lie. like if you had been like, "That's a good one, isn't it, Kyle?" I've been like, "Ah, fantastic, the animation." But when you say it like that, I'm just like, I don't fucking know.
You mean that boat that's kind of white, sits in the water, floats back and forth? Yeah.
That's the one. No, I Googled it, and One Piece is that show that he watched like every episode of it. If they've got that entire series on there, that's a hell of a value, man. How much does it cost to get a month?
Like $6.95.
$6.95. Jesus Christ, that's cheaper than Netflix.
It is
Exactly.
cheaper
And they've
than
got
Netflix.
the
Be a
entire
fucking fool
run.
not to get it.
They've got the entire run of One Piece on there. I've always wanted to watch it. My roommate is obsessed with that show. So,
Well, then
I mean,
you better hop on there. And
right, I'm going to
use
go to right now.
Crunchyroll.com/PKA.
Crunchyroll.com/PKA.
#1 anime source for Duct Tape Man himself. You heard it here.
It's true.
Now, do they have both? Do they have both fan subs and dubs there? Do you know that?
Oh, they've got everything you could want. It is known.
Okay, good.
Okay, so what is let's see. I'm going through this AMA here. I sent you guys the questions too.
Yep.
Some of these questions are terrible, and some of them are great. As you guys know, when you submit your questions for the AMA, we don't have to read them because some of them are just bad. Some of them are just bad. Be more creative.
Oh, I'm just looking through a couple of these. This looks like a decent crop.
I don't know. Some of them are repetitive as well.
All right.
Okay.
So recently I read that Floyd Mayweather and Manny Pacquiao are going to make $23,000 per second of their fight. My question for everyone is, how long would you take a beating if you got paid $23,000 per second?
I would
And-
take it as long as I could stand. Like, as long as I could.
No, but the whole thing is that you have to decide beforehand. So if you say
Oh, do you think?
90, yeah, if you say 90 seconds,
Describe
and
the
you get
beating.
61 seconds in, and you're like, "Oh my god, I'm getting the shit kicked out of me." You cut out, and then you don't get any money. You have to take the
Define
whole
a beating. Like what kind of what is this
someone-
going to consist of?
beating the shit out of you. Faces just getting pummeled by fists.
I think did he say
shins coming right to your thighs, just like those brutalizing hits that you see in MMA. That's what you have to deal with. This isn't a little tit tat thing.
This guy says I'm taking the beating from Floyd himself. All right,
Okay,
so
exactly.
I'm going to take this as how many seconds will I elect to be in the ring with Floyd Mayweather? And I think my answer is 3 minutes because he's going to
3 minutes.
I think he's going to knock me out long before that.
Then you won't make it.
No, I won't. but
No,
I'll
you
still
have
pay.
to make it till the end, otherwise you don't get the money. That's
He's not going to just keep beating me. The ref will stop it.
well, just curl into a ball.
I mean, the crowd will
Hope for the
eventually if he
best.
just keeps going.
I don't know. This is hard. It's probably better to get beaten by Mayweather than Pacquiao, right?
Yeah,
because
that's what
Pacquiao
I
is the
think.
one who it's just a flurry of punches and
he's
it's
got
just
that
you're getting
fucking
obliterated.
left that comes from your blind side or something. Whereas Mayweather's thing is his defense. He's very difficult to hit. People get frustrated because he just sort of goes backwards, and then he's got this stance. Like most people, like they kind of keep their arms up like this. They got the big gloves, and it protects you from the hits. He uses his shoulder, and he puts his shoulder up, and he stands like this, and it's very difficult to hit him. But Pacquiao is going to win, according to me. Lozon says I'm wrong, but
I'm going to say 30 seconds. I can make it. 30 seconds. Realistic. Just getting the shit kicked out of me for $6 million. That sounds pretty good.
I've had the shit kicked out of me, and I can't do it for very long. But I really like money. So, I'm running some numbers here. 60 times 23,000 is 1.4 million almost. I think 60 seconds. If I have to hit it, 60 seconds might be the number. I mean, hell, it seems like I could get a knockdown or two, right?
I think you could run for 20 seconds. Just tick that down right away.
He's going to cut the ring off.
$460,000 worth of running, I promise you.
I don't think so. I think he'll cut
Just the barrel rolls.
These guys are trained to stop you from running away. You go this way, they stand where you want to be, and they just work you into the side, and it's awful.
Yeah, but if you pull an Andy Kaufman and you literally sprint around them, they're not prepared for that.
They probably don't see that much.
They're to
it won't
cut off your
take long.
stance, close
It
you off,
won't-
box you in, but they're not ready for this.
No, they're not. But it's not going to take long for them to adapt. So you've basically got what I can see as a 6 to 8 second window of running around like a maniac before they're eventually is this turning into something? Is this going to be
Has
an
anyone ever
attack?
been
No,
hit in
this
the
guy's
side
just
by a
running
real
around.
boxer?
As soon as he cocks back the first punch, I'm gonna spit my mouth guard at him. That's round two. That's my second move. and I'll take 2 or 3 warnings. They can deduct all the points they want. I'd find a way to get rich off of getting my ass
If the
beat.
question is, would I go in there? Absolutely. I would go in there, and I would last as long as I could, and I would try and win. If that was part of the deal, if they're like, Woody, you can't just run and be a bitch and cover up and dive. You literally have to go in there and try and beat one of these guys. I'd be like, all right, sign me up. I will try.
Oh, I
If
wouldn't
you
go
make
in and try and beat him. I would go in with a tattoo that said youtube.com/X Capone.
Oh, smart.
My branding would never be better.
But if hypothetically you had to try to win to get your money, I would give it a go. I would.
I
you know,
would.
0% chance.
Okay,
Right,
here's,
for sure.
I'm going to turn this into a romantic story. Here's what
my
I would
God.
do. I would tell my wife goodbye, and I would get into the ring, and I would stand there and allow him to beat me, arms to my side, until he was forced to beat me to death, so that I would leave her with more money than she would ever need. I've been watching
Nope.
Breaking Bad.
Oh.
It's basically what it is, yeah.
So is that how you see it, Boogie? You'd be standing there like a pariah, just arms
Right, that's what I would want to do.
holier than thou.
I would wanna go
and
in there
then
like
after punch number 3, you're just like, oh. Just,
When I was in high school, I got into a fight when I was 12, and it was an older kid, and I hurt the kid.
You were in
pretty
high
bad.
school at 12?
Well, I mean, I was in, I guess I was actually, because we didn't have a middle school.
Okay.
So, what grade are you in 8th grade? How old are you when you're in 8th grade?
13,
you're like
but you could be
14,
12.
13 or 14 in 8th grade.
All right, so I guess I was 13 because I was in 8th grade. So whatever that was. But I hit the kid, and I hit him pretty damn hard, and I ended up hurting him pretty bad. And then our family ended up getting sued over it and sucked. So then I swore I'd never hit another person, and I've managed to maintain that. But I did get into one more fight, and it was this kid. I failed 10th grade PE because I was embarrassed by my body and I didn't want to dress out, so I just didn't. And I had to take it over my senior year to make it up for it. So I was in 10th grade PE, and this one kid is always kind of making fun of me. And I've always been sharp with my tongue, so he would say things like, "Hey, good job out there today, you fat fuck. If you could run, we would have won," or whatever. And I'd say things like, "Well, I'm really tuckered out from fucking your mother's asshole all last night, and I'm got to tell you something. I've got to pick off all these fucking crabs, and it's just disgusting." And I would say things like that to him, and one day
That's how you win.
Right, one day he just got like super mad and he threw a punch at me and hit me square in the face, and I'm just like, dude, you don't want to fuck with me. I really do not want to ever hit anybody back. Please don't. And our coach was nearby, so he came and separated us. Well, that kid was waiting with him and his 2 older brothers at my car later that day. And they're like, "Oh, you fuck our mothers." And I'm like, "No, it's a joke, man." Because, well, I don't find that kind of joke very funny. And here's what's going to happen. You're going to let our little brother hit you, or we're all going to take you down. I'm like, I'm never going to throw a punch at another person, dude. You can beat me as long as you want. And so he hit me several times in the face until my glasses flew off, broken. And then he hit me several more times. And I thought I could be super tough. Like, I did exactly that pariah thing. I'm like, all right, man, just do whatever you got to do. But eventually I'm driving home, right? I want to do that. But no, I mean, it starts hurting, man. I mean, he's like just clawing at my face. I don't know how many times he hit me. It must have been 8 or 9 times. And I just started bawling my eyes out. I'm like, I can't believe you're fucking doing this. You're just going to beat me knowing I won't punch you back. And he's just like, well, hit me back. I'm like, I'm not going to touch you. There's no chance this is going to happen. Goes, I'm just going to keep hitting you then. He just keeps hitting me. And eventually he got bored. And so I know I can take a punch.
I mean, he was half hitting back.
Well, I didn't want to hit him back, and I felt glad about that. I'm proud that I didn't hit him back. I'm proud that I'm a pacifist. I'm always going to be a pacifist. I don't want to hurt other people. I didn't hurt the guy. I'm so grateful for that. That gives me so much self-confidence in the things that my convictions and the things I believe in, for the rest of my life. But also, I didn't get any trouble.
This sounds like a terrible day, and I personally would have felt awesome if I could have somehow summoned the super me and beat up all 4 of them. That would be glorious.
I got 1 week of in-school suspension, which is like a vacation for a kid with like anxiety issues.
Oh, in-school suspension
and then he got
the shit.
Right, he got 2 weeks of out-of-school suspension. But I knew I had it made. I knew I had it made when my principal brought me my lunch and in-school suspension, and I'm like, "Can I get an extra milk with this?" I normally get an extra milk, sir.
I had in-school suspension. I didn't think it was that good.
I hated it.
Yeah.
I brought a bunch of Nintendo Power magazines and stuff, and I just sat there and read Nintendo Power. I
told my librarian to go to hell. That was my mistake. There was
Oh, Woody, you rapscallion.
there was So when you walk out of the library, we had books, right? And the books had these little like a security system type deal, and if you bring the book through it beeps. So what you'd have to do is hand your book to the librarian, and they'd hand it back, and that would go around the security system. Well, the librarian wasn't where she was supposed to be, so I just kind of did it by myself. Like, I handed the book to myself, and apparently, I thought that was a fine solution for everyone. Like, if you're not in place, don't worry, I got this covered by myself. But they wanted me to go back in line and then do it again and hand it to a librarian to accomplish the same thing, and I told her to go to hell, and I got suspension.
That seems like a go to hell kind of moment.
Yeah, I thought it was.
Since you guys
in the right there.
Since you guys are doing adventures like the survival trips and paintball, would you ever think of doing anything sports related? Since Woody and Merca have backgrounds in hockey, it would make sense to have a round robin hockey tournament with fans.
It totally would. I would do that.
Love that.
I would
so
do that.
much.
Yes.
That would be so fun.
That sounds.
I want to.
Let's hold it in Canada, where they're like hockey assholes that love to hurt people.
Let's just go to Winnipeg. Live it up.
What could go wrong?
But yeah, Woody, what position do you play when you do play hockey? Because I would be interested in playing against you.
I played mostly D, either side, but I also played. I was competent at every position. What I was responsible. So if you put me anywhere, then I wouldn't make us lose.
How's your shot?
Hard and flat. I bet it sucks right now, but I had a. If you were to see me take a slap shot, you'd be like, yeah, that's a real slap shot.
Do you play with wood sticks or like a warrior, something like that?
I played with 2-piece and then eventually 1-piece fiberglass sticks. I like them to be really light because when I skate backwards and play on D, pretty much my move is to like just whack it one-handed at the offenseman who comes at me. And the lighter the stick, the better I felt like I could, get, my stick on your puck.
Well, that seems like a horrible idea to me.
George.
No, he's playing good D.
I don't play fucking. No, I mean like the whole idea of the
concept of hockey.
Yeah, I don't play fucking hockey. I don't really care about hockey, and
that's why it would be funny, dude.
And organizing the whole trip to like play hockey, like how many fans are we gonna get to show up to some rink somewhere? Like I imagine
bunch
like
of Canadians, all of them will show up,
and they're gonna play like with gear and shit. That's never gonna happen.
Yeah, why not? We could totally get like a couple. I would love to get out there on the ice again.
Wow.
Yeah.
Okay. Well, if you're out there
too.
and you would like PKA to come play hockey with you and your amateur team, you just need to arrange for your local rink to put together some sort of a PKA day, and we'll make that happen.
Taylor, are you playing hockey now?
Right now, I am not. But
do you wish you were?
Oh yeah.
Yeah,
like I
me
wish
too.
I were playing more. Like I really like hockey. Like I tried to do the splits like 3 days ago just to see if I could get even close. Because like I played goalie, so I used to be able to do the splits upward, downward. Just like flexibility is a huge part of that.
This is a goalie warm-up exercise, the splits? Or are you talking about the butterfly?
Like, when you're watching hockey and someone comes down on a breakaway and you see the goalie completely split the pads, cover the whole bottom of the ice. He's doing the splits right there. Like, not the ballerina turn to the side and split, but like the facing splits. And I tried to do that again, and it was horrible. I wasn't even in the vicinity of not even close. And I was like, I need to start doing something again to get back into that shape.
Shoot 5-hole America.
Yeah, exactly. Shoot 5-hole on me because I'll pull my groin and be out for the rest of the weekend because I'm so out of shape.
Because he's only splitting like America's split. It sounds like it's something like this, and there's a 5-hole right there for you.
Yeah. So I need to really step that up, start stretching again. But it was depressing realizing what I could do just like 5 years ago and what I can't do now.
So I think it's a stupid fucking idea. I'd much rather do something like paintball.
I just want to talk hockey a second longer, but there was a time where I was, at least in this area, an A-League player. Not a good one, right? But I was like, I wasn't the worst guy on the team
You were
either.
near the upper echelon.
No, not in A-League. In our best players in A-League, some of them had some of them had NHL experience. But a fair amount of them had college experience or like AHL experience. Like one guy had played in the AHL like the previous year, right? So he was just really good. Me, it was like, all right, do I even belong in this league? Well, there's 4 guys on this team worse than me. So I'm like in the third, like in the 1/3 percentile.
So I'm a bottom 4 defenseman. Yeah, I got this.
Right? That was like where I peaked. Or I think that same year I was MVP of my B League team. So nothing special. Like, I certainly wasn't some Division I athlete or anything like that. But I was an actual hockey player. And over time, I just stopped like being effective. Like, I don't know why. Like, it was like fuck, it's been games since I scored anything. And I felt like my D was still solid, but I don't know, it just like I started to do worse. So if I come back, I'm playing C League. I'm just going straight to the fucking bottom. And I might be good there.
See, that's a solid thing to do. They have something in high school where you can play varsity, JV, or something called C team. And C team is where like really good middle schoolers and really awful high schoolers congregate as a team. At least this is how it is in the Midwest.
Yeah, I think here too.
Yeah, and they allowed me, my junior year of high school, I always wanted to play out, like play as a forward instead of a goalie. And I was a goalie for varsity and for my real team. And they were like, hey, if you want to play forward on this C team, you can do it. And I was like, are you serious? So I can hit people, I can like skate around and score. And so they let me join the C team. And in my first game, I didn't fully I understand the rules, but I didn't understand the rule of you can't take more than 3 strides before hitting someone. And I also didn't understand boarding, which was when you hit somebody, like if you hit somebody right up against the boards, it's just a clap. and they just hit up against it and bounce off. If you hit someone who's this far away from the boards, they fall and can break their neck on the boards. I didn't fully get that. And in my first shift, trying to figure out being forward, I hit a kid into the glass, and he hit the glass so hard he knocked the pane out. And the pane fell, and they had to have a team of people come back and put the pane in because I hit him so fucking hard. And then the next play that I got a chance, after I exited the penalty box, 3 seconds playing forward, already in the box for 2 minutes, got out, and then just tripped someone so hard, or someone was on a breakaway towards my goalie, and I thought it would be a good move to just kind of like slash him, like I've seen people do in games. I was like, all right, I've seen this. Yeah, I've seen hockey. I've played goalie. I know how this works. I just kind of slash him, and he drops it. And I must have hit him way too hard because I was using a heavy wooden stick that was old instead of the light graphite sticks, and I broke his ankle. And he fell down screaming.
This is like what the fucking Canadians did to the Russians.
Yes, the Flyers.
Pretty much.
Yeah.
Broke his ankle and he fell down. And then they had to bring a stretcher out, and I just had to stand there. I had to stand there.
Taylor the Slayer.
In shame. I had to stand there in shame because I was wearing like ill-fitting pads that people just donated to me. So
Now let me ask you, when
like
you do
a
that,
Frankenstein of hockey, wearing ill-fitting pads, watching this kid get carried off.
so
Continue,
the kid
Kyle,
you
sorry.
crippled, I'm curious, like he was from another school, I guess, like he was a rival.
Yes.
Oh, that's good.
On
at
the
least.
C team.
Do you recall
I just
if
ruined his year.
He's a
Do
middle
you remember?
schooler.
Do you remember if he was a middle schooler who was great and was like a shining star who was gonna go NHL at like 17, or if he was like some like senior who was just crappy and
I don't remember. It wasn't a senior who was crappy, but I remember that like at that age, like being a junior
great.
in high school, I was already like the size I am now. So there's like a little over 6 foot guy barreling down on a 5'2" kid, like just sweeping at him because I wanted to keep scoring.
You should have been able to catch him
Oh,
at that size.
hearing
What
that
a fucking
deafening
monster.
crack. Yeah,
Dude.
I didn't realize what I was doing, but I tried.
So someone
Oh,
bigger
my
than
God.
me was playing like a bully in my thing. And at the time I was doing woodworking like every day. And there was this guy, Eric Sanford, I don't know. But he was a former pro player. And he gave me like a fucking like 14 bullet point list of dirty moves to do when you like it like if you can't beat a player straight up, this is how you handle the situation. And it was like, you know, I don't know, like dump the puck.
That's incredibly useful.
Yeah, it was really like effective stuff. Like you dump the puck on the boards behind your own net, right? As the guy comes, pull his feet out. And then it's like boarding, but he torpedoes himself. It's just tripping. It's not as big a deal. There's all sorts of like temporarily give the puck and then play his body or, you know, and hand it to him and make him vulnerable type stuff. All sorts of like, you know, pull his feet out. You know, the benches where the glass ends. He's like, it doesn't take much of a bump at all. If he's skating past the glass where the glass starts, he's like, just bump him into the glass where it starts. It's so solid, you know, they'll knock themselves out. He gave me a whole list of like dirty tricks to do that was amazingly effective. It was cool.
Oh, they're so effective if you can do that. That's actually, going back to my story, that's only one of the 2 times I've broken someone's ankle when they were playing. And the other one when I was a goalie. And if you're like, Kyle won't understand because he never played hockey, but when you're a goalie, like you're basically like a chick in a bar. If anyone fucks with you at all, there's a bunch of people to come be like, what are you fucking with him for? What are you fucking with him for? And just like immediately defend you in any situation. But they also pull shit where they try and splinter you and they try and just jab at you for no reason. And
What's splintering you?
Splintering is the area between, I'm trying to describe it correctly, where your knee bends and the mid part of your thigh where your hockey pants go. A lot of goalies don't wear protection there. They just have their skin. And so if you cover a puck, you're icing the puck to, you know, end play, they will come in and under the guise of trying to get the puck out, they will stick their stick underneath where your leg is and continually pull out really quickly, giving you fiberglass splinters and wood splinters depending on their stick right under your leg.
That kind of
it's
play.
awful.
No, I wouldn't put up with that shit. Like, that's the kind of shit where, like, I would hang on to the puck so the game couldn't continue. And then it would have to
It
be like,
doesn't matter. You're trying to hold on to the puck, and that's when they're doing it, while
Then
the refs
stop,
are trying
but
to
at
spread
some
everybody
point-
else out. Yeah,
at
this
some
isn't
point-
baseball. People don't give a shit. And
no,
so
it's
they're
point,
trying to
though. It would
splinter you.
all stop, and they would want their puck back so the game could continue.
Yeah,
And that's
see-
when me and this guy would have to face off. Like, there would be no splintering. Like, I would have to leave the game to get my Band-Aids, first of all. So, on my way out, I gotta fight this guy. Like, that's because I'm
Yeah.
leaving anyway. Like, there would be
See,
no...
that's-
I wouldn't continue a game after being splintered, and I'd have to hurt that person so goddamn bad for splintering me.
Exactly.
As a
It
goalie,
never
do you
got
feel
hurt
like
him.
you can't fight?
You gotta hurt him real bad. And so I took note, and I remembered. I was like, all right, number 59, number 59.
You pulled the water
Is
boy.
that the right number?
And he was forward. And so I knew that next time number 59 was trying to block me up and screen me so I couldn't see the puck. And then a big group of people came in so the refs couldn't see. I was going to do something. So the next time he did, he got into my crease, which is the blue circle in front of where the goalie stands. And when you get in a goalie's crease, you're in his house. You're in my house. I'm going to fuck with you. And so I took my bladed goalie stick. Look it up if you don't know what a goalie stick looks like. It's basically a sword made of wood. And I just was down there and I just saw him and I was like, number 59. And I just hit him right on the back of his ankle. So fucking hard. I shouldn't have, because it was like a permanently damaging move. He went down like a pile.
Crippled him.
It was like someone dropped a sack of potatoes from 6 feet, just and then just all of his weight hitting the ground, and then me standing there like a chick at a bar, like, I don't know what happened. I don't know. As the refs move everybody aside, like, what's going on here? And the guy's going, no, the goalie hit me. I don't know. No, I'm just trying to start the puck. You know,
Had he splintered you just prior to this? Is that what he did to you?
it was probably like. Honestly, probably like 10, 12 minutes prior in the period.
what
But
he
you got to
did.
wait until the next time they're close enough to you for you to do it.
I'm so on board with this right now, I can't tell you, because I don't like splinters. I really hate fiberglass splinters, and a splinter back there, like, that's tender flesh.
It's horrible, dude.
How
like,
come you
then
didn't go
you
for
play
the
the rest of the
between the
game.
leg shot?
Yeah, you play the
I
rest of the
thought-
game with splinters. And
I
it's
thought
awful.
the way the story was going to go is you took your stick and you went straight up between the legs.
I'd have been so mad, I'd probably hit him in the head.
Oh.
That
You
would,
like your move better?
I like his move better.
Yeah, that was. To be fair, you don't have to go like. "Ugh." Like, all I needed was like a little raise from like here to here, and then just wrap him right on the ankle,
Right.
really fucking hard. And he couldn't play the rest of the game, and probably not the season.
He never played again, cocksucker. Oh, that makes me mad. That splintering thing, like, that's so absurd. No,
Dude, I don't know if people
at all.
still do that, but that happened to me so many times. I have little scars on my leg from where people
got
raked
scars.
shit.
In
Yeah.
my hockey league, if you stayed late, then like another team, if they were short on players, or maybe if they just had the wrong number of players, as you know, like 10 players is good, 12 players is good, but 9 and 11 kind of sucks because you don't get right lines and stuff. Anyway, so I used to like just offer my services, like, hey, you guys need a man to like even up lines or whatever and play extra. This particular game, I came early because my team had the last game of the night, and somebody broke my foot in like the second period. They just shot the puck real hard, and it hit it right on the like side behind the toes.
Oh.
Yeah, and they broke my foot. But I was like, fuck it, I'll keep playing. So I played on a broken foot for 5 periods before my night was done.
How many OT periods did you have?
It was 2 games. It was that.
Oh, it's-
It was the play the game before, so that was 2 periods, and then my 3, and then I was done. So,
Oh,
that's
that's
awful.
rough. That's something
you-
that people don't realize watching it on TV is how much it hurts to get hit by. Like, they see players just dropping in front of the puck, and they're like, "Oh, that's just his job." It's like, no, that's a piece of vulcanized rubber.
It's frozen.
Feel your
If
tire,
they don't,
and then pretend that it's
frozen.
100 times harder, and that's what a
a
I've
rubber
held
puck,
one.
a rubber puck will bounce. So what they do is they freeze the pucks prior to playing, so that they don't, they're not bouncy. And
can't have
You ever
more.
seen someone in the crowd take one in the head?
Yeah, someone
I've
died
been
at a
to
Columbus
2
Blue
games.
Jackets.
Wow, now that didn't happen. I've been to 2 games ever, and the one I went to, some guy took one in the head. That was pretty cool. He was only like 60 feet from me.
Yeah, that'll kill you.
Yeah, my friend was a big fan. He was Lithuanian, and he had a puck at our apartment. And I just remember picking it up and being like, "Oh shit! This is what they're swinging it so fucking hard on ice. Like this is the thing that zips around so fast that they have to put that bubble over it so I can see it. Like,
Yeah.
it's a real danger out
rough.
there.
If it hits you in the
And a
protection,
Thrashers game.
you're fine. If it hits you where you're not protected, then ouch. I wore a cage. I was going to ask if you did, but I forgot you play goalie. But I wore a cage, which is what they call that wire mask. And good Lord, every game, something would happen. Sometimes to me, sometimes to someone else that made me thankful I had a cage. People just get like teeth knocked out, big scars on their face. You know, or if it was me, just like a big clunk to the head. It's like, I'm glad I wore a cage.
Yeah, I don't understand why a lot of pros don't wear, at least like a full face mask of the like the plexiglass they can have. Like you can have that glass or you can have the cage. I don't like the cage. Like if I didn't play goalie, I wouldn't be used to it. But I can see why people who don't play that aren't used to it. But Jesus Christ, it's awful. But every time I watch an NHL game, like perfect example, Alex Ovechkin plays for the Capitals.
Right.
He's missing like 3 teeth right now, and he makes $7 million a year. He just lives 9 months of his year with no teeth, just like, yeah, you have to play hockey. Like, it's just all
Why
he
you have
does.
to be mad? It's just game.
Yeah. Oh, that's Ilya Brizgalov. That's the
Is that?
best gift
I have no
ever.
clue who
Yeah,
that is.
the goalie.
I do love that one.
Like he was a goalie in Philadelphia, and Philadelphia is known for just trolling their goalies so hard and treating him like shit. And they were interviewing after a game, and he got flustered, and he was like, "It is the only game. Why do you have to be mad?" Like that would be a good one to pull out.
Hey guys, I hate to
It's
do
so
this
fun.
to you. I
gotta
did want to
run?
make it to the end, but because we got the late start, my stream is due to start in 20 minutes. I needed to get ready for it.
I
Get my green
understand.
screen back up.
Thanks for coming out,
I
man.
love being here, man. Thanks for having me. As always, twitch.com/boogie2988 or twitch.tv/boogie2988, youtube.com/boogie2988. You know where to find me. I'm
happy to be one of your favorite shitlords.
Yeah,
Absolutely.
you guys are my favorite shitlords as always. Just know that. Know that.
Coming
So
on,
proud.
definitely so.
See you
Thank
guys.
you so much, Boogie. Great.
Thanks for having me.
Thanks.
Yep.
Bye.
Later,
Oh,
Boogie.
so I'm going to have to fix the screen grabs. Kyle somehow still awesome.
Now put his or Chiz's shitty
yeah.
hat.
Now you could bring Chiz in here to corroborate my story. Oh, I was saying we should all get maybe I don't even want to say it on the air. Remember the item that I thought we should all buy for a future show?
Yes, I think we should save the
dildos.
concept.
Save it. Okay. I'd like to do that. Make that happen. I already picked some stuff out.
Shit.
I'm gonna go play
Yeah, we
paintball.
should-
This
We really should get Chiz in. I want to hear about his train escapades. What kind of vagabonds he came across.
the train folk. He said it's pretty decent. Like he's almost convinced me that it's definitely not ideal transportation, but as an experience, yeah, it's definitely not. Like the plane is the best transportation for cross country travel. But I don't know if you weren't in a hurry and it wasn't like a business trip and you didn't mind spending another $150, $200 for the scenery and the experience of the whole thing, especially if you got something to do, like if you were with another person or maybe reading, I could see it. I could see that. I wouldn't want to be sober the whole time. I wonder if there's some sort of a drinking car.
No fucking way. No fucking way I'd be sober the whole time on a train from LA to Chicago. Like, you gotta have some sort of fun on it.
Choo-choo. Like,
Yeah.
I just imagine crying myself to sleep at night. It would be. I wonder how loud it is in there.
I bet it's loud and it's not smooth. That's the big thing. Like I want a train to be like exceptionally like levitating smooth, but it's not. They're just rocking you over. When I first started commuting on train, it's
This
rocking
is
side
great.
to
Aren't
side.
you glad we didn't fly?
And it goes side to side. Like the thing was leaning so much. I'm looking at the
Yeah.
other passengers to find out if this is normal. Like I'm just trying to read their body language.
I like to. Whenever an airplane is like getting exceptionally bumpy, I always like to look around and find that guy who's not much of a flyer. Like maybe this is his first or second time, and he's just like,
Yeah, right.
like getting really.
I need a stewardess.
Yeah. Like, I always wish I could be seated next to that guy just to fuck with him because I I can remember even like being at Six Flags, and my friend had never been on any of the rides. He'd never been to Six Flags before. We were on this thing called acrophobia, which is the standard seating thing where you kind of sit on a bicycle seat in your crotch, and then the thing comes down over the top, and you kind of hang on here, and your feet are left dangling. And acrophobia basically lifts all the riders straight up 250 feet. You hang out for a minute, then it tilts you all forward, so you're kind of like looking straight down to where you're going, and then it drops you all like 250 feet free fall. It's scary as fuck. It's probably the scariest ride I've ever been on. But he's right next to me, and I'm like clawing at like his buckles and straps and trying to like undo them while we're at the top. And I'm just like, come on, man, let's get the fuck out of here. This is crazy. And then he's just like, no, just like hanging on to it for dear life. I like fucking with people, so.
I know you do.
Yes.
Oh, I'm sorry. I was going to do an AMA question. I thought that was a trend. All right. Are you going to buy that new or old Camaro?
I don't know. I showed you my dad's project car, I think, the other day. That I think it's.
It was cool.
Let me see if I can find a picture of this thing.
So you want an old sports car and a new truck? You think that's the better way to go?
I don't know if there is a better way to go, but I think I would like that. And you know, he's pretty good at making cars, and the thing's gonna be really fast. I think this is a Chevelle. I don't know my old cars very well though.
Oh shucks.
Looks like a piece of shit.
That's Monte Carlo. I don't know.
Hang on. Yeah. The fenders are taken off right now. Here's it from sort of the back /
Oh well, shucks. I liked it before because I had a good excuse to not know it.
It looks like the kind of car I wouldn't pay any attention to.
I think it's a Chevelle, and once it's put together, it looks very nice.
Have you considered the Chevette? That's a nice car.
Chevette's a piece of shit.
I know.
No, the Chevette is wildly superior to the Chevelle, Kyle.
Someone asked
both have awful names.
Woody, will you ever buy a sports car? And if so, what will I get? They're just not what excite me lately. Plus, it feels almost cliche. I hate to not get something just because everyone gets it, but God, you know, like you need one more YouTuber with some BMW or Mercedes.
You're an adult. See, I even if I got to be a billionaire, I would never buy a sports car. I want a big fucking luxury car. Like something that feels like you're driving a couch just around the street. Just huge, so many features, a lot of headroom.
Only USB Blade has something in that class to me. Like he's got
What's he got?
I think it's a Lincoln Town. No, it's a Cadillac. It's a Cadillac, but it's big. It's some rarely found extended big extra large super Cadillac.
I can see that. A big Cadillac. Like a big luxury car. That's what I want.
Approve based on what you said there. I want a big truck. The Dodge Power Wagon is still the thing that's stuck in my head. The Power Wagon.
That Chevrolet. I've been impressed by both the Chevy and the Ford recently. I saw the Ford today, the newest one, and I really liked how it looked, especially the tailgate. And but the new Chevy 2500 looks really tall. I don't know. I like the way it looks too.
Power Wagon is tall. It's super tall.
There's a truck company. I don't know. They're a little pricey. There's a place called Rocky Ridge Custom Trucks or something, and they take a brand new truck and then they put their spin on it. Like they lift it and put grill guards on it and like off-road tires and all kinds of like performance packages. Right. And they add like another 10-15 grand to the price tag. But those things look amazing.
Dude, that's one of the reasons I like the Power Wagon. Like it has a. See, I don't like the big grill guards and the look.
You need that.
The Power Wagon has a winch built into a factory bumper. You can hardly see it except for the cable coming out the front.
I saw that. That's cool.
That's cool to me. But sports car, God, I guess I'd like one, but it's just like this is almost fantasy stuff. Like I would have to have so much extra money before I threw down for a nice sports car.
You could get a nice sports car for cheap though. Like you just have to change your definition of nice sports car. Like don't get a brand new like late model like Mustang or Corvette or something. Like what if you got like a 1998 Mustang Cobra or something, or a 2000 or something like that. You could get something with 400 horsepower from like 2000 that would still be a reliable, fast, fun car for like 8 or 12 grand probably. doesn't have to be like a $50,000 expenditure. You could, like that Chevelle or whatever, like those old cars they're building over there, they start out with like $8,000 cars and then sink another $8,000 into them, and then they got like a $30,000 car that they've built themselves.
Even so, like for me to like blow even the numbers you're talking about, 16 grand on something, I would have to have like an extra million before I threw away 16 grand on something like that.
But it's a project.
Yeah, well, that I could get into. I mean, if it's a hobby. But what else we got
That just
here?
doesn't sound like fun.
It is fun.
What doesn't sound like fun? Doing a car?
Is spending that much money to buy a car that Kyle just admitted someone who bought an $8,000 just shell can put $8,000 into.
Oh, you gotta have a lot of
sell it to you for 30.
You could, but you've also got to have all the know-how, experience, and like the shop and the tools. Like, I mean, you know, he paints them, he does all the engine work and all the body work and all that stuff himself. So it's.
Are you all about like the sports feel, or would you ever want like a big luxury sedan?
I like nice things. I like all nice things. I would love a big Cadillac. I would like a what's the Escalade? Like a new Escalade would be really cool. Those things look great. But
Yeah,
I also
nice.
like the BMW M4, like a tiny little like German sports car with tons of features. But also like the new Corvette. But I also like that Power Wagon thing. That's cool. I just like nice stuff. So I'm not picky.
And Kyle sells it so well. I feel like that's me too. Yeah, I like nice things.
Yeah, I know. Like I know all these guys who drool over nothing but trucks. They're just like, oh, horsepower and torque and like fucking Tim Allen just
Right.
jerking off to trucks. But and I'm like, yeah, that's a really nice fucking truck. That's great. That's nice. But I could get into that just as equally as I would like a 37 like rat rod that they've left that exterior all rusty, but they've made the drivetrain, you know, super souped up. And it's kind of a sleeper / like show car kind of thing. Like I'd love that just as much. I just like nice cars, interesting cars. Same thing with guns. You know, I've got a $180 rifle that I've been playing with a ton lately. Meanwhile, I've got $10,000 rifles that I'm not bothering with at all.
Lately, I've been moving, so I have this 18-foot trailer. It's like 16 feet with a 2-foot dovetail, and pulling that thing around on the highways and stuff, it makes me feel all like, yeah, like it's working. See, I need a truck because I do shit like this. I feel like I have to justify it, but I just like it. I was about to take a picture of my truck pulling the loaded trailer today. It's got lots of big cabinets on it and refrigerator and stuff like that, and it's a haul, I guess. But
you ever see someone driving down the interstate and they've got their car completely crammed with like trash and
yes.
Like there's two.
What
There's
is
two
the
types.
story on that?
Oh, that's what I was getting at. There's like, in my opinion, there must be only like two scenarios that I can imagine. Like one, maybe they're moving, right, and it's crammed full of their belongings. I understand that. I get that. Whatever.
Yeah.
But sometimes it's like garbage. It's like an enormous amount of garbage, and I'm not the cleanest guy. There's some McDonald's bags in my car. That doesn't bother me. Woody was all grossed out by my back seat.
I'm cleaner than Kyle.
He's cleaner than Kyle. That's but
go on.
But these people will have like dozens of bags like crammed up like into that space under the back window glass, like up there where the
My
speakers
general
are.
contractor was like that.
Like trash back there. You got trash back there, you got problems.
He
That's
had
ridiculous.
so much stuff in his car. Now, some of it wasn't trash. It was like those signs that say we're building here or whatever. But he also had like, you know, just trash, you know, Starbucks tipped over iced coffees or whatever. It like he liked it. He's like, that way I never have to give anyone a ride because it's so disgusting and filled with garbage that you.
Wow, what a great out he's found for having friends. He fooled the system.
yeah, he loved it. He's like, I never have to give rides. It's like, dude.
Oh, I just don't flush my toilet after I shit, so I don't have to worry about friends coming over or any company. Everyone steers clear. That's ridiculous.
Are you guys happy with what PKA has become and where it's gone in the last year with so many large changes? What does the next year hold for PKA?
Yes,
I'm overwhelmingly happy with what happened in the last year because it added me.
And if you look at the last year, just for everyone's viewpoint, so you understand what the last year has been. I think it's been almost exactly a year to the day since we did the survival trip in Uwari, and I got sick, and Wings didn't come, and all that happened. I think it's been like almost exactly a year, like 366
that's about right.
days.
Yeah.
So, yeah, if you think starting from there, I think we've done really well. I think that we've made the show itself better, like the product, the final product, and the way that. And the number of products, there's more stuff going on. We've done a few trips. We're doing the PKN thing now. Every now and then we do a PK plays, I suppose. But there is more content, and all of the content that there is better than it ever was before. People like to have a fond look back on like past shows with with rose-colored glasses, like especially some of Wings' moments, which were just not that funny when you really stop and break them down and look at what was going on. And I think that. Adding Taylor to the mix has been great. I think that adding Chiz to the mix has been really great as well. Chiz working in the background, securing guests, securing sponsorships and stuff like that, which make everything work better. That's been great, and I think that's about all I got. Yeah, I think it's better. I'm happy with where it is. As far as where we're going to go in the next year, I hope we do more trips. I like the trips. I really enjoyed hanging out with Woody and Joe and Chiz.
That was super successful. Like I enter a trip, maybe just the anxious version of me, but I enter trips nervous. Like, are we going to have enough fans? Are we going to have, is the sponsor, in this case, Romeo from Paintball, is he going to be happy with how everything goes down? I just worry, are people going to have fun? Right, even if there are a lot of people that come there, but they all just melt in the sun and it's yucky, and that's not a good thing either. It was wildly successful, like on every count. The hosts, the sponsors, and the fans were all happy, and it makes me want to do it again.
Yeah.
So turned out really well.
So yeah, that's my answer to that one.
Yeah, that's a good answer.
Thank you.
That was a very good answer. Very flattering to me. I appreciate it.
Woody, at what moment did you know Jackie was going to be the one you were going to be with for the rest of your life? It's funny. So I told her that she was the one that I was going to be with for the rest of my life almost immediately. But that was because I was trying to get laid. So the actual reality, I want to say it was like when I really sort of, decided on that. It was a couple years in, and I guess it was when I was ready to marry her. But the whole time, like, she didn't think of it as a trial period. She thought it was inevitable. But to me, I was like, I grew up a lot when I got a real job. I'd like to see her get a real job and make sure I still like this version of her. I'd like to see her finish school. I'd like to see this. I'd like to see that, and just make sure that she didn't like change up on me because we were kind of young. And at one point, she had in my head like sort of cleared all these hurdles. And we weren't living together, which was clever on her part. And it was like, well, I'm just done with her leaving. Like, I want her here all the time. And that was pretty much when I decided to propose. It was like, this her not staying here stuff is no good.
How old were you?
22, I think.
Jesus Christ, I'm behind. Turned 24 yesterday.
Yeah, I was kind of ahead of schedule, if you call it that, but I did a lot of this stuff early. Like, I remember when I worked at Cisco, there was like a fellow 26-year-old, and he was kind of slow in graduating school and whatever. Whereas me, like, I had 4 jobs at that point. I had a wife, I had a house, I had a child, and I was 26. So, I don't know. I amongst my friend group and stuff, we were always the first to get married, first to have the kids, etc. We did that early, but it worked out well.
How old were you when you had Hope?
26.
Oh,
yeah.
Kyle, you're behind, man. I still got 2 years to make up for it.
I'm way ahead.
Hit the Woody. You asshole.
I'm way ahead. I'm saving up all that money that children and wives cost, and I'm investing it into guns and ammo, and I'm happy with my decisions. Woody puts it best. He says I make a good uncle, and I think he's right. I'm great in if you need me 2 or 3 days at a time to be responsible and and all that stuff. But I just don't think that I'm very well cut out for that.
What did
that
she just give
lifestyle.
you? What did she just give you? He's not listening. What'd you get? What did she just give you? She handed you something. What is that?
She gave me Kyle as a dick.
I thought it was going to be a beer. This is better. With
It looks like I've got an MP7 with
MP7.
yeah with an EOTech there. I like that. Nice PW.
And then she always puts a lot of space between the nuts because she says they're moving, they're running.
Yeah, that's so you can imagine my stride. Well, that's great. Very
wow.
flat. Very flat.
Look at how your hair goes into the penis head.
I see it.
I love that.
That's where I part it. That's where I part it, right? In the hole. Yeah.
Oh,
That's
that's great.
For those of you who missed out last time, Taylor's girlfriend makes those penises for fun.
Very, very graphic penises.
This is a super...
And
oh, go on.
Kyle suggested that she...
Tell her thank you. I thank her very much.
Oh, he thanks you very much.
For making me into a dick.
Have you watched Fargo yet?
I've seen the TV show?
The TV show.
No. I've seen it.
Oh,
good.
no. Never mind. She based your character off of the main character in that, if you want to watch
I
it.
see it. I see it.
Yeah, see? He's got, you know.
Yeah.
Look at him.
I don't know about the
Smiling at
stems.
you.
Not sure. Maybe it's like a laugh line. I'm not sure. Maybe
Who
a little.
knows? It's a cock, and that's you. So
I don't know. My ball feet look slightly different.
Kyle, this one's hard to answer. Maybe. I don't know. We'll see. Kyle, if YouTube ceased to exist today and you couldn't make Russian videos anymore, what would your backup plan be?
I have something I'm working on right now. I actually went and got some. I'm working on. I don't know. I got some fingerprint cards done today, and I'm going to see my lawyer. I'm working on something. That's the answer.
He's got a thing.
I've got sort of a.
I know what this thing is, and I am incredibly bullish on the concept. Kyle could launch into the next stratosphere of income. It could go super well.
It could. And I think in the worst case scenario, it's going to be one of those things that does okay at the very least and makes money, and it'll make $5,000 to $10,000 a month every month. I just feel like it will. It just will.
And I wouldn't be at all surprised if it was $75, $100 a month.
Yeah, it could. That's. We'll see. I'm pretty optimistic. I'm gonna get into it pretty soon here. So
Kyle, have you ever thought about hiring a full-time assistant?
I get asked that so much, and the answer is absolutely not. No, I need.
He has one. His name is Jeremy.
No, Jeremy's got a job.
I'm just making that up because I forgot the other guy's name. Jeff?
Yeah, it's Josh.
Josh.
This guy's pretty good. Personal.
All right. Okay. I've considered moving Chiz on in before. We've actually had that talk before. I think Woody's had a similar talk with him before too. But if Chiz would ever quit smoking, he could totally be like assistant to the region. Would he be assistant to Mr. Gamertag or assistant Gamertag? I'm not sure.
I don't know. Chiz
If he
actually
could
might
ever
be a
quit.
useful
Look at
guy
this
in your
guy.
thing, but I don't want to lose him. It doesn't smoke. Look at this guy.
Not a puff.
But yeah, I think you need someone who it can't be a Jeremy class guy, right? You need someone who's a grown up who reliable and professional and doesn't make dumb mistakes.
Yeah. I'm not sure. I think I can handle the whole thing by myself as long as it's in that like $5,000 a month range. But if it were to do something insane like you're describing, like $50,000 a month range, I'd of course like find someone who was someone like Taylor, who knew what they were doing to come in and like. You don't really need to know what you're doing. You just really need to have a good head on your shoulders and be able to like follow the game plan. I think that's what it's about. Like, I don't need someone who's like quick on their feet making decisions. I need someone who'd be like, "Hey, Kyle, so the turbine thingy, it broke. Okay, good. I'm glad you called me. Shut everything down. We just got to do this." Like, I need somebody who knows what they're doing.
So you
Can be
just need
trusted
someone
to manage.
who's not functionally retarded.
Dude,
Some basic.
Because I can do
stuff.
that.
My
can do
general
that.
contract. No. My experience with renovating this house has enlightened me to how many people have poor planning and basic logic skills, right? Like in the case of the house, it's like, all right, you've got to do this before this, you know? We're going to be hey, this thing takes 2 weeks to get in, so we should make a call about that now so that we're ready for, you know, so that we're not held up by it. That kind of thought process is way more rare than I thought it was. And
How do people not get it?
I'm finding this constantly. Yeah,
Well.
you know, like the sequence of events that you do stuff, normal project planning, it eludes a huge swath of the population.
It does. Basic, just like you said, management skills especially. I feel like that was part of it because I feel like if you're a general contractor or a contractor, he could probably handle that. Like if someone else were just telling him, be here at Monday morning at 8 o'clock, you're doing drywall, he could do something like that. But he was totally over his head, it seemed.
He should be self-employed.
With scheduling all those people and making it all work as a big machine.
What he
which
should
is what
be
a work site
is
should
a
be.
salesman. And you can be highly paid as a salesman. You know, he should be in there.
Highest
landing
paid
deals.
profession in the world.
Is that true?
Yep.
It can't be.
It is.
It can't be.
It can't be because, professional athlete.
I don't think that you would count that sort of thing.
CEO.
Porn star.
Well, what is a CEO? You've got to break that down.
Someone
that's
who's
true,
the
too.
chief
Fortune 500
executive
CPO.
officer of a given firm.
See, the thing is, there's a lot of CPOs.
What about
like $5,000 a year companies and stuff? Yeah.
Yeah, you could in the long run across it all. I promise you, salesmen are the highest paid profession, more than doctors or lawyers. There's just sales professionals get paid a lot
Sales professionals certainly get paid a lot
on average.
Yeah, and it's
Being
a job
good
that's
at
difficult to
sales
outsource.
is a gift.
And there's some things like you may think of sales like what are we talking about here? So like there's retail sales, that's a thing. But there's also and then sort of low on the branch of the tree of sales, I think is probably car sales. But even at car sales, you can turn around and make $15,000-$25,000 a month if you're a all-star. But like I can remember guys who were selling cars who were like, I want to get into selling yachts. I want to get into. They always want. There was always something else where the commissions were sweeter. Where like, yeah, man, you sell these yachts. You sell 2 yachts, maybe 3 a year. That's your nut. You're made. Like, and I'm just like, wow, that would be cool. Like, you just show yachts. Like, and that's all personality driven. It's all just, hey, how you doing? Welcome to my big fucking yacht. You want to spend some money? All right, let's go. Like, you just got to be that guy and be good at it. And
I think
you
I'd
could
sell
do it.
software.
Ah,
Yeah, that's not as fun.
It's not
Flash
fun.
yacht.
No, no doubt about it. But if I'm realistic, I could do it. I could sell. I'm knowledgeable. Not everyone can do this. You know, I get the problem that you're trying to solve, whether it be ERP software, testing, development software, whatever. Any fucking software business problem, I can fucking sell it and understand it and get what, you know, like it's solution oriented selling, right? This is the problem you have. This is how my product fits it, and yeah, I would sell stuff.
I think a lot of, if what Kyle says is true, that salesman is the highest paid profession, it could be a lot to do with the fact that salesmen, just by their very nature, they tend to be more ambitious than the normal population. Like they're looking to get ahead. They're looking to do something, to make moves, to get to the next echelon in life.
One nice thing about
Yeah.
sales is it's super easy to quantify their impact on your organization, right? If you're an IT manager, you know, how fucking useful are you exactly? I don't know. We know we kind of need you, but I don't know. A salesman says, I brought in like $6.9 million worth of sales this quarter. Without me, you'd have had 6.9 million less. And I expect this quarter to make like $250,000 of that. And, you know, you do that 4 times, it's $1 million a year. And they're like, yeah, $250,000 is really kind of worth it to bring in
I grossed $1 million one July.
Right?
It's a lot of cars, even at $50,000 a pop.
Yeah. And a thing about software sales is it's virtual goods. So it's like, it's almost all profit. You know, the difference in your sale or not having your sale is straight up how much money your company's making.
Yeah. And you could, sales is fun. I always enjoyed I like sitting at my desk and watching the game that is like car sales kind of happen around me. Like everybody's been in a car dealership and they've seen it kind of happen before, but only like that day, and you were there buying a car. when you're on the other end of it, when you sit there every day and watch the same game get played every day, and the same lies get told and the same body language and stuff, and just kind of look around and like get a sense for how funny the whole dance is. It's a lot of fun. It's because it's the same thing every time.
Do you go into car dealerships ever and are confronted by a bad salesman?
I don't go.
Because I hate that.
No, I don't go for a couple reasons. One, they don't have a choice; they have to come after you. If their management saw them like not coming after you, that would make them look like such a piece of shit in their eyes. Like you get fired for not picking up a customer who was like wandering around the lot. Like if you were just like, they're not looking. I've seen it happen before. There's been some guy. The manager was like, why is nobody talking to that customer right fucking there? You guys are up here arguing about your place in line, sitting in these comfortable chairs. There's an old white guy out there looking at minivans. Why is nobody talking to him? And some guy's like, I talked to him. He's not interested. And they're like, Kyle, go talk to that guy. And like 3 hours later, I did sell him a minivan, but I didn't make any money. They fired that other guy. Like, so you've got to be that annoying salesman who's like harassing people.
I know that's true, because have I ever told you guys about when there's a Lamborghini, Porsche, Ferrari dealership in St. Louis?
What were you doing there? Go on.
I was like a junior in high school, and so I with my girlfriend at the time, I parked my Jeep like way off in the corner so they couldn't see me go in, and then I just walked into the dealership, and there's like they had a Bugatti Veyron there just as like a show thing, and so there was that there, and when they were like 1.2, 1.5. $900,000 cars just sitting around. And I just walked around for a while looking indignant in my preppy, shitty clothes until eventually someone came up and was asking me like, hey, just looking around for fun? Are you interested in buying anything? And I was like, yeah, I'm turning, 16 or 17 soon, and my dad said he was going to get me something like this, and I'm just looking around to see what I like. And so then the guy followed me around for like half an hour as I just like sat in these exotic sports cars and then just like pretended like I was looking at the wheel like and then I like eventually settled on like a yellow Ferrari that was sitting in the corner, and I was like, I really like this one, but I swear to God, if my dad bought me a yellow one, I would die. I would never drive a yellow one. And the dude was just like, yeah. Well, there's a lot more colors than that. That's just what we have right now. There's a black one. What do you think you're most interested in? I'm like, I don't know, man. Honestly, like something chrome. And then I left. And that was it. I never went back.
Like that. Something chrome.
Something chrome. I'll be back. Don't notice that I'm getting into a 2003 Jeep right now.
That's great.
That's good. They have to. They have to come in.
Yeah, they got to come up to you because that's sales.
All right. What is your opinion on computers/machines taking jobs out of the market? For example, the McDonald's cashiers being replaced by automated teller machines. Some believe the economy will take a severe hit from technology shrinking the job market in the next few decades.
Is McDonald's really replacing them with machines?
They might be. It's still total
McDonald's
horseshit.
closed like 700 stores. They better watch their ass. McDonald's is shrinking. Taco Bell and Chipotle are growing. Did you see that article? I'm sorry, that's completely off topic. I think it's good that they're stealing those people's jobs with those machines. They're always complaining about not getting paid $15 an hour to cook fries. It's like, well, let's just find a machine.
No shit. There's no demand for you to do that.
Have you
Sorry,
seen
we can't manufacture that.
He's referencing a CPG Gray video, or I probably messed that up. CP Gray, I don't know. Do you know the video I'm talking about? Essentially, he proposes the thought that while throughout all of human history, every advance in technology has just created like a bigger, more robust, economy with more jobs, this time will be different. This time, when jobs get replaced, there will be no replacement jobs for it. And I think that's horseshit.
Yeah, I think it's horseshit too. I think that there used to be a lot of women employed as typists, and we don't need them anymore. They all found new work. And there's a lot of people right now who are cashiers, and they're going to have to get phased out too, because that's a dumb fucking job anyway if you're a cashier. Let's just be honest. It's so fucking easy. You're just punching buttons into a machine. You're a middleman between me and that machine and that box with the money in it. Like, I don't need you. Like,
The only reason they're there is in case the machine acts up. So then
Yeah.
they can not fix it, but call someone else who knows something about the machine over to it.
Yeah.
The thing I use is this. It's like, and people have heard it before, but let's say you're in a village, right? Ancient times, etc. And there's 8 guys out there with spears throwing them at fish, right? On the side of the water, throwing spears at fish, etc. And then Merker comes along and invents a net. Now, Merker is catching as many fish by himself as me and my team of 7 other guys would with our spear fishing, right? So, oops, sorry about that. So this net has put us all out of work. So what do? We work on other aspects of our village. We build structures. We build, better thatch roofs. We build, hammocks and pick bananas and whatever. And it's not that we're out of work. We find some new work to do. I do not believe that there's anything happening now, in putting cashiers out of work that's going to be like, oh, there'll never be any work. Maybe more people will have guys, because there has to be real low-end work, right? For guys that can't do high-end jobs, right? Can we admit some people in the world don't do high-end jobs?
World needs ditch diggers too. Is that what you're saying?
That's what I'm saying, right? So that maybe more people will have guys who clean their houses. Maybe more people will have assistants that go pick up their Starbucks. I don't know. But there will be jobs out there for sure.
I want a Roomba the size of like an ottoman that just cleans everything.
They have Roombas now for hardwood floors.
Yeah.
Yeah, they mop and sweep and stuff like that.
I think you should get one, and I think it'd be a worthy investment. Make a video of it. I bet Roomba might even give you one. I'd love to see like you film that thing, or maybe put a camera on it.
I was looking at these Roombas, right?
Have you ever watched a Roomba work? My mom got a Roomba when they were new, like a new thing, and it is a piece of shit. I ended up, it tricked me into vacuuming the living room one day because I watched the Roomba going, and I'm like, this is never going to get done. This random happenstance of angles and horse shit, this is never going to become a full room. So I just vacuumed the room in spite of the Roomba. So
Dude,
that's why they're useful.
The other thing is I looked
awful.
up how many square feet this like mopping Roomba can handle, and it was 300 square feet.
Wow, what are you going to do with all that space?
So I'm like, I fucking need 22 Roombas to do my house.
Army, and they all. I would like that. Like, I've been playing with my drones a little. I almost used a drone on the trash man today, but he seemed like that would be cool if they all worked together. Yeah,
that's just like 22 Roombas. Are you kidding me? Like, they don't even make a dent in a bigger house.
I think they would be good for dusting and stuff, and like dealing with like dust and pet hair and like,
right, the fur,
like dirt you might track in with your shoes on hardwood. Like, just keeping it from getting fuzzy or anything. But as far as like that when you actually mop your hardwood floors, and it's kind of, I don't think you replace a good scrubbing.
Here's another thought. They're coming out with a Roomba lawnmower. And basically what it is, you stick like pillars, right? Maybe like 4 corners around your house or your whole yard or whatever. And you define that as the area that it mows. And then it does that. And I'm like,
and then you have to wait 3 weeks for it to finish. And meanwhile, your lawn just looks like a weird jig-jag maze.
Looks like a child that tries to cut their own hair.
You ever seen
Exactly.
It's just long and spiky.
Have you ever seen where people will take and like drive a stake in the ground and take a rope from it and tie it to the lawnmower, and so the lawnmower just keeps doing so.
And then the rope shortens as it goes around the stake like a
that's
yo-yo.
the smarter version of the Roomba. Like, the Roomba just goes in its own direction. And it'll go over the same paths,
So
5 or 50.
They have
It
more
has-
intelligent ones now. They basically, it projects something on the ceiling and uses that to like more intelligently do its path.
Cool.
I didn't know that.
Yeah, the one you're talking about, the original ones, they just bump into shit like a child's toy and just go in some other direction.
That's what I'm talking about. The ones that like they run into a stool and it's just like and just kind of like just turns randomly away from anything.
I think it would be a good addition to your household cleaning. I think like if you had a couple of those floating around the Woody Manor over there, maybe instead of mopping every 10 days, you mop every 2 weeks or something, and that's the quality you would get out of it. But
Maybe.
it's definitely not going to be a replacement
I want
for
them to have a return policy. Like, that's what I want to know. Can I do this thing for 2 weeks and be like,
Amazon.
this
Yeah.
is garbage?
Dude, Amazon that thing right now. Like, you could have it, put it in that room, and Amazon, they don't give a fuck. Like, You could use the thing for a month and send it back to Amazon. They'd probably take it.
Amazon has an amazing business model, right? And a lot of the stuff you buy on Amazon isn't even from Amazon, right? It's just the Amazon storefront. They become the new cost of doing business for everyone who wants to sell stuff online. They're incredible.
Yeah, I love Amazon.
I'm looking at the questions. This last
Telling
one.
you.
What's that?
I was just going to say, I'm telling you, there's some shitty questions. You guys need to get more creative.
You don't like I like the bottom one, maybe.
Was it the one where we're like, because we're letting human beings who would normally die in the wild live? So here's the thing. Maybe you should read the question. Or maybe we should wait for Taylor to get back. Is that a new poster he's got? Yeah, he added a Django poster.
Nice. It's hard because I have a special needs kid. And he's pretty much saying, like, this is a bad thing that it's not just the strongest surviving. And I'm like, hey, wait a minute.
There's two sides to that coin, I think. I think part of being the evolved version of us that we are is it's not survival of the fittest.
It's, what is your guys' opinion on how natural selection in humans is currently taking place? Example, mentally incapable animals will never survive in the wild, and yet humans appear to play God and try to keep all forms of handicapped people alive. Is there a line? Should all humans be treated equally across the entire spectrum, including murderers, insane people, physically, mentally handicapped, etc.? There's
a line, but I'm not sure where it is. I think it's going to change from person to person. I don't think all people should be treated the same. Not all of them.
Yeah. Also, I think to myself, like, young Woody was quite the jackass, and I remember there was a school administrator. My friend's father was like a superintendent or something. Like, he's the guy that's a bunch of principals' bosses, and he was saying that, like, kids should be, like, weeded out. Like, they shouldn't even make it to 12th grade. If you're doing poorly, cut them. I think they might do that in Europe. I'm not sure. And it just occurred to me, like, man, I'd have been cut after, like, 8th grade. Like, they just said, Woody, you're a ditch digger. Done.
I think that's more of a problem. I think that's more of a flaw with our educational system, though, than with the philosophy that we're talking about, the idea of the survival of the fittest and cutting people out. I think it's a bigger difference there. That seems like a failure with the education system, that they couldn't help you find your true potential and get those straight A's that you should have been getting, or into some sort of a technical program where you could have excelled into computers and or woodworking, or perhaps become the professional hockey player that you were always meant to be, or invented some sort of a new sport, which was half hockey, half swimming.
Now we're onto something. I remember that I tried to get into this computer program, program for computer programmers, I guess, and like a camp or a school thing, and they're like, your kid's too young, and I'm like, but I'm smart. Like, maybe I could do this. I'm really excited, and they gave me some math problems to solve. But the thing is, you know how, like, in school they use the division sign, right? That horizontal line with the dot above and below it, or they'll use like either a dot or an X for multiplication. They were like 4 * 8. Can you solve that? How about 32/4? Can you solve that? And I'm like, oh my God, like, I've never even seen stars and slashes. And it's like, you motherfuckers, now I know that, you were just like swapping out the symbols, and I could have eidly done those. I wonder how things would have changed in general if
someone should have gotten on that.
Yeah, I just like
why didn't you ask anyone what the fucking symbols meant, man?
I guess
pride.
I should have. I don't know. Like,
hey, what are these symbols between the numbers? What are we inferring with those?
I'm a kid, and there's like these people saying you can't do this, and then they put it in front to prove their point, and it was like, oh God. Yeah, like an older, more extroverted, more confident version of me would have been like, slashes? What do we got going on here? Maybe
that's odd.
But yeah.
I was taught both. I remember from an early age that I think maybe on the standardized testing, maybe it is a dot and a slash for multiplication and division. And I definitely remember that, like, it seems like the simplified form, the earliest format that I learned was the line with the dots on top and bottom for division, and the the X for multiplication. But definitely later on, I learned the asterisk type thing.
Right.
star.
The asterisk and the slash. To me, that was a computer thing. Like they didn't have a division symbol on the keyboard, so they just grabbed something else.
Yeah.
Is that not how they teach kids anymore with the line and the 2 dots? Because
Well,
that's what I associate with
it is,
division.
but he was talking about doing sort of a standardized test at one point to qualify for a computer class or something like that.
Pretty good, yeah.
And they pulled the switcheroo on him, and suddenly it was stars and slashes, and he wasn't familiar with those symbols, so he didn't do well in the test. And now he wonders, thinking back, if only he'd known what the fuck they were even talking about.
Because the math wasn't hard at all.
Yeah.
But, you know,
If only you had known. You might not be here. You
I
might
think
not
I
have a
think I
podcast.
think we've all got moments like that where we think back and we're like, was I properly evaluated? Because I feel like now looking back that all of that shit that seemed so hard back then is just real simple, and they should have just taught it better. And I think that happens a lot every day. I think we've just got bad teachers.
Yeah, there's a lot of bad teachers out there.
It's
There's also just a bunch of lazy kids out there.
I wish the standards for teachers were much higher, and the motivation for students was as well.
doesn't seem like it's completely
Yeah.
pay related.
Yeah. Oh yeah.
'Cause the-
Teachers. Well, it's
no,
too-
there are some people who just want to teach. That's what they want to do, and
Yeah, but they shouldn't
determined
because
to
they're
do
not
it
good enough
despite.
at it. There's totally plenty of, what teachers are we turning away? That's what I want to know. What person wanted to teach like 6th grade and they were like, I'm sorry, you're just not up to par. Like that doesn't happen. Like
Yeah.
we'll let anybody who's willing teach our children the most, the fundamentals of life, apparently, when in reality we should be treating those people like we treat engineers. I feel like the person who's engineering your kid's mind should be at least as well qualified as the guy engineering my iPhone.
Oh yeah, that needs to apply to cops and teachers. Cops and teachers both need to be paid way more, and it needs to be a way more stringent, difficult thing to become one of them. Like
Cops
it
in
needs to
Jersey-
be
Cops in
like
Jersey make
something
like
that you
70
respect.
grand plus. Like
90.
90? I
Yeah,
saw
the average pay in Jersey is 90. I just read recently it was the highest. In the,
They were talking
90?
about Chris Christie maybe in that article. Yeah.
yeah.
Really
No
high.
way.
Yeah. I feel like a teacher should be making 75 grand. All that. I don't think they should be. I see a lot of times where it's difficult to get rid of bad teachers because of unions and such. I think that's a big load of bullshit. It should be there should be performance standards, and I realize that sometimes, and I know so many teachers. My mother's a teacher. My ex-girlfriend's best friends, like 2 of her best friends, were both teachers in the public school system in Atlanta. And so I understand there are scenarios where you've just got a bunch of fucking kids that don't want to learn, and it's almost like a Hillary Swank movie or something where like,
Yeah, I was gonna say that too. Like I like if you're a dentist,
How do I
right?
reach these keys?
And I'm
these kids.
if you're a dentist in the Hamptons, right, and it's filled with like vacation home from New York stockbrokers and their families and whatever, and I'm a dentist in West Virginia, it's hard to evaluate me and say, Woody, your customers are losing teeth, they've got cavities, etc. Your West Virginia dentists must suck because these ones in the Hamptons outside, the outside New York City, their people have amazing teeth. But it's not just the dentist there; it's the people that are your client base. Teachers get the same thing, and you can't straight up evaluate a teacher based on how well a kid does on tests. Having said that, maybe there is a way to evaluate teachers that lets us get rid of the bad ones.
I don't like the standardized test though, because I feel like
Did you not do well?
I did do well. I did very
Well.
well. I
There's
did
not
very
even
well.
an H in well.
There is now. Didn't do so well in English, but I did do pretty well at standardized testing. But I don't feel like it's a good way to. All right, so I feel like if you've got standardized testing and then you've got teachers who are, their job security is based upon how their students do on those standardized testing, then of course all they're going to do is teach the test. And that's not learning. That's not what learning is. Like, you should come away from American history with a firmer grasp upon American history, not the best way to fill out 100 bubbles on a Scantron. There's a big difference between the two, and I definitely can think back on those differences between the classes that, I mean, I don't think I ever paid attention in economics. I don't think I learned a damn thing that, I watched the History Channel, and that was my economics class. I think I made like an 80. Something like that. Like, I never learned anything in that whole class because there was just they were teaching a test, and it just didn't seem like it mattered. I didn't learn any of that stuff.
That's true. Econ does suck. You're talking about high school econ?
Yeah, and I had classes where there were good teachers in high school. There were I remember I had a history teacher who like went on and on about the Battle of Thermopylae, and he went on and on about the Hittites and this Zoroastrianism or something, like sort of the precursor to the God of Abraham that we're all so familiar with, and I absorbed all of that shit from 10th grade. I still got it, but I don't remember any of the other history classes from high school because they were shitty teachers.
It also could be because you're just interested by ancient history instead of other history, because I remember a fuck ton of stuff from ancient history courses, and if you were to ask me anything about American history that's not really basic, I probably wouldn't know because it's just more boring. Ancient history is interesting as shit.
I like both. I feel like I like to see America has kind of shaped the world in so many ways, and it's kind of fun to go back. I like the History Channel specials where they talk about the CIA operations in South America and all the democratically elected governments that the CIA was just toppling and overthrowing, so that we can control the price of sugar in this country, and just all this bullshit that we did throughout the decades.
Yeah, they pulled some shenanigans.
They really did. I wonder if that still happens.
Oh yeah, all the time. We just did it to Saddam Hussein.
That one was not really a
did
backroom deal. Like that one was kind of
that was pretty wide. That was pretty wide. There wasn't any. I remember all the ways that they tried to kill Castro back in the day. Like there were tons of plots. Oh yeah, there were tons
Bay
of
of
plots.
Pigs stuff.
Oh, I mean that's a big one. That's the big mess and big pie on everybody's face. But there were little plots that involved the CIA where they were trying to like put poisons in Castro's drinks, and it was a problem because you had to find out what his schedule was going to be. You couldn't just get access to Castro's soda. You had to know where he was going to be, so you could put an agent in that soda fountain so that he could sprinkle something in it, because you couldn't just get to him. Yeah. So like I remember one time
they didn't have someone to shake his hand with a poison strip. So
no,
you can't even go there.
Seth Rogen wasn't available.
He was but a child.
Where's that from? Is that Game of Thrones? Who is that?
No.
Right. It was the hell was that movie called?
Interview.
The Interview. Kim Jong-un. That was good. But oh god damn it, did I lose my train of thought? We were just talking about
murdering Castro.
Oh, they had this plot to like they were going to give him this toxin that would make all of his beard hair fall out because they thought that would like. I swear to God, Google this right now. They thought if they could make Castro's beard fall out, then he would lose like power, and then they thought that was part of their war against him. Yeah,
that's like some Samson
not
level
like
shit
physical power, but like he would lose respect in the it would embarrass him publicly in front of his people and stuff. And there were tons of plots to poison him with cyanide and all kinds of assassination plots. They never did it. Never could pull it off. He was always there was always some like bullshit mistake. Like it seemed like the guy dropped the cyanide capsule and it like shattered because it was frozen or something.
They tried to contaminate his clothing with thallium salts so that his beard would fall out. And they tried spraying a broadcasting studio with hallucinogens before televised speech. Some of these are kind of funny.
Yeah. This is the stuff that our government's been doing for decades and decades, and these are the ones that didn't work out that we found out.
Yeah, they placed explosive seashells by his favorite diving spots.
This is like the laugh track of our government espionage. Just imagine what the
bloopers
best are.
This is the America's Funniest Home Videos version of what they've been doing, and there has to be a lot more nefarious shit.
There's plenty of plots. We're like, we put a bomb on a fucking eagle, and then we put a microchip in the eagle's brain, and then we flew it into the school. Like
we call it an eagle bomb.
You might think that sounds insane? During World War II, they had this idea. They were going to do this to the Japanese. They were going to attach thermite to bats and release them over Japan during the daytime so they would all quickly roost inside buildings, and then the thermite would go off later in the bamboo and wood structures that most Japanese made their homes out of.
That is very creative.
That's a true story. They tried to do it. I don't think they accomplished it, but at the time firebombing was all the rage. And in case you don't know, firebombing isn't just setting a city on fire. You have to look at the weather patterns and plan it out for days in advance, weeks in advance, and find the right scenario to do a proper firebombing of a city. They did it to the Germans.
The right climate, yeah. So it's windy enough to spread the fire and cause
Yeah,
maximum destruction. You don't want to waste a bunch of expensive bombs for no reason.
Yeah. So we did it several times, and we burnt. We talk about the Hiroshima and Nagasaki with 100,000 people getting taken out by 2 bombs, but they gloss over the tens and tens of thousands of Japanese and Germans whose cities we firebombed and just burn them all up.
That's why we didn't bomb Tokyo. It was already done.
Yeah, it was done there.
Yeah. I got a question. I like this one too. Hi, I'm a Song of Fire and Ice book reader. Inevitably, some storylines in the Game of Thrones have taken paths other than the books. I want to know what you think, especially Taylor, about Sansa marrying Ramsay, Grey Worm and Selmy getting attacked and possibly killed. So does Sansa marry Ramsay? Does that happen in the book? I get so confused when I listen to the books.
I don't believe so. Doesn't she marry Roose?
All right, so
Roose
without
Bolton?
giving any, I feel like we're getting kind of spoiler heavy here, but
Does it?
so
If we
in
say
the
too many
book,
things, we're going to ruin this.
so in the book, Roose Bolton is married to
The big
Walder
fat bitch
Frey's,
from
Walder
Walder
Frey's
Frey.
granddaughter, who's huge. I used to know her name. But Roose Bolton in the books, not Roose Bolton, Ramsay Bolton, his bastard son who's been made whole by the king, is married to a woman in the north who's like a noble woman whose husband has already died. And remember Sir Roderick thought she was hot, but was like way too embarrassed to talk to her or anything. Well, Ramsay took her and married her and fucked her, like when nobody was looking. And now like he basically took her lands in her castle, like he took over her shit by doing that. So, but in the show we're seeing now, and I don't know if it's going to happen or not, but they're saying that Ramsay is going to marry Sansa Stark. Meanwhile, in the show, it seemed like they were shipping off some girl who just happened to look like Arya up to the north to marry someone. Remember that in the book? They found an Arya lookalike.
It wasn't Arya, someone who looked like her.
Yeah. So I guess the question is, how do we feel about them diverging? I like it, I think.
They have to diverge. They don't have a choice. These stories are so in-depth and incredibly dense that unless you cut a few corners, you simply can't make it as a TV show without going into 30 seasons where all the characters are 51 years old.
If they did 20 episodes a season, and they should, that would be great. And then we could have we could have Strong Belross, and we could have
Strong Belross.
That guy was awesome.
He's great.
I like Strong Belross.
We could have all of the battles and the war scenes that they keep cutting out. But in the end, I think it's going to come down to budget and how many more years this thing's going to go on. And I think it's only going to go on for like 2 more, maybe 3 more seasons, and then that's it.
They've said it, right? Isn't it straight up 2 more seasons?
They haven't said it, but they've kind of suggested it.
Okay.
But I like that they're shifting away because, for one thing, it produces some new content. It's a different storyline. I'm going to read the books eventually. The show doesn't have to match up with the books. As long as we kind of get to the same place in the end, basically. Doesn't really matter how we get there. I think the book has oftentimes, or the show oftentimes finds more entertaining ways to get from point A to point B.
The book is the official record. It's the thing that the mages read, right? The guys with the thing, the necklaces, the cloaks, they're stored away, they're crispy, whatever. And some people know their contents, but not everybody. But it's the real in-depth, detailed story of what actually happened. The show is the songs, right? The songs that the bards tell, the acts of bravery and the entertaining sort of Reader's Digest version of the story. And they're both entertaining and fun. I'm glad they exist.
That's a pretty interesting way to look at it.
I stole it. I got it somewhere.
I love the second episode of this season when Brienne gets in that sword fight out on the road, and she just swings and like shatters the other guy's sword, and then like slices him and then stabs him through the throat. That was great. I love that her sword just cuts through other people's swords, and that she's strong enough to do it. I really like Brienne. That was great, and I love in the books they really talk about the swords a lot.
Valyrian steel sword.
She might have the coolest sword in the show that's not magical in some way. Her sword half of Ned Stark's sword, the bigger half that's been
Oh,
reforged.
yeah.
But when they reforged it, for some reason, it did something that Valyrian steel has never done before, and it turned all dark red and black with stripes in it instead of the standard Valyrian steel. So it
They
doesn't
split
even.
it to make her sword, or not her sword, but one sword and then Joffrey's sword, right?
Yeah, yeah.
Okay.
So she's got what I think is the coolest non-magical sword in the whole show. I think
I
I
like
still
Stinger too. Or Needle. Needle, I'm sorry. I like Needle.
Stinger.
I made a mistake. Give me a break.
I like
I think that's Lord of the Rings.
I like Lightbringer. That's Sting. I like
Sting,
Lightbringer.
Glows
Lightbringer
blue when
is-
orcs are near.
fucking Stannis Baratheon's sword glows orange and red and like fire when anyone's around. And they don't show it. They don't really show it off in the show. But
CGI
Stannis
is
Baratheon
expensive.
has a fucking magical sword called Lightbringer that was like some sort of prophecy sword, and the motherfucker glows when you take it out of the scabbard. It glows like well enough to light the whole room. But we don't get that in the show for some reason. So he's
Yeah.
probably got the coolest sword.
On the show, there's hardly any magic. I mean, there's no. Like, I can't even think of any magic on the show yet.
I
well,
like the limiting of magic in TV shows and movies and stuff because, like, I like Lord of the Rings, where Gandalf is this super powerful wizard, but he's not constantly being like, oh, we're in a troubled spot. Let me use my key wizardry to make a new key. Like, that's what I liked about Lord of the Rings instead of Harry Potter. Which Harry Potter was just a bunch of ridiculous loopholes, and then anytime there was a problem, it was, aha, I have my special spell just for now. And it's like, all right, that's lazy. Whereas Lord of the Rings, it's like, all right, he's a strong wizard, but he has to actually do physical shit to accomplish this task. Not to say one's definitively better than the other, but I appreciate the lack of magic in favor of better story writing instead of just, get out of jail free cards.
What's that? There's a moment where like Gandalf and Legolas. I think it's the part where they're. I think it's the part where they're on that snowy mountain and the storm snow's coming down really bad, and it's right before they decide to go through the mountain. Yeah. And there's a part where they have a quote where Legolas says something to Gandalf to the nature of like, if we had a more powerful wizard, maybe he would just stop the storm. And Legolas says, and Gandalf says something back to him that's really witty and funny, like a cut at the elves or something. And I can't remember what it is.
Yeah, I remember it was. He said, "If you guys weren't a bunch of effeminate faggots, this war would have been won by now."
It was
I'm like 80% sure.
it's really good. He's like, if we had a more powerful wizard, perhaps he would just stop the snow as it falls. And he's like, perhaps if we had a better dwarf, you'd just shut the fuck up. He said something funny to him. I can't remember what he said. It was a good quote. It's not in the movie. But getting back to Game of Thrones, I'm glad they're. I guess I'm glad because we can't have 20 episodes a year. We're only getting 10 episodes a year. These actors are gonna die eventually and get old and grow beyond their being able to do these characters appropriately. So,
Or just like Bran, they'll hit puberty like a fucking freight train, and then be indistinguishable from his former self a year earlier. He has changed drastically.
He really has.
oh really?
And he's not in the show this year, is that right?
Yeah. For some reason,
And where the hell is Stoneheart in all this? She did.
they have cut her right on out. It seems.
He's coming.
And I hope.
Is
how
she?
did you know?
Because I'm like 12 hours into the book, something like that. I need to look. It might be 10 and a half.
She's in the first 2 hours of the book.
If she doesn't show up in this season, I'm going to be really, really pissed.
Me too. I've been telling everybody I know. I'm like, there's something coming, and it
'Cause-
might be crazier than anything that's happened yet.
Yeah,
Like,
Lady Stoneheart is hard as fuck. She's awesome.
Oh,
if
that's
she doesn't
right.
come back,
I
I'm gonna
remember
be
you saying she's in the first 2 hours. And I was like, what about it? And now I remember her. I don't know what
Or
this...
at the end of the last book, maybe. It's either in like
She's
the
in
last.
the end of the last book. Is she in the fourth book?
Not yet, but I'm not even as far as you are.
Oh, good. Yeah, because I was getting a little confused there. I'm pretty deep into the fourth book now. Let me see.
I think she's only like in the epilogue of
of the
fourth
third book.
Okay.
Oh, third.
Of the third book. She's in the epilogue of the third book.
Yep.
And then, Margaret, is she going to come back at all?
Fourth book, I don't remember. Honestly, like
Shit.
fourth book was a bit of a struggle, just because they introduced so many new characters.
A lot of characters.
I was just kind of breezing through it. Like, come on, get me back to Tyrion, get me back to Arya, get me back to the people.
Not
I
only
give
do they
two fucks
introduce a lot of
about.
new characters, but I want to say the TV show diverges from the book more than ever before. So I don't have that like structure that really helps me
Yeah.
sync it
Yeah,
back up.
And it's going to continue to be that way throughout this whole season, because I believe doesn't book 4 run concurrent to book 3 as far as like the actual Game of Thrones timeline goes? They're just concurrent pillars.
I don't think so, and I say that because
aside from Arya.
there's like Arya, for example, is getting her training. There's a lot of like shit going on with.
I'm trying.
In
Oh no,
Dorne,
they're consecutive.
right?
Like book 3
In
leads
Dorne,
to book 4.
where they're reacting to the Viper's death. In the book
No,
2.
I think we're pretty current. I think no, that they certainly don't run along the same timeline. 3 and 4 definitely like concurrent. Like one happens and yeah, because Arya's timeline is going, Tyrion's timeline is moving, the Khaleesi's timeline is moving, Jon Snow's timeline is moving. Yeah.
Yeah, Jon Snow, interesting stuff's going on.
Jon
there.
Snow,
I know some stuff about Snow, and I think I'm learning stuff about the Greyjoys that you haven't seen yet, Kyle.
I figured out who Jon Snow's mother was a book or so ago, and I don't think you figured that one out yet. And we probably shouldn't talk about it too much on the show because
I didn't claim to figure out myself, but I've seen the what is it, R plus L equals J.
There you go.
Yeah. I've been clued into that for a while now, but I just didn't like get it from the book really. I must.
Oh man, there's
slept through that or something. Not literally slept, but not fast forwarding. I'm not sleeping, but like sometimes it's just like, what the fuck is it with all these names? And especially like these are dead characters. These aren't like storylines that we're really following. But I guess I kind of remember them talking about it. But
So there's one moment when the Khaleesi is at like the House of the Undying, I think, and she's having all these flashbacks, and they're telling, and these are things that had
she
happened.
drank the thing and went through the area and had to keep turning right through the doors.
There's one area where she's there looking at the baby in the crib. That's a big key into this whole thing. That you just got to listen to the audio in that part maybe twice, and you'll really get it down, like who everyone is in that scene, because she's seeing things in her that were things that happened in the past, things that are happening now across the world, and things that have yet to happen, and things that will never happen. Because she sees. I love when she saw like what her son Drogon or what was her son?
Yeah.
Whatever his name was going to be, the stallion who mounts the world. Like she sees him in the future, and he's got like a banner that's half. It's like a stallion with like the fiery dragons or something. It's like a mixture of her standard and Drogo's standard, and he's like burning castles down in Westeros, and that was
all because
possible
Drogo didn't wear a Band-Aid when he got cut on the chest.
Yes.
right. You fucking
He actually
Band-Aid up,
he pushed into it.
that
yeah,
infection
she
will
was-
take you down.
Exactly.
Well,
Kyle's
cuts
got
even
it.
received differently in the book. In the book,
It's better in the show.
It was a blood rider.
it was someone else's blood rider had sliced him, and he was just it's a scratch. Meanwhile, his nipples hanging off. It's just like, what the fuck, man? Maybe you should get some medical attention.
Don't you think it was better in the show though? That's one aspect I think was
Yeah.
better. Where it
Oh,
shows
dude,
the guy
that's
puts
one of
his
the.
blade here, and he just kind of like shrugs into it, like I don't give a fuck. Did you notice that I'm 6'5" and terrifying? Have you noticed that yet?
The shrug was cool. I noticed that and I liked it. But the best part about that scene is what he says. like this guy's like, come on, let's fight, let's do this, and he's just like, when I'm done with you, the crows are gonna eat the maggots from your belly. And like he's just like disrobing. He's like taking his own weapons off. He's like, I don't need my sword or my daggers. I don't need this. And meanwhile, the other guy's like getting ready to have this sword fight.
Yeah.
And he's just not taking it seriously at all. He's like, the rain will pour down on the holes that were your eyeballs. And he just like continues to get
He's
ready
being
for the
so
fight.
he gets like he finishes all of his vicious things to the point that he's like, after this, I'm gonna eat a pulled pork sandwich. After this, I'm just gonna go for a quiet walk. After this, like just he
He
goes
was
through
like a
everything horrifying.
WWE star. He was getting so hyped up about the fight that was coming. He was like, and the rain will pour down from the sky. You're just like,
Rain
holy
does that.
shit. Yeah. And finally, of course, he just takes the guy out like it's nothing, but he gets that loses his nipple or whatever. Infection sets in, let that witch work on him, and that was the end. I'm looking forward to the next whenever I get to see new episodes. I recently rewatched the fifth episode. I really hope that they do something with Stoneheart, if that's what you're calling her. I didn't know that's what she was called until you guys kind of clued me in on that. But we all know who I'm talking about. I want some semblance that she's there. I want more magic. Too much magic, and you lose all respect for the show. But this is a show that needs a little more, like just a little more.
More dragons.
There's a lot of magic in the books. There's magic everywhere, and
a lot of it. It's not significant to the storyline, but there's hints of magic that make you think great things could come. Right? Pyromancers climbing ladders in the air made of fire. I forget hints. There's the wall.
Or whatever.
The big wall in the north that Jon Snow is guarding and stuff is encoded with magic. There's magic holding together. Is it Dragonstone? I forget.
All the castles.
All the castles that seem to have stuck around have some sort of magic walls that help them protect themselves
against other magic and such. Yeah.
Yeah, against other magic and maybe dragons or something. I don't know.
There's lots of magic.
Magic's and the swords tend to be more magic but it's still basically the same show, but just the fact that like we need magic to protect these walls from the ocean gods is like, ooh, so magic's a thing here. It's a factor that you get to sort of play with and get excited about. Whereas in the show, there's just really no magic. All right, we got to get our cameras back.
Yeah, I like how limited they've been with magic, but now is about time that they get it up and running. Like more magic, more dragons. One thing I do like about this season is you just see how little control Khaleesi has over her dragons at this point, where she has to go down into that dungeon and face them for the first time in months because they've been burning kids alive or some shit. And when she goes down there, it's not like these dragons are like, oh mother, you're finally here. It's like they're pissed at her. They're like, are you shitting me, chick? You're like, you call yourself the mother of dragons. Do you think we're retarded? We're dragons. We know that you're like a 15-year-old girl. Like, do you not realize that? Like, we're not happy about being down here. And I liked that.
That whole thing with Barristan Selmy and Grey Worm, I can only imagine that they're going to be okay, but because I don't know if they die in the books or whatever. I hope they...
Grey Worm's not in the book, so kill him.
Grey Worm is in the book.
Well, who am I messing up? Oh, is his girlfriend not in the book?
No, she's there too.
Yeah, she's there too. Why do I read they weren't in the book.
I don't even know what her name is.
But Grey Worm is in the book. You're right.
She's in the book. She's 9 years old, so no romance.
Nice.
Yeah, I don't know why I said they weren't. Yeah. I said they weren't in the book because I read it somewhere else, and then I clearly remember.
We know better now, though.
Yeah. Now someone, I don't know what to make of that scene.
That was a great scene. Whenever Barristan Selmy shows up, I was like, "Oh shit, this is gonna be epic!"
I liked it because, like, okay, these guys are great fighters, right? But I felt like he was walking into certain death, but did it anyway for honor, and that's a neat thing to me. He's like, well, this guy's clearly fucked, but I'm not gonna let him be fucked here by himself. I'll give it a go.
Oh yeah, he'd never run. Oh, yeah, no, he would never run.
I got a 1 in 100 shot of getting out of this.
Better than that. He probably thought he was going to be fine. I love that comment he had, like, whenever they were at the walls of Marine and they had to fight the champion. In the show, he says, I have more single combats than any man living, Khaleesi. And you're like, oh, shit. That's saying something. Wait a minute. You've got more single combat victories than any man living? That is saying something, and it's kind of twofold because you got to be really fucking old to like keep counting them up, but also you got to be pretty badass to survive more than one or two. So, and they just the whole show and throughout the books they talk up what a badass this old guy is.
Sir Barristan Selmy's the shit.
And then he's just
hardcore.
Goes wading into those gold mask people like he cut the one from like crotch to shoulder and blood went everywhere. That was great. That like upswing, it was like a shovel motion where he just gutted the man alive. It was great. So I really enjoyed that. I felt like it could have gone on a little more. I felt like I could have used a little, maybe add about 5 more guys to that. Let him kill 2 or 3 more. I'd have enjoyed that. I like that sword fight a lot. There hasn't been enough violence for me lately.
I
wanted
they-
Arya
I
to
think
kill
they
those
cut
street
back on the
punks.
sex a bit. I feel like in the first, 4 seasons of Game of Thrones, there was more sex than there is in the 5th season.
Well, they cut off a lot of dicks between then and now, so
That does slow things down.
that's another thing. I'm wondering if they're going to go back to Theon at any point, or in the books. I guess I'm wondering if they're going to go back to Theon. I'm a little lost about that because they haven't said anything about Theon. We just heard at one point they brought his finger skin to Catelyn Stark, but obviously that was before the wedding and all. That was pretty far back. That's the last I heard out of Theon in the books. So I'm wondering what's going to happen with him because I'm interested in him. I'm wondering if he's dead in the books or what the deal is. So
Yeah, I'm pretty
I'm
interested.
excited.
I'm excited about what's happening with the Greyjoys. They've got an interesting dilemma in front of them.
Well, I saw that Balon, I guess, got swept from the ramparts or from that bridge or whatever, and now it seemed like is it Usha or Asha? Which one is it? There's two different,
I don't know.
and it's different in the show. So
Yeah.
Asher.
Asha, with the O is supposed to be Theon's sister, right? And Asha is supposed to be the wildling that's with Bran, right? Maybe.
I think
don't know.
so.
Or it could
sounds
be
like
inverted.
Asher
I have no
in the
idea.
book to me. I'm not reading it, but
Well, the Greyjoy's daughter, the super badass chick, like where I am in the books, she's sort
Yeah.
of rallying the power around her. Meanwhile, the crow, the whatever they call him, the one-eyed crow or what, the uncle of hers who had been away forever, he's kind
Yeah.
of taken the throne for
Isn't
himself.
that Viserion? No, Viserion's the other uncle.
Well, there's the uncle who's the priest now, who's like always drowning people and shit. And then there's the uncle who had been away forever, it'd been like a couple years because Balon Greyjoy had told him if he came back, it meant death. And his ship's he's got like a cool ship. It's like black and red, like black sails. They call it like the Whisper or some crazy shit. I don't know.
should we wrap up Game of Thrones talk? I know some people like it, some don't.
Yeah, probably so.
On House Talk, I'm going to sleep here for the first time ever.
Oh
Nice.
wow! Is everybody
Enjoy your sleep?
No, actually. So I wanted to move in yesterday, and that might have been too ambitious, as far as getting it all set up and stuff. So we changed it to today. And then somehow along the way, Jackie's like, I can't get it all done, etc. And I'm like, I got to get done. And then just in terms of loading the trailer, you want lots of weight towards the front of it or it gets unstable and stuff. So I brought the fridge, and I'm like, whatever. But the thing is, I'm here till 2 a.m. I'll probably be up till 3 a.m. with all the uploading and such. So I'm going to sleep here tonight. The rest of the family is going to be in Apex. And then tomorrow, we're all here for good. It's not that set up. Like, the beds aren't going to be here for another week. So we have like mattresses on the ground and stuff like that. But I'm just kind of done with traveling here all the time and such. Like I was like, Jackie, let's flip the script. Let's live in Raleigh and then run back when we need stuff and start getting that thing ready. Instead of, it seems like every time we're here, we're out of time. We're here, it's whatever, 2, but we have to get Hope in, we have to leave in half an hour to get her from school or whatever. And I'm tired of never having any time at this new house. I want to live here. I was excited. I go downstairs to get water and I'm like, yeah, this is actually my real life now.
Yeah, that's cool. I know exactly what you're talking about. That's great. That's awesome. Because there's a transitional period, and finally you're like, this is where my water comes from. That's the refrigerator. That's where all my food is.
Yeah.
It becomes your home pretty quickly once you get your, all the things that make up your daily life there. When you're brushing your teeth at that place, when you're pooping at that place, when that's where your food comes from, then it's your place.
Yeah. It feels like every time I'm here, I had to run. It was like, I'm here now, but I've got to go get Hope from school. I'm here now, but I've got to go do this other thing. Or my computer was in Apex, and there are a lot of tasks like, live streams or PKA recordings or whatever that need to be done from Apex. So it seemed like I was always rushing to be there because of either work or family obligations or something. And now all those things, all those ties that make you have to be somewhere make me have to be here in my new place, and that's exciting to me. So
I'm looking forward to seeing that room become its whole self. I'm sure you've got plenty of ideas and
empty
and plans for it
now. That's my golden play button on the ground back there.
Okay,
I'm gonna put that on the wall somewhere.
Yeah, that'll be good. I'm looking forward to seeing the place all dressed up.
Yeah, I feel it. And I'm just doing the show in here, and you guys can hear the echo. It bothers me a lot.
It's not that bad at all.
Okay. But it's like, all right, we need to get some window dressings in here. We need to get some, canvas paintings or something to kill the echo that I got cooking.
Yeah.
So we'll get it sorted out.
Well, you want to call it there?
Yeah, I think that works. I know
Getting pretty
Taylor
late.
has to get to his stripper job in like 3 minutes or something.
Yeah.
Yes.
He will
He's
doze
waiting.
I like it. All right. Good night, all. Painkiller ready, 227.
Good night.
Yep.